Alright, how's it going everyone? So this one started off as kind of a weird idea. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this, just a fair warning. It started as some silly art that I made of Raditz, just biker Raditz. I posted it on Twitter a while ago, and if you follow me on there, you've known about it for probably a few months by now. But this joke I made back in like March of this year or whatever, well, I made some art of it, and then some more art of it, and then I wrote a script for it. And I did a poll too, because I know this idea has been done to death by multiple different people. But it seemed like you guys were still interested. This is my version of a story where Raditz survives. Not necessarily turning good, but surviving. And becoming part of the main cast. And there are going to be a ton of changes, not just with Raditz either. And yeah, I did keep a lot of those jokes with Raditz in here. So, biker Raditz, who's also a party animal, that's going to be a thing. But in case you're not familiar with it, well, you're in for a surprise at least. Today, we're beginning my own distinct version of What If Raditz Survived. Let's set a like goal of 4,000 likes. Once we hit that, it lets me know that you guys want to see another part to this, and I'll make it a full series. Anyways, let's begin. The entire story goes the same, up until the point when Raditz and Goku are supposed to die. Goku's holding Raditz back, as Piccolo aims the Moro Saga. The beam is launched, and at the last second, Raditz is able to break free of his brother's grasp. But it's still a little bit too late. He moves to the side just a bit, and the beam still does hit him, leaving a devastating blow on the left side of his body. But also, the beam still hits Goku, hitting directly in center mass, landing a fatal blow. Raditz falls over to the ground, with both him and Goku seemingly dying. Miraculously though, Raditz survived, just barely. He's left there to bleed out, and he talks about how the Saiyans will get their revenge. Even Raditz thinks he's not going to survive this. But he just passes out, and no one realizes that he's still alive, just barely hanging on. He fades in and out of consciousness. On his scouter, he hears chatter from Vegeta and Nappa. They don't even care about him. They only want to come here for the Dragon Balls. If Raditz died, who cares? He also hears discussions amongst the Earthlings about what they're going to do next with the Saiyans arriving soon. Raditz tries to wake up, but he can't stay awake. He's lost so much blood, he's barely hanging on. Once again, he fades out. Some point much later on, he fades back into consciousness. Naturally, as a Saiyan, he does have better healing than normal humans. It's not enough to fully heal this injury, but it at least stops him from dying. Not to mention, it's a beam attack, so the wound might even be partially cauterized. This combined together with his healing is just enough to stop the bleeding. But only barely. He still has a hole within him, and he's in a lot of pain. Also, he did still lose a lot of blood. But as he wakes up, he can make out two figures in front of him. Two bald guys. One of them he recognizes from before, the one who he whipped with his tail into that house. The other, he doesn't really recognize. It's Krillin and Tenshinhan, and Krillin says he was right. Raditz did live. Apparently, he never passed on to Otherworld. King Yama gave word to Kami, who told them to check it out. There's no way he could have slipped by. He was unmistakable. And Krillin and Tenshinhan see. He's still here, still hanging on. Ten sticks a finger out in front of him, charging a Dodonpa. He'll finish it off. It shouldn't be too hard to kill him in this state that he's in right now. Raditz tries to talk, coughing up blood, but he's able to get some words through. He tells them to wait. Wait, what? He doesn't want them to kill him? Is he stupid? Of course they're gonna kill him, after what he did? They're lucky Piccolo wasn't here. If he were still around in this area and not training Gohan, he would have killed Raditz without hesitation. But Ten is a little bit interested in what he has to say. He might have some valuable information about the Saiyans. And Raditz can see the hesitation. Quickly, he tries to lift his arm up. He barely can, but he's able to grab his scouter, crushing it in his hands. He tries to prop himself up, barely being able to speak. He tells them. He swears, actually, he'll stay out of their way. Just leave him be. He can even get in his ship and leave. He's not going back to the Saiyans, not anymore. That's why he crushed his scouter. Well, he could go back to his ship, but then they remember. They found it over there and saw that Gohan broke it once he escaped. So Raditz can't even leave. But Krillin butts in. How do they know that Raditz is serious? Luckily, they weren't here for the battle, and they don't know how he tricked Goku during the fight, which would definitely make them a lot more suspicious. But they reluctantly do give him this one last chance to say something, just to see what he has in mind. He tells them he's half dead. If they wanted to kill him, they could. They would have done it already, but they do want to hear him out. That's why they're letting him talk. They can let him heal on his own if they're that worried. They don't have to heal him or give him a senzu bean or whatever, not that he even knows that exists. He says he's not going to be able to do anything. If they just leave him alone, he'll figure something out. He'll leave here. He's got a new perspective. He can't be here, but he can't go with the Saiyans either. But this doesn't have to be his deathbed. He tells them to sweeten the deal. He'll even tell them everything he knows about Vegeta and Nappa. Hell, Frieza and his army even too. He mentions, first of all, Vegeta and Nappa are coming for the Dragon Balls. He heard that over the scouter. And he tells them everything he can think of about their fighting style. He says they're too strong for these people to fight. He even kind of knows their power levels, or at least a range of them. Not that it matters to the humans because they have no idea what power levels are really. But Raditz gives an estimation of their comparison to them. He also mentions their tails. They're not weak spots like his tail or what Kakarot's tail was like. But if they went towards them in the battle, they could stop them from transforming into great apes, getting rid of one of their trump cards. And he also does mention Nappa's kind of an idiot, so maybe they can exploit that during battle. But that's all he can think of. He swears he's not going to join them again. But how do they know he won't just join the Saiyans when they come here? And he tells them simply, they can't know. He knows it'll be hard to convince them, but he's already given all this info. He crushed a scouter, getting rid of any connection. They think he's dead. The Saiyans don't know he's here, and they honestly don't care. He'll stay out of the fight completely. He can't face Vegeta and Nappa. And now that he crushed his scouter, they'll probably see it as an act of betrayal. The fact that he faked his own death. The Saiyans won't trust him anymore. But Krillin and Ten are still suspicious. They don't know what to do about him to make sure. Eventually, Piccolo comes back to the area. He dropped Gohan in the wilderness to start his training, but he also saw that Krillin and Ten were here. Kami also communicated with Piccolo telling him to go there. And he's appalled to see this. They tell Piccolo what happened, but he says they're idiots. They should have just killed him right away. Why did they even let him live? Why did they even hear him out? Piccolo confronts Raditz again, who's partially healing, but is still in agony. He can't believe his attack missed. Well, Raditz says if it makes him feel better, he didn't miss. He still landed a pretty gnarly hit. And Piccolo's a lot more untrusted. That's kind of his nature here, and he did see how Raditz tried to trick Goku during the fight, which he mentions to Krillin and Ten. He wants to kill Raditz right here and now, and Raditz can only think of one other way to actually stop this. He tells them to wait. He grabs onto his tail. Remember how he said you can get rid of a Saiyan's trump card by getting rid of their tail? Well, he tries, using all his might to pull his own tail off. It's painful. It puts him in even more agony. He barely has the strength to do it, but he just rips his tail clean off, tossing it aside, screaming in pain as he does so. There, no grade 8, no trump card. He says it won't grow back either if it isn't properly healed, which doesn't seem like he will be properly healed. He doesn't have those healing pods that they have in space. And if it does grow back, he'll cut it off again. He doesn't care. He doesn't know what's gonna happen. He just wants to convince them. And Piccolo also hesitates too. You know what? Maybe it would be better if Raditz was on their side. Apparently, the Saiyans don't care that Raditz died, and they don't know that he's actually still alive. He crushed his scouter, ripped off his tail, and he cut all his ties to the other Saiyans. He gave himself a handicap, and he's now alone. Maybe he is serious. Raditz tells them he doesn't care about fighting them anymore. He doesn't want to kill them. He just wants to prove the other two wrong, if anything. Well, that's not his time right now. He's gonna have to wait to do that, and he tells the Earthlings and Piccolo too. They're gonna have to wait as well. The Saiyans are too powerful. He'll stay on his own, but if they do want him to join in the battle, he will. Remember, the Saiyans are probably gonna kill him when they get here anyways and find out he's alive. He might as well join in a fight against them. But he knows that these guys probably won't trust him. Piccolo has an idea. They try and help Raditz heal. They don't give him a Senzu Bean because they don't want him to heal right away, and they don't want him to heal properly. To see if they could really trust him, even though it's a bit cruel, they're just gonna let him heal in a normal way. They can't risk giving him Senzu Bean and having him back to full health right away. But they do help out, stopping the bleeding. What little is left anyways. They're surprised to even survive that. And Piccolo tells Raditz he's stronger than any of them. And Piccolo wants to train with him, at least once this handicap is gone. And Raditz is surprised to hear this. His smooth talking actually worked. But he wasn't lying either, he was dead serious. And Piccolo reminds Raditz he still has this handicap. And if he senses any sign of betrayal, Piccolo won't hesitate to kill him. Raditz knows he's capable of it. Although, Piccolo completely forgot. He has to be around Gohan. There's no way Gohan's gonna be able to train with Raditz nearby. That'll just distract him. Although, it could make his rage boost more apparent. If he sees Raditz again, maybe Piccolo can get to the bottom of his rage boost and where they come from. This would act as a trigger of sorts. But it's probably better to not bring Raditz there physically. He'll just mention it to Gohan. But Raditz says he was gonna stay on his own anyways. He doesn't need to train with Piccolo. He knows they can't trust him, so it's better if he just goes off on his own doing his own thing. They come to an agreement, and Piccolo leaves, with the humans leaving as well. Raditz is barely able to stand up, and he watches on as the Namekian flies away. What the hell did he just get himself into? Okay, now Raditz is in a weird situation. What is he supposed to do now? He's just here in the middle of nowhere. Well, first he should probably build some shelter. He's able to stand now and at least walk around a bit. For a few days and nights, he sleeps in a space pod, even though it's broken. But over some time, he's able to gather materials from a nearby forest and such, building his own shelter, which eventually turns into an entire house. He needs to stay secluded, and this is the perfect area. He even has a good piece of leveled ground thanks to the space pod. He trains on his own. growing stronger each day and also healing more and more. He's worried about the spot where Piccolo's attack landed. It could be a weak point for him, but also could be a source of strength. He's gonna get a power boost once he fully heals, although it's gonna still take a while. But he's really bored. He's off on his own. All he can do is train and build a house, but once he's done with those things, what does he do in his downtime? Well, he stumbles his way into his city. It seems they have bars here on Earth too. Awesome. Raditz could use a drink. Raditz eventually starts hanging out in the city more and more, learning more about Earthling life, and mostly enjoying the bar scene. He picks up on a few new hobbies too. He has a lot of free time at his hands, and it's not just gonna be training. He does have to take it a bit easy because he can't keep training all the time or else that wound's gonna just reopen. But he finds some cool stuff. He sees these awesome contraptions called motorcycles. And just for fun, he steals one. It's not hard when you can lift them with ease and just fly away with it. Raditz is actually starting to have fun here on Earth. He continues healing, continues growing stronger, and gets more custom with Earth culture. And at some point, he does have to get rid of his outfit because it's all torn up, and it looks gross for him to come into the bar and the city with just the same outfit every single time. So he gets a new getup, inspired by all those bikers that he sees and hangs out with. Thankfully, he does look somewhat human, so he blends in. And that cool scar that he has, well, he doesn't want to alarm anyone. So he comes up with stories about how he got the scar, including one on his shoulder too that he got from Gohan. He blends in more and more with the humans, and he's actually enjoying himself. Maybe this was the right choice, although he doesn't really want to interact with the group much. Living this life, this is fun. He's never had this. His entire existence, even as a kid, he's been at war. And now, he's actually having fun. And he knows he can't fight the Saiyans. They're too strong. Once they come here, in his eyes, Earth is doomed. He will keep training, just to grow stronger for himself, and to make sure that he's still in top shape. But he doesn't expect to win against the Saiyans, and he doesn't really want to fight alongside the humans and everybody. But he knows he has to. He's only going to do it out of necessity. And he promises to himself, after this, he's going to swear off fighting like this for good. No more war. He needs a new life. A lot of time passes. About a year later, Raditz is hanging in the bar one day. Somebody walks in. It's Krillin. Everyone in the bar turns to look at him, laughing. This short guy just walked in, and for some reason he's trying to look all intimidating. Krillin just simply ignores everyone as he walks past them, going towards Raditz. Everyone in the bar goes silent. What does he have to do with Raditz? He's gained the respect of everyone here, and Raditz turns over seeing Krillin. A couple of people try to stop Krillin from going up to him, but Krillin's able to easily fend them off, without even looking. No one's gonna try to pick a fight with him now. And Raditz stands up, smiling at Krillin, and Krillin's pretty amazed. Raditz looks completely different. Besides the getup and all, he has a beard now too. And Krillin didn't actually expect him to be here, but Raditz walks up to Krillin, downing the glass of his whiskey. So, it's that time already. Well, so be it then. Shenron is summoned and Goku is revived, although he still has to make a trip back down Snake Way. So he's gonna be a little late, but at least they do have Raditz on their side. Maybe that could help? He tells them though, after this, they're going their separate ways. It's like he told them before. He doesn't want to be in their life and fight alongside them. He just wants to enjoy his time here on Earth. And they're amazed to see this change. He still seems pretty cruel and cold, but he's not trying to murder them, so it is a plus. And he hasn't tried to do so over the past year. Yamcha thinks it's some sort of midlife crisis. Raditz tells him to shut up, they're around the same age. He's just found a new lease on life. That is, if he survives this. He's still doubtful about them defeating the Saiyans, but for some reason, everyone sees that he's still confident. Well, yeah, because Raditz is happy. This is where he settles everything, and this decides his future. He either dies here, or goes on to live another day. And Piccolo looks on, a bit embarrassed actually. They're facing a serious threat, and here Raditz is raving about biking and going to bars and such. Well, at least he's content. That means he really is on their side, even if it's only temporary. And they tell Raditz, Goku will be here soon. Wait, what? Kakarot, he's back? Yeah, they used the Dragon Balls to revive him, although it's gonna take a bit of time for him to get here. He can't believe it. He's gonna see Kakarot again? That's gonna be awkward. He's not really looking forward to it, but whatever. The same thing's about to happen with Vegeta and Nappa, who arrived not too long after. Their jaws drop. They must be seeing things. Raditz? And Raditz smirks, in the flesh. He's alive. They honestly thought that weakling died. So that means he fakes his death, and they see him standing alongside the rest of the others. But Raditz says he didn't betray them. They just threw him away. He did nothing wrong. He's just enjoying his time here on Earth. And even though before he was thinking that they would be defeated by the Saiyans, he obviously hides that, telling Vegeta and Nappa this is the start of their demise. So, Raditz the traitor is gonna kill them. They even see the scars on him, and his new getup. Vegeta and Nappa share a laugh. There's no way he's going to be able to do anything, even with this crew alongside him. Look at that, he's even battle-scarred from them. He couldn't handle these weak Earthlings in that Namekian. Same for that other Saiyan, Kakarot, his brother. He's going to die a weak, low-class warrior just like Kakarot. Nothing is going to change that. And Raditz says he begs to differ. Vegeta is not going to take this lightly. He sees Raditz assume the battle stance. He's serious. He's dead serious. This is a betrayal, and there's no other way around it. Raditz needs to be killed. He's one of the priorities here. Knowing that he's a Saiyan and probably stronger than all those Earthlings too, he definitely wants Nappa to focus on him, not to mention their connection with Raditz. It's kind of funny because no one here is happy that Raditz is here. Vegeta and Nappa don't want to see him, and in terms of the Earthlings, Piccolo and Gohan aren't too fond of Raditz being here, and the rest of the group doesn't really trust him too much yet. But if he actually fights the Saiyans like he's saying he's going to, well, that might change things. The fight begins. Raditz launches towards Nappa. He actually did it. Nappa gets ready to defend, and immediately, both of them are at full power. Vegeta checks his scouter just to be sure. He wants to look at Raditz's power. It can't be that high. It's not like he's going to be able to fight Nappa. Raditz was such a weakling before, and there's no way he's actually strong. But as Vegeta looks on confidently, the scouter's reading continues going up. 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, wait, 7,000? He checks to make sure he's not reading Nappa's power, and he isn't. Raditz is actually stronger than Nappa, it looks like. No, that's gotta be a fluke. And he watches. As the battle goes on, Raditz's power does fluctuate. Okay, maybe the scouter is just busted. But Raditz is actually just getting a better understanding of ki control and how to sense ki and stuff, as well as suppressing his power. This trips Vegeta up and makes it seem like he's not a threat to Nappa. It could just be an issue with the scouter, but really, Raditz is stronger than him. Nappa shouts at Raditz. He's a dirty traitor, and he doesn't care about killing Raditz. They don't need him. Especially if he's gonna betray them, he'd love to kill him. And Raditz welcomes Nappa to do so. Angrily, Nappa opens his mouth, charging a massive beam, launching it right at Raditz. And then Raditz does something really weird, at least really weird from Piccolo's point of view. He places 2 fingers on his forehead, charging a beam. No way, he's actually gonna steal his move? Well, yeah. Raditz thought it was pretty effective before, so he wants to try it out. He launches his own Makanko Sapo, not the exact same as Piccolo's, but pretty similar. He thinks it's easy to replicate. Right before Nappa's blast hits, Raditz's makes contact. The energy is concentrated right in the middle of it, splitting Nappa's blast in half, traveling right towards his head, getting a clean headshot as it also cuts through his beam. Nappa falls over to the ground lifeless, and Raditz stands there with his fingers pointed out, breathing heavily. He charged a lot of energy into it, but then he looks over at Piccolo smugly and laughs. Now that's how you properly aim the attack. He wipes the blood from his mouth, taking a deep breath and preparing for his next battle against Vegeta. Vegeta looks on in complete disbelief. He actually did it. But just as he's about to enter the fight, his scouter beeps. There's another power level approaching, and Raditz can sense this power too. As well as the rest of the group, they immediately know who and what it is. And Raditz then realizes what it is too. He doesn't recognize it because he hasn't sensed it before, but there's only one person it can be. Kakarot. He's that strong? Goku arrives nearby. A little bit surprised at what he sees, Raditz is standing there with the group, and there's a dead Saiyan nearby, as well as Vegeta looking on, even more confused than anyone else. Goku got word that Raditz was still alive, but he knows it doesn't really mean Raditz is on their side, it's just an enemy of my enemy kind of situation. And Raditz can tell what Kakarot's thinking. He tells his brother not to worry, he is just here to kill the other 2, and then he's gonna leave. Wait, what? Why is he doing that? This is actual confirmation right from Raditz himself. Whatever, he won't question it. Raditz is helping them. But he can tell he's not gonna get along with Raditz or enjoy fighting alongside him. And Vegeta's getting annoyed, and he tells the 2 of them to get on with it. He doesn't care about this reunion. Raditz reassures Vegeta he doesn't either. He was just surprised at Kakarot's power, and Vegeta tries to use his scouter to sense it, and yeah, Kakarot's power is pretty immense. Over 8,000? But then Raditz jumps towards him too. Both of their powers are rising, and Goku's a little annoyed. Raditz is getting in the way. The 2 can't fight together, they don't know how to fight alongside each other. And they have 2 completely different strategies of how to fight. He tells Raditz to not get in the way, but Raditz says the same. Goku powers up even more, showing off more of his strength to Raditz, making Raditz realize that Kakarot is actually stronger than him. Whoa, he didn't expect that. His younger idiot brother actually surpassed him. He says he'll take on Vegeta alone, and then powers up into Kaioken, proving that he doesn't need Raditz's help here, and he doesn't want Raditz's help. With Kaioken, Goku's actually able to hold his own against Vegeta, and the rest of the group watches on from the sidelines. They can't just sit here doing nothing. They want to help, especially Gohan, Piccolo, and even Raditz. Raditz just wants to kill Vegeta, it's not to help Kakarot. But still, he wants to help. And Vegeta could tell. He might be outnumbered here. Well, he is outnumbered, but also possibly overpowered by these numbers. Before it wasn't a concern, but now with Kakarot here, that will be an issue. But at least he has a trump card. He stretches out a hand, creating an artificial moon, and Raditz instantly recognizes what it is. As Vegeta tosses it up in the air, Raditz jumps up. He points a hand down, getting above the artificial moon, and then launching his own blast at it. It destroys the artificial moon, sending a blast towards Vegeta as well. And Raditz yells out to Piccolo. Now's his opportunity. Vegeta doesn't know what he's talking about, but Piccolo appears behind him, grabbing onto Vegeta's tail, and slicing it clean off. There, no artificial moon, no tail, no grating. Vegeta knocks away Piccolo with one blow. Infuriated, he then rushes towards Raditz, but Goku jumps in front of him, intercepting Vegeta's attack, countering with his own. You know, that actually was good that Raditz did that. Otherwise, he doesn't know what would have happened if Vegeta transformed. So, reluctantly, he thanks Raditz for that. And Raditz tells Kakarot he needs his help. The two continue fighting together as Piccolo tries to prop himself up. Gohan rushes over to him, angered that he's injured. And Gohan's been pretty mad this entire fight. The fact that Raditz is here, the fact that Vegeta's hurting his friends and his family now, specifically Goku only, Gohan's pretty angered. But if you remember back to the last part, Piccolo actually had a better method of working with Gohan's rage, utilizing Raditz as kind of a trigger for that, and now Gohan has a better control on his anger, and also better control as a fighter. He summons this rage, jumping into the battle, trying to attack Vegeta himself. Goku and Raditz are both confused to see Gohan jumping in, and it's kind of weird because both of them look on proudly. Goku's proud to see his son fighting like this, and Raditz looks on, just happy to see Vegeta being beat up by a kid. That brings him back to a year ago when Gohan attacked him. It's funny how things change. With the entire group now ganging up on Vegeta, he has no idea of what to do. He's able to fend them off, but it's getting harder and harder. Although, the group is taking damage. Goku can't keep up Kaioken forever, and Raditz, he might be strong, but he's not strong enough to actually hurt Vegeta. At least not in any way that matters. He's facing a lot of injuries, same with Piccolo. As for the humans, they're providing support from the sidelines, but they can't get in too close. One attack from Vegeta could definitely kill them. But as the battle continues, with help from Gohan, a combined effort from Raditz, Goku, and Piccolo, and all the help from everyone else, Vegeta is slowly being beat down. He can't keep up with it anymore. He tries to destroy Earth in one last attempt, one last shot at victory, but Goku steps in with a Kaioken Kamehameha, surprisingly joined by Gohan, getting stronger with his rage. The beam clash is actually a lot easier this time thanks to the help from Gohan, and also, Raditz jumps up, trying to attack Vegeta from behind as he uses his Gallic Gun. Vegeta is being attacked from two angles. He can't defend against both. Vegeta turns around, seeing Raditz behind him, charging a Shining Friday. The father-son Kamehameha from below is pushing him further, and now, Raditz's Shining Friday is added to it. Vegeta's right in the middle of the two attacks, taking the brunt of both of them. A massive explosion occurs, flinging Vegeta down to the ground, injured and barely hanging on. Raditz is weakened too. He faced a lot of injury, and he used up a lot of his power, especially with that last attack. He collapses to the ground, exhausted. Vegeta calls for a space pod, as he crawls towards it, ready to escape. And Goku's actually in decent shape. Sure, he's still very injured, and Kaioken took its toll on his body, but he could actually stand up this time. Just barely. And he watches on as Vegeta crawls to his ship, and the rest of the group looks on too. Why is he letting him go? Especially Raditz is confused. This is his opportunity to kill Vegeta. They all watch as Vegeta crawls to his space pod, with Goku doing absolutely nothing. As the space pod leaves, Raditz tries to aim an attack at it, but Goku steps in front of him. Raditz tells his brother he's an idiot. They have the opportunity to kill Vegeta right now. Why not do it? And Goku says, that's not Raditz's choice to make, that's Goku's. Raditz says he can't let that monster live, but Goku says with that logic, Raditz should die too. Raditz curses his brother, propping himself up. He says he's impressed by his techniques, but he reminds the group, don't expect him to team up with them again. Raditz will grow stronger, and he'll leave this planet, going into space to kill Vegeta and Frieza. Goku tells him good luck with that, with Raditz departing on his own as the rest of the group departs too. Thankfully facing no casualties this time. Some time passes. Raditz is trying to think about his next move. He wants to gather the Dragon Balls, but he knows that's not going to happen. They were just used to get Goku back to life, so now he's kinda out of luck. But he does have another option. He could go to Namek. He has his ship, and it is partially broken, but there's also parts from Nappa's ship. As long as he could find that and salvage it, maybe he could use the parts from the two of them together and rebuild the ship. It'll be kinda shoddy, but it's at least worth a shot. He also continues his training. After healing up from the fight with Vegeta, he does get a nice increase in power, but still remains on his own. And one day, Goku comes to visit him, right as he's about to leave, and Goku looks on speechless. Raditz was actually serious. He didn't actually think he was gonna do it. What the hell is he doing? And Raditz tells Kakarot, he says he's going to Namek to get the Dragon Balls, if they exist there. He'll use them to obtain more power in order to kill Frieza and Vegeta, mainly Frieza. It's like he said before, he wasn't bluffing. He's gonna actually get stronger. And he's gonna do what his weaker brother couldn't. Goku reminds Raditz, he is stronger. And even if Raditz does want to try and do this, he can be stopped easily. This is dangerous, not because of the fact that he wants to kill Vegeta and Frieza, but the fact that Raditz is gonna get the Dragon Balls, and Goku doesn't want that. He doesn't care if Raditz leaves and tries to kill them or goes on some sort of suicide mission. He cares if Raditz gets the Dragon Balls and comes back here, probably getting revenge on them or something. Raditz tells Goku to think for a second. If he was gonna hurt them, he could have killed them already. They don't need to be worried about him getting the Dragon Balls. He has no use for this planet or his brother. He's not gonna come back and try to destroy it. He would have done that by now. But Goku tells Raditz he can't leave. And Raditz asks who's gonna stop him. Goku says he will. The two of them eye each other down. Raditz says if he's serious, then they need to settle this here and now. He assumes a battle stance, and so does Goku. Raditz versus Goku 2.0 begins. The two launch towards each other, and Raditz laughs. He's not gonna call for help this time? Goku says he doesn't need it. He's strong enough to take on his brother alone, and he won't even have to use the Kaioken. Raditz laughs. Cocky now, isn't he? But Goku says the same thing. Raditz saw how the fight with Vegeta went. He knows that Goku's stronger. But Raditz reminds Goku, he's grown stronger since the fight too. That's their ability as Saiyans. He doesn't care if Kakarot's stronger, because he is as well. And he knows Kakarot can't use that Kaioken or whatever for that long. It hurt his body too much. And he also knows, no matter what, Goku's not gonna kill him. He saw it with Vegeta, and Goku said it himself. It would be hypocritical to leave Vegeta alive and then kill Raditz here. And he questions Goku. Why is he trying to stop him? Don't they want him gone? This is their opportunity. Get rid of Raditz. He wants to leave here too. It's mutually beneficial. But as the fight continues onwards, it stops being as even as before. Goku's strategy and his edge and power, they let him get ahead, defeating Raditz once again. He tosses his older brother to the ground and tells Raditz he hopes he makes the smart choice and doesn't go on a suicide mission. Of course, Goku doesn't care about that either way. He more so is concerned about Raditz getting the Dragon Balls, but doesn't flat out say it. And Raditz contemplates this. He watches as Goku flies away, actually a little confused. Kakarot actually did defeat him, alone. He actually is that much stronger. And maybe there was some truth to what he was saying. It could be kind of stupid to go out now. Who knows if those Dragon Balls even exist out there, or if he'll even make it to them in the first place. He wants to grow stronger, but he knows he'll never surpass anyone without this crutch. He's bound to be like this, weaker than everyone, weaker than even his idiot younger brother. Whatever. He doesn't care about training. He doesn't care about fighting. At least not comparing his strength to others. He will still train. He will grow stronger. But for himself. And you know what? He'll stay here on Earth. He'll enjoy the life here. He likes the partying, the drinking, everything, the motorcycles too. It's like he thought before. What is he doing? Why is he trying to get revenge? Just enjoy his peaceful life here now. He's not at war anymore. Vegeta's gone. But as much as he wants to think like that, he can't. With Vegeta out there, Raditz is anxious. He doesn't want Vegeta to be out there, or Frieza. They can kill him at any point in time, and Raditz just wants that reassurance. And on the other side of things, there's Goku. He's kind of the opposite of Raditz. He's more motivated than ever to fight. People like Vegeta and Raditz existing gives him more motivation to grow. Kind of similar to Raditz, but in a different way. He needs to make sure that Raditz can be stopped, and the same for Vegeta. Also, he would like to fight Vegeta again, and to some extent, he knows that Raditz could probably get that too. Of course, he's never going to really forgive Raditz. At least he doesn't think so anytime soon. He kidnapped Gohan and tried to kill them. To be fair, Raditz isn't the only person that tried that and is still around, but Raditz went a step further and tried to hurt an innocent kid and destroy Earth. Seeing that cruelty that Raditz displayed towards Gohan, it makes Goku not as welcoming of him. Sure, he's seen villains before, like Piccolo for example, but this is so much more personal. And Raditz is still being his same cold self. He doesn't know if Raditz would change. Hopefully Raditz proves him wrong. But as I mentioned, Goku doesn't seem like he's gonna forgive Raditz anytime soon, and Raditz doesn't really want that either. The two of them aren't friendly. They're only related by blood, nothing else. There's no friendship, no rivalry, no camaraderie here. They're just coexisting, with both kind of wanting to get away from the other, but also both intrigued by the other. Where can their strength take them? Inspired by King Kai, Goku begins gravity training. Thanks to some help from Bulma, she's able to make a gravity chamber, allowing him to do this. Raditz had also mentioned that Earth's gravity is very weak. So by now, Goku realized that a good solution is gravity training. And with Goku being around here, he actually decides to train Gohan himself. Gohan actually got some good training from Piccolo. He did it in the main story, and here he actually got better outcomes from it. And Goku wants to use that, harness that same power he used in the Saiyan Saga. Gohan's getting a better control over his anger, and maybe he could utilize that for something else. But that remains to be seen. As the two of them train, Raditz trains too, but is also continuing to be alone, filling the void with more partying, more drinking, and most importantly, more motorcycles. He couldn't kill Kakarot. He couldn't kill Vegeta. Only that meathead Nappa, which that doesn't really count. Nappa was so weak compared to him. He's a failure through and through. But that changes now. Even though he's enjoying the vices here on Earth, he still is training. He's gonna improve himself. He's gonna be better than anyone. Not just Vegeta, his stupid brother too. He'll be better than Frieza even. This is a new era. This is the era of Raditz. He doesn't have some goal for universal domination or whatever, and he doesn't want to be at war anymore either. He's just gonna use the strength to prove to himself that he can do it. He can be better than who he currently is. Not a good person, no. Just that he could be more himself, however repulsive that may be. Let's go over some power levels too. Goku's around 200,000 now thanks to all the gravity training. With Kaioken times 20 though, which he eventually accesses, that gets him to around 4 million. Pretty impressive. Raditz is also still training too. Granted, he's not doing gravity training like Goku, so he's actually a bit behind. Let's put him around 150,000. Gohan's not too far behind either. Thanks to gravity training and more training with Goku, as well as harnessing his power more effectively, Gohan's at around 100,000. Also very impressive, especially given his age. Piccolo's around 80,000, and as for the humans, well, they're not really too focused on training right now, but they are stronger. Let's say they're around 30,000. Piccolo is joining Goku and Gohan occasionally, so he's getting some gravity training in too, which is why he's actually a bit stronger here. But what's going on out in space? Well, one important thing that I should mention is that Frieza was eavesdropping, but he never learned of Namek's Dragon Balls since Nappa never mentioned anything. As far as he knows, there's no such thing. Or at least, there's nothing to prompt him to think so. And this leaves an opening for Vegeta. He can get the Dragon Balls for himself. He can go to Namek, and then maybe he'll get them there, become immortal, and stop Frieza, as well as killing those two idiots on Earth. As soon as Vegeta's healed up, he goes out on another mission. Frieza, of course, is curious as to what he's doing, but he doesn't care. Vegeta's acting really stupid right now. He came back all beaten up, and now he's going out somewhere else. Maybe he's going on a suicide mission. Maybe he'll finally be rid of that stupid Saiyan. Whatever, he's not going to question it. He welcomes it if anything. Soon enough, Vegeta arrives on Namek. He's the only one there. There's no people from Earth, no Frieza Force, nothing. It's just him. That means it's ripe for the taking. The Dragon Balls. He'll find them, and he'll summon the dragon, becoming immortal. Nothing is in his way to stop him. At least, he thinks so. He stops by a random village, threatening to slaughter them all if they don't show him the Dragon Balls. Some of the warriors do put up a fight, but of course, it's not enough against Vegeta. He defeats them, but this also puts the planet on alert. Other warrior Namekians hear about this, and thankfully since Vegeta's the only threat there, they could all focus on him. A couple of strong people start flying towards the village where Vegeta's at. And right before he's about to slaughter everyone there and get the Dragon Ball by force, another warrior appears, and Vegeta knows that this guy seems different from the others. But if he defeated them easily, this guy should be no problem. The man introduces himself. It's Nail. He tells Vegeta he'll give him one last chance to leave. And Vegeta laughs. He defeated those other Namekians so easily, why is this one so cocky? Well, if he's not gonna leave, Nail warned him. Nail faces Vegeta alone, and his power is more than enough to actually stop Vegeta. Vegeta's infuriated, defeated by a Namekian. These people are pacifists too. How embarrassing. He's not gonna be able to get the Dragon Balls this way. He's either gonna die here trying to get it, or he can make his escape. But Vegeta's able to create a diversion. He launches a ki blast over at one of the houses. Nail looks away for a brief moment, trying to make sure that no one was injured, and then Vegeta throws down another ki blast in front of him. A pillar of smoke is thrown up, and Vegeta throws a volley of ki blasts around the area. Everything is covered in dust. The village is leveled, but thankfully no one's injured. But amidst all the chaos, Vegeta is able to escape, getting back to his space pod, flying out of the planet before anyone could attack him. That was close, a little too close for comfort. Okay, well, Vegeta knows that the Dragon Balls do exist here at least. Well, he didn't actually get to see them, but he's assuming that's the case. They were defending something. But he could also be wrong. What if they actually weren't here? What if he was just attacking a random planet? Not that it's new for him, but it could have been a pointless endeavor. Either way though, he can't stay here. Even if the Dragon Balls are here, he's not going to be able to get them. So what is he supposed to do now? Damn it! He can't go to Earth. He can't get the Dragon Balls on Namek. And he doesn't want to go back to the Frieza Force either. So, he tries something kind of rash, but maybe this will at least be his best option. He fakes his own death. Out in space, he sends a communication from his scouter. He makes sure to do this far away from Namek so no one knows that he was near this planet. It makes it seem like his ship exploded, with Vegeta still being aboard and dying. His scouter is destroyed too, and he rips out any sort of tracking devices from his ship. Of course, this sent him on a random course to nowhere. His ship locked onto a random planet and now it just is drifting throughout space. Whatever planet that is, he'll just stay there for the time being, and eventually he'll figure something else out. But now he's gonna go into hiding. The Frieza Force thinks he died. And Frieza's pretty happy, but he wonders what Vegeta was doing. He still is a little bit suspicious about it. Yeah, he's glad Vegeta's gone, but what caused it to happen? What was he doing that he had to do alone, that he did with such secrecy? Frieza's not too sure, but he's definitely going to look into it. Vegeta continues drifting throughout space, and he stumbles upon a random planet that his ship was heading towards. It's a planet called Yardrat. He doesn't know what it is or if there's anyone even on it, but he'll stay here for the time being. He'll grow stronger. He'll train. He doesn't know if there's people here to train with, but whatever. He's going to train alone. He'll grow stronger. He'll kill those people on Earth. He'll get the Dragon Balls and then kill Frieza. Namek is clearly too powerful at the moment, but Earth is far weaker, so he can at least get stronger here and then go to Earth somehow. Granted, he will have to fix up his ship, but that won't be a problem when the time comes. He'll be strong enough to fend off anyone that comes out to seek him. Vegeta's plan inadvertently backfired though. Not on him, no. He actually made Frieza more suspicious. Frieza does think he's dead, but he now wonders what's going on with Earth. Why did Vegeta and the Saiyans head there, and why did some of them never come back? This sets Frieza's sight on that planet. Thankfully, Vegeta's off his radar, but now Earth is on his radar. Frieza's definitely going to look into this. Meanwhile on Earth, Piccolo ends up visiting Raditz one day. Of course, he has been training with Goku and Gohan, but now he wants to start training with Raditz too. He wonders what his power is like. Goku's getting too far ahead of him, and as for Gohan, well, Goku's definitely a better teacher for him. Not to mention, it would be better if Goku trains him. He knows Gohan better than anyone. And Piccolo doesn't really want to get in the way of it. Raditz actually seems more his strength. Of course, Raditz is stronger than Piccolo. But Piccolo recognizes that the two might be good to train together. Piccolo is kinda outcasted too because the Namek stuff didn't lead to the same bond that everyone else had. But at least people do like Piccolo. They're all on good terms. And Raditz chuckles when Piccolo approaches him. This is fine by him. He wonders if Piccolo could help him kill the Saiyans, and he tells Piccolo his plan. He's planning on going to Namek? Piccolo may be able to seek out a new power there by learning more about it himself. If that's where he came from, that could be a good thing. And unlike Goku, he's actually kinda supportive of this idea. As more time passes, the two of them train together, eventually heading out to Namek. Raditz fixes up his space pod against Goku's warnings, and even though Piccolo's concerned about Raditz getting the Dragon Balls, it shouldn't really be too much of an issue. This way they at least get him off the planet. And if there is an issue, well, whatever Raditz does with the Dragon Balls here could be reversed with the Dragon Balls on Earth. And Raditz at least seems to trust Piccolo. Not trust him, but he was fine letting him in on this plan. So Piccolo doesn't think that Raditz is going to fly off the handle and kill them. It's like Raditz said. If he wanted to, he would have done that a while ago. He just wants to leave Earth. They fix up the remains of Raditz and Nappa's space pods. So now they have two, and they head out to Namek. It's quite a long trip. And of course, Goku notices that the two of them left. He wonders what they're up to. Well, he knows what Raditz is doing, but why is Piccolo with him? Hopefully it all turns out for the best. He did warn Raditz after all, but looks like it's too late now. If anything, this is more motivation for him to train with Gohan. In case something does happen, they'll be strong enough to counter it. Raditz and Piccolo eventually arrive on Namek a few days later. And when they arrive, they're near Guru's place. The planet is on high alert, especially after seeing the two ships. They look like that one that just arrived there. Immediately, the Namekians confront the two of them, but as Piccolo steps off the ship, they look on confused. Another Namekian. And this other guy. He's not wearing the armor that the other Saiyan was wearing. Sure, this guy definitely looks like a Saiyan, but he's not dressed like one. What's going on here? They question the two of them. Are they here to finish what that other Saiyan tried to start? Wait, what? What other Saiyan? They tell the two of them to not play stupid. Another Saiyan came here not too long ago, trying to get the Dragon Balls. Vegeta was here? That's news to them. And just to make sure that they're telling the truth, they take him to Guru. With Piccolo going too because they're not too sure why another Namekian is here, and something is off about him. Guru looks into their minds, and he sees they are telling the truth. Raditz is trying to actually seek out that other Saiyan. He's trying to kill that guy that threatened Namek. Also, Frieza. And this is interesting for Piccolo to see. Guru is saying that Raditz has no ill intention against him or the Earthlings. He doesn't necessarily like them, but he doesn't have a desire to kill them. Just Frieza and Vegeta. And he sees Raditz's desires to go stronger too. He looks into Piccolo's mind as well. Piccolo's looking to gain more power, more knowledge about himself. The two of them are seeking out the Dragon Balls. And Guru does have something he can give them, but under a condition. He doesn't necessarily want to give them the Dragon Balls, which they kinda do understand, although they're bummed about. Although they're not going to retaliate, they can tell that the Namekians are strong and they don't want to start anything. It's great that the Namekians didn't attack them right away, so they want to show the same courtesy. Guru could tell that they do want to actually defeat Frieza and Vegeta. But instead of giving them the Dragon Balls, he can give them power in another way, unlock their potentials. Wait, he could do that? Yeah, and the other Namekians look on confused. They're not sure if this is a good idea, but Guru says it is. This is exactly what they're trying to do. They just want to get stronger to defeat these two people, and since those two are a threat to Namek, It would be good if Raditz and Piccolo fought against them. Plus, this way, it's a lot safer. They're not getting the Dragon Balls, but they're still getting that boost in power that they wanted, so it wasn't a wasted trip here. And maybe Piccolo can learn a little bit about Namek, stay here a little while, research some things, stuff like that. Guru places his hand on their heads, with one of them to each side of him. He starts unlocking their power, and they're speechless. This power within them, they had all this? They could feel the power overflowing. It's unlike anything they've ever felt before. It's a dramatic increase. And as soon as Guru's finished drawing out the potential, they just stand there, not knowing what to think. They could barely even control the power, it's overflowing. This was all that was in them? This is definitely going to be enough to defeat Vegeta, maybe even Frieza too. At least that's what Raditz thinks. And the two try and control their power, calming down, suppressing it. This is unlike anything they've ever felt before. But Piccolo starts to hear a voice. It's Kami. Why is Kami contacting him right now? Kami asks where Piccolo is, and he says they're on Namek. Namek? He's all the way over there? Okay, whatever. They'll address that later. Right now, there's an issue. What's going on? Well, there's some strong powers approaching Earth. Kami first thought it might have been Raditz and Piccolo returning, and then he thought it might have been Vegeta, but it clearly isn't either of those. There's a couple strong powers, and they're malicious. One in particular is incredibly strong. Piccolo relays this information, and Raditz can immediately tell. That's gotta be him. It's gotta be Frieza. But why would Frieza be heading towards Earth? It makes sense. He's probably suspicious. 3 Saiyans headed there and none came back. Well, Vegeta might have gone back, but who knows? If he came here, that means he went off randomly. Of course, Frieza wouldn't know where he is at that point then. Oh, they see now. Suspicion has been drawn towards Earth, and Frieza wants to check it out. There's no way they're going to be able to defend against him, especially without Piccolo and Raditz there. There's no way for them to get back in time either. Well, maybe there is. This is the chance to prove themselves. Guru says that they wanted to fight Frieza, so he'll give them the opportunity. He'll use the Dragon Ball to send them back to Earth. Hell, even some Namekian warriors can go with him. They're surprised at how generous Guru is being. But consider the situation he's in. This is the safest thing for him to do. In case he can't trust these two, which he feels like he can, but just in case, this gets them off of Namek immediately. Plus, it sends them right to the fight with Frieza. It is what they wanted after all, and they're determined to fight him. If they truly do want to fight Frieza, this is their opportunity. The Dragon Balls are quickly gathered, Porunga is summoned, and the two look on amazed to see this other dragon. A single wish is made. Send Piccolo, Raditz, and a couple of other Namekian warriors to Earth. This is all happening so quickly. They can't believe it. They need to formulate a plan, but thankfully, by doing this, they are saving some time. It'll allow them some breathing room to regroup with the others on Earth. The wish is granted, and they materialize back on Earth. Goku and Gohan quickly rush over, sensing all these powers. Holy crap, there's a bunch of other Piccolos here. Okay, there's a lot of explaining to do now, and they need to get everyone together. The clock is ticking, time is running out. Unexpectedly, they're gonna have to rebel against Frieza. Raditz looks to Kakarot. He tells him not to do anything. Goku asks why. He wants to fight, but Piccolo agrees. It's too dangerous right now. They all need to work together. They can't just go in alone. That's what he was referring to. Piccolo now has more knowledge too. In regards to Frieza at least. He had no idea of who he was before, but on their journey to Namek, Raditz was telling Piccolo a little bit about it. If what Raditz said is true, no one's gonna be a match for Frieza. Besides maybe Raditz and Piccolo because they just got their potentials unlocked. Although, that remains to be seen. Raditz tells Goku, he's lucky that he's trying to kill Frieza, otherwise he wouldn't really be helping this planet. They just got stronger due to Guru, and Raditz basically has what he wanted. He'll kill Frieza, and then he'll go off to kill Vegeta too. Goku doesn't really like this. Well, obviously it's bad that Earth is being attacked, but also, he has no choice but to team up with Raditz. I mean, it kinda worked well in the Saiyan saga, but here, he's not too sure. And after this, Raditz says he is gonna go his separate way, leaving Earth pretty much for good. Well, you know what? It's not too bad. He'll help defend Earth, and then he'll just be gone. Although, Goku's not sure if they'll be successful, and he doesn't know if Raditz is gonna keep up his end of the promise. Whatever. He has no other real option, so he decides to go along with it. But he asks, why are the Namekians here? Well, they joined on a whim to help. They think Frieza knows of their planet because Vegeta does too, and they think they're gonna be attacked again eventually. They might as well band together now instead of fighting without these strong Earthlings later on. And yeah, that's pretty good. It's a smart idea to stick together right now. Of course, the Namekians don't know for sure if they're being targeted, but better safe than sorry. The Frieza force begins ascending on Earth. The human fighters spread out. A lot of the weak soldiers are heading into cities, and they'll be sure to defend those places. But the elite soldiers and Frieza himself, they're heading towards the highest powers they can sense, and that's where this makeshift army is. The Namekians, Goku, Raditz, and Piccolo, as well as Gohan too. He's gonna stick alongside Goku instead of going to one of the cities. And as his forces head in trying to destroy this makeshift army, it's really unsuccessful. As for the individual cities that they're trying to attack, the humans are able to defend them alone. They've gotten a lot stronger in the meantime, and it's not like the Frieza soldiers are particularly strong in comparison to them right now. But most of the strong soldiers are heading towards that makeshift army that I mentioned, and they're not faring too well against it. Even Zarbon and Dodoria can't do anything, and at some point the Ginyu Force would probably join in, and even with their gimmicks, it's a very tough battle, especially with Raditz and Piccolo there. Frieza's watching on. His entire army's being destroyed. Okay, yeah, Earth was definitely a threat. He's glad that he came here. Otherwise, he might have been attacked eventually without even realizing it. But it's fine. He'll see this through to the end. If he wants something done right, he has to do it himself. So, Frieza steps off his ship, heading towards that collection of high powers. Raditz can tell that Frieza's heading in. Now it's the real deal. And when Frieza lands nearby, he's a little bit confused. A couple of Namekians. And he sees what looks to be some Saiyans. There's a child there. He sees Raditz, who he actually recognizes, and then another Saiyan. Wait a second, he kind of recognized this other one too. It looks like that one that rebelled against him so long ago. Great, more monkeys. So Raditz didn't actually die. He asks, what happened with Vegeta then? Assuming that he died as well. And Raditz says he has no idea where Vegeta went. Nappa, well, he was killed by Raditz's hand. And as for Vegeta, they defeated him, but he escaped. So the Saiyans aren't actually dead. And there's also these two others that he didn't know about. They must be weaklings too if they went under his radar for so long. But he can't help but get that picture of that other Saiyan out of his head, the one who tried to rebel against him. Frieza mentions this, and Goku has no idea of what he's talking about, but Raditz thinks he has an idea. He must be referring to their father. Well, his father was weak. He'll finish the job that Bardock wasn't able to finish. Raditz is much stronger than what Bardock was like. Even Kakarot might be stronger too. And Frieza chuckles. That Saiyan, he didn't really stand a chance against him anyways. Frieza's not intimidated by this threat, but decides to test out their power. First, he's gonna face Goku alone. And Goku thinks that he can actually handle this. Judging by Frieza's power, they might be a good match for each other. Remember, Goku's been doing a lot of gravity training recently, and he's had a long time for training too. With Kaioken, he's also a lot stronger. He and Frieza stare each other down, and the battle begins. The two start fighting, and Goku's actually a bit ahead. Even though he hasn't even used Kaioken yet, in base alone he's able to match Frieza. And it's not like Frieza knows he has any higher powers. And Goku's a little bit confused. This is who they were hyping up? Yeah, Frieza is decently powerful, but Goku looks back to the group. He could take on Frieza alone if this is the extent of his power. And Frieza's angry. They're mocking him? Well, this isn't the extent of his power. This is one of his suppressions. And he tells Goku, fine, if he wants to see more power, then so be it. He transforms, going into his second form. And Goku is still actually able to fight him, now using Kaioken. And Kaioken's actually kind of overkill here. Frieza's even more confused. He's not a challenge for them. At least not this Saiyan. Of course, he still has two more forms to go through, but still. He didn't expect anyone here to be this strong. No wonder the other Saiyans had issues with them. And Goku flat out tells Frieza, if he's hiding any more power, he might as well get serious. Raditz asks what the hell he's doing. He has the chance to kill Frieza. He should do it now. Frieza's unpredictable, and they need to get ahead of him while he can. But it's already too late. Goku coaxed him into transforming, and Frieza goes into his third form now. He comments that he has one more form above this, but this should be more than enough. Piccolo watches on a bit frustrated too. He tells Goku if he's not gonna finish the job, he'll just do it himself. Oh, a Namekian's gonna fight him. Raditz steps in too. The two of them combined should be more than enough. With their potentials unlocked, they should be able to contend with Frieza. A 2 versus 1 now. He does want to fight that other Saiyan, but if these two want to die first, then so be it. And it's a similar story. Even his third form isn't enough. Okay, now Frieza's really pissed. Not only did he not expect him to be this strong, but also, besides the fact that he's surprised by their powers, there's also the fact that he can't actually defeat them right now as is. He's gonna have to use his final form. It's a big blow to his pride, and makes him angry. But still, he feels content. His final form definitely will be more than enough. So, he shows it off. And now, the tide's completely turned. Frieza shows off his final form. And now everyone's having trouble. Thankfully with Kaioken times 20, Goku is able to kinda keep up. But this just makes Raditz frustrated now. Even with his potential being unlocked, he's not enough to defeat Frieza. He could have killed Frieza beforehand, but he transformed, and now he doesn't have that opportunity. But with all of them fighting together, it still might not be enough. Their combined strength isn't even equal to Frieza's 50%. Even with Goku and Kaioken times 20, Raditz curses it all. They could have killed Frieza before. His stupid brother didn't take the opportunity. But Goku tells Raditz to calm down. They still dealt some significant damage to Frieza. Plus, his pride is shattered, at least partially. But Raditz says it doesn't matter. It's just like with Vegeta. They could have killed him on the spot, but Kakarot didn't take the opportunity. He's too soft. And Frieza notices Raditz's anger. Where's that cockiness that he felt before?
He stops focusing on the rest of the army and focuses on Raditz alone. Frieza's able to fend off everyone else, just focusing on Raditz now. His attacks, they're too powerful. Raditz can't do anything against them. They're painful, and Frieza's trying to get a point across. He's enjoying this, watching Raditz fall. But he could tell, Raditz might be an issue. And he wants to make an example out of the Saiyan. He's gonna take great pride in this. Finally killing one of the Saiyans that he wanted to get rid of, and also completely destroying his ego. With a single death beam, Frieza's able to defeat Raditz. It pierces right through his scar, the one left by Piccolo. It reopens the wound and also deals damage from the death beam itself. Raditz is caught completely off guard. He coughs up blood, falling to the ground. The rest of the group looks on, not knowing how to react. Well, at least this is the case for Goku and Gohan. Meanwhile, Piccolo's been busy. With the other Namekians, they decided to do something that might work against Frieza. They told Piccolo about this. He sought out more power as a Namekian, and this is the best way to get it. Namekian fusion. He'll still keep control. He's the stronger Namekian after all, so they're gonna fuse into him. But with their combined might, they might be able to fight Frieza. And just as soon as Raditz falls, another power emerges. Piccolo, much stronger than before, having fused with all those Namekians with him. Not just Nail, there are other warriors as well. Combine that with the power of his potential unleashed, and Piccolo's incredibly strong now. He tells Goku, it's now or never. Use Kaioken, no matter how much it destroys his body. He, Goku, and Gohan will defeat Frieza. Their combined might should be enough. And he looks over at Raditz. The group doesn't know how to react to this. They didn't really like Raditz. But he's sitting there, bleeding out once again. It's the same situation as when he first arrived on Earth. Goku looks away from Frieza, looking at Raditz. He grits his teeth, angered, and he makes a split-second decision. Gohan and Piccolo might not even agree with it, but they actually understand where he's coming from. Goku reaches into his pocket, pulling out a Senzu bean. He has a few of these, and as much as he doesn't really want to do this, he knows he must. Raditz is on the ground in agony. He looks up at Goku, who throws something at him. He's barely able to move his hand in time, catching what looks to be a bean. Goku tells him not to ask questions and just eat it. He powers up into Kaioken, jumping into battle with the rest of the group. Goku, Gohan, and Piccolo all fight Frieza at once. And Raditz does what Goku says. He eats the Senzu bean, and he feels completely reinvigorated. What is this? They had this? He remembers they mentioned something like it before, but he didn't know it was this potent. His wound, it's healed. His energy, it's restored. He stands up amazed. He gets a boost in power from this too. He got so close to death that he actually grows stronger. Goku thinks to himself as he fights Frieza. He hopes he could trust Raditz. It's risky, but Raditz is powerful, and he can't just let Raditz die like that. It wouldn't be right. It would be cruel to just leave him there. But Raditz could still tell. Even with this boost in power, he feels it's not going to be enough. Let's cover some power levels right now because everyone loves those. Piccolo, after fusing and his potential unlock, is at 15 million. Raditz is actually pretty strong after healing. He's at 4 million after his potential unlock and the Zenkai that he just got from being killed almost. Goku's at around 2 million. With Kaioken times 20, that puts him at 40 million. And Gohan's around 400k. But when he gets angry, it of course increases even more. Frieza's only at 50% right now, and is able to fend the rest of them off. But Goku takes the Senzu bean as well. Getting a little bit stronger and also being reinvigorated, his power shoots up as well. And Frieza realizes he might have to use 100% of his power, now not holding anything back. And he tells Goku, this is what he wanted, isn't it? And now the group sees, they really can't do anything against Frieza. Maybe against 50% they'd be able to contend with him, but now, there's nothing they could do. And Raditz looks on. He doesn't even join the fight. He feels immense anger, frustration. They got so close, but still, so far. And most importantly, himself. He feels useless. It's a feeling that he's always felt, something that he's felt when he was with Vegeta and Nappa, something he felt when he first came to Earth, and something he feels now facing Frieza. This is it. This is his deathbed. Everything he's done is for nothing. And to think, he almost died there. If it wasn't for Goku, he would have died. He needed to rely on someone else to survive. He couldn't do it himself. It just makes him mad. Infuriated. He's feeling hatred towards Frieza, hatred towards himself, frustration. And he stands there, coalescing power. He's a failure, and his ki flares up. It actually distracts everyone fighting. Why is Raditz powering up? How is he powering up? He's surrounded by a strange aura. It doesn't look like a normal aura, it's golden, it's fiery. And Raditz screams. He ascends into the air, levitating above the ground as a crater forms below him. His ki soars even more, his aura grows stronger, and there's a brilliant flash of golden light. The group looks on speechless, but especially Frieza is speechless. What is he looking at? It can't be what he thinks it is it? And no one else knows. But Frieza, he knows very well what this is, and so does Raditz. his frustration, his anger, his hatred towards himself and Frieza. Everything came together, and something within him snapped. His hair is golden, his eyes are glowing bluish green, and his ki is higher than it ever was before. Out of instinct and anger, Frieza rushes towards him with a full power attack. Surely this is going to kill Raditz, and the rest of the group's concerned too. Frieza attacks with a punch, but Raditz is able to react quick enough, grabbing Frieza's fist. And he's just as shocked. His confused blank face turned into a smile, a nefarious grin, and he looks right into Frieza's eyes. He can't believe it. He's a Super Saiyan. The group is confused. A Super Saiyan? And Raditz of all people becoming one. Goku looks on astonished. He remembers Raditz ranting about that before, but this is what it is? A transformation this strong? And while everyone is speechless, Frieza probably has the most extreme reaction. He's paralyzed with fear. There's no way this is real. It has to be some sort of trick. But Raditz laughs. He's reinvigorated. So much so that he even starts taunting Frieza. Now it's time to get down to business. He begins fighting Frieza alone, pretty much with no effort. With how strong he was already, combine that with the power of Super Saiyan and he's way beyond Frieza, even at 100%. Just to rub salt in the wound too, Raditz even pulls out a cigar mid-battle, lighting it with his intense Super Saiyan aura, all the while effortlessly still facing Frieza. The group actually kind of gets a kick out of this. But at the same time, they are worried. Raditz holding all this power could have some issues. Yeah, it's funny to watch him beat up Frieza and mock him. And it's good that Frieza's gonna be defeated, there's no way around it. But they watch as Raditz charges up an attack, the power within it. Frieza's hopeless to fight against it. Raditz charges up a vacation delete. That is such a weird name for an attack. Anyways, he launches this at Frieza, and the group looks on. Raditz is unstoppable now, at least for them. They're not sure how to feel about this. On one hand, they watch Frieza's demise, but on the other hand, it's at the hand of Raditz. As he launches the attack, he proudly declares once more, he's a Super Saiyan, and he defeated Frieza. It's the last thing Frieza hears before he's sent to hell. And Raditz stands there triumphantly, taking a hit from his cigar as he powers back down into base. Slowly, he descends down to the ground, landing in front of his brother, his nephew, and Piccolo. They have neutral expressions on their face. They're not mad, they're not happy. They just don't really know what to feel about this. And Raditz looks at them with a smirk. Not something with nefarious intentions, though. He actually just looks genuinely happy. It's something they've never seen from Raditz. A look of confidence unlike any other, but also a look of pure bliss. And consider the situation Raditz is in. Remember how I was saying before, Raditz felt rage at himself for being so useless, so weak, he couldn't grow stronger than anyone. And now he's finally had that moment. He became the first Super Saiyan. Not only did he get a lot stronger, but he defeated Frieza and became a legendary warrior. So much happened in that brief span of time, and it's pretty much exactly what he wanted. Now, don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean he turns good instantly. Hell, it doesn't even mean he turns good in general. It's just he had a happy moment for once. He got what he wanted. It doesn't mean he's gonna change his ways at all. At least not yet, and that's why everyone's concerned. While Raditz views himself as a new person, the rest of the group just sees Raditz. It's the same guy there, just with a new power. So, what do they do now? Well, Raditz goes back to being on his own. Going back to his house and doing the same stuff he does in the meantime. Training, going out to bars, stuff like that. He actually ends up staying on Earth. But they don't know how long he's gonna stay. It seemed like Raditz was gonna leave before, but he's still here. And it's a weird situation, it's not like they could just kick him off the planet. Like, they kind of view it as someone coming to their house and just crashing there. That's Raditz, he came to Earth and just crashed here, and now no one really knows how to ask him to leave. Even though he promised he would. But they also notice he's staying out of their way like he said. And he's not causing any trouble. Of course, from time to time, Piccolo does try and train with him. He's not close with Raditz, but he probably knows Raditz better than anyone at least. And he could use this to his advantage, seeing how Raditz acts now that he's a Super Saiyan. And he acts pretty much the same. The only difference is Raditz is elated with his new power. And he tells Piccolo, killing Frieza gave him a new sense of pride. He accomplished what he wanted, and he's stronger than anyone. He could even seek out Vegeta now, but he doesn't. He knows he's stronger than Vegeta, at least that's what he assumes. There's no way Vegeta would be on his level now. All he knows is that if Vegeta were to come here right now, he would just kill Vegeta, and it would be easy. And it's funny too, looking back on it, all of this was Vegeta's fault. But it turned out for the best. Frieza coming here, and actually Raditz being here in the first place. It's all because Vegeta wanted to defeat Frieza. And now Raditz is the one with the upper hand, and he was the one that got to kill the Emperor. He actually wonders where Vegeta is, but not worth worrying about. Whatever. More time passes. At some point, someone else would want to show up and get revenge for Frieza. Well, more like he wanted to figure out what happened with Frieza, and he didn't really care that Frieza died, but he's just there, so what the hell, he's gonna kill everyone here. It's King Cold. With the time that's passed, the group has continued training, including Raditz too. But he's not worried at all. He tells everyone it seems that King Cold's actually a bit weaker than Frieza. And they can't tell if it's actually that or the fact that Raditz is so strong that he views King Cold as weak. Because King Cold is still pretty strong in comparison to everyone. But Raditz tells them to watch and learn. He'll take on King Cold alone. He powers up into Super Saiyan, and King Cold's power rises at the exact same time. But just as these two flare up their ki, a third energy appears, pretty much out of nowhere. Somebody appears in front of King Cold, and it all happens so quickly that barely anyone can see what's happening. They just see a golden flash of light. But Raditz, while in Super Saiyan, he can keep track of everything, and he looks on in disbelief. A massive explosion occurs, and left behind is just a crater. There's no King Cold, and Raditz is just floating there. There's someone in front of him, a familiar face using a familiar form. The warrior turns around, making eye contact with Raditz, and the two share the same blank stare, turning into an incredibly confused and angry expression. The group can't really see what's going on because they're a little bit far away, but they hear Raditz yell, "Vegeta!" Wait, Vegeta? How did he get here? No, it can't be. They see there's a golden glow around him. He looks just like Raditz does in Super Saiyan. And that's exactly why the two of them are looking at each other confused. Besides the fact that they're seeing each other, it's also the fact that they're both Super Saiyans. Wait, where the hell did he teleport? Teleport? That's how Vegeta got here? Everyone's confused, including Vegeta himself. He came because he sensed what seemed to be King Cold's power, or maybe Frieza's. He sensed two energies at once. When he turned around, he expected Frieza to be standing there, but it was Raditz instead. And he realizes he's on Earth and King Cold came here. Why did King Cold come here, and where the hell's Frieza? And why is Raditz a Super Saiyan? What the hell's going on? Raditz chuckles. Can't he put two and two together? Look at him. He's the Super Saiyan. Why do you think King Cold is here? There's no way. Is Raditz implying he killed Frieza by becoming a Super Saiyan? What's so hard to believe? I mean, Vegeta seems to be one as well. And Raditz asks, how did he achieve that? And Vegeta laughs. In his brief journey alone, he ended up on a planet called Yardrat. That's how he picked up teleportation, arriving here and now having that new technique in tow. Unfortunately, he couldn't learn Force Spirit Vision. He focused more so on this for now. Not only did he pick up instant transmission though, but he also learned how to become a Super Saiyan, his own rage. In a pretty similar fashion to Raditz, the rage is directed towards himself and helped him unlock Super Saiyan. Essentially kind of how it happened in canon anyways too. All these internalized emotions, and the desire to kill Frieza as well, stacked upon it. Vegeta became a Super Saiyan, but that's why he's so shocked. He didn't expect another one, and Raditz of all people to be that Super Saiyan. But it doesn't matter. He tells them they have no chance against him now. He's a Super Saiyan, and he has these new techniques with him. You know, if he's here, he might as well kill them while he's at it. He could do so pretty easily, and Raditz questions that. Does he really think so? And Raditz says he's been waiting for this. He wanted to know where Vegeta was and what he was up to. And he wanted another chance to fight him, a chance to prove his superiority, and finally kill the prince. He even looks over to Goku. Isn't this what he wanted? To have another strong fighter out there just like him? Now he sees what his idiot younger brother was going for. The feeling of encountering someone so strong. It's enthralling. And Vegeta's at least glad that the two of them can come to terms. They both want the same thing, a battle to the death. Unfortunately for Goku, he's not going to be involved here. But he could already tell, this is going to get dangerous. But Piccolo tells Goku, Raditz is on their side, so if this fight goes how they want it, they at least won't have to worry about Vegeta anymore, and maybe it'll get Raditz more controlled. This was one of the last loose ends he wanted tied up. So if he gets his way, Piccolo theorizes that maybe this will help Raditz. It'll help them trust him more. Also, the fact that Vegeta's trying to kill them all, so it's good regardless. And Goku just hopes that Raditz can win. But he doesn't know what to expect. The two power up. And Raditz can immediately tell. Vegeta's less experienced with Super Saiyan. He only got it recently. Of course, Raditz isn't perfect with it yet, but he's had it for longer and has better control over it. Vegeta has more stamina issues with it, and he seems to be weaker in general. Raditz doesn't flat out say this right away. Instead, it becomes apparent during battle. The two clash, and at first, it seems like the fight would actually be even, but as it continues, Vegeta's cockiness slowly goes away, while Raditz's cockiness becomes a lot more apparent. Raditz not only has a better control in Super Saiyan, but it seems he's stronger in general. He tells Vegeta. Unfortunately for him, Raditz hasn't just been sitting here doing nothing. Sure, he may look over at those other Saiyans, Kakarot and Gohan, and he can see that they're not Super Saiyans, but Raditz, he tells Vegeta, he's been through hell and back. Vigorous training, nearly dying at the hands of Frieza, getting his potential unlocked, and awakening this new power as well later on. He even taunts Vegeta mid-battle, saying maybe even Piccolo would be a better match for him. Vegeta thinks he's joking, but no, he looks over at Piccolo, and now that he can sense ki, he can tell even Piccolo's a lot stronger than before. Hell, even Kakarot's stronger, just in base. How'd they all get so powerful? It enrages Vegeta even further. He shows off more of his power, and this does exactly what Raditz wanted. Vegeta's using all of his strength at once, which also means he's running down the clock. Sure, his attacks become more potent as he summons more power, but it also means he's using more of his stamina. He's depleting his energy quicker, and combine that with the fact that Raditz is a better control regardless, and he's just trying to prove something to Vegeta. Vegeta might be a Super Saiyan, but he's not on the level of Raditz. And as Vegeta's fighting, he's getting worn out, but he still has tricks up his sleeve. He starts relying on instant transmission. And this actually does the trick. Raditz can't keep track of him. Vegeta's rapidly teleporting around. Whenever Raditz is about to attack him, Vegeta's able to get out of the way, and then counter. Of course, by this point in the battle, Raditz is able to defend pretty easily against him. But it's annoying, and he's losing ground. This is how Vegeta's going to conserve energy, and this is how Vegeta hopes to win. It's the raw strength of Raditz versus the techniques and strategy of Vegeta. At one point though, Vegeta teleports behind Raditz, and right as he's about to unleash an attack, he receives a powerful punch to the face, and Raditz turns around to see a red flash of light. Kakarot's there and Kaioken. Goku tells Raditz. Raditz clearly needs his help, but Raditz tells him to stop interfering. This is between him and Vegeta. But Goku tells him this petty grudge isn't worth risking Earth over. He understands why Raditz wants to do this fight alone, but he's not going to let him do that. They're on his turf after all. And with Earth at risk, as well as his friends and family, he's not going to let Raditz do whatever he wants just to stroke his ego. Raditz is mad at first, but then chuckles. Now does he see the error in his ways with letting Vegeta go? Goku still doesn't agree with Raditz, but whatever. Goku then powers up once more, flaring into Kaioken times 30. He's been working on it more and more, and of course the higher he goes, the more strenuous it is, but the lower levels are less strenuous than they were before. Hopefully he can unlock Super Saiyan soon enough. But Goku's not using this trying to defeat Vegeta. This is a distraction. With his attacks, they leave Vegeta open for attacks from Raditz, and he's already injured Vegeta enough. He's able to land a finishing blow, knocking Vegeta out of Super Saiyan. Well, it may not have been alone, but he defeated Vegeta, just like he wanted. And Goku looks on, wondering what Raditz is gonna do. If he wants to kill Vegeta, he can't really stop Raditz here. And it'll tell him all he needs to know about Raditz. So, he wants to see what Raditz is gonna choose. And Raditz sticks a hand out at Vegeta. While still in Super Saiyan, he looks down on the prince. He charges a blast in his hand, and Vegeta knows what's coming. But Raditz then tosses his hand to his side, and surprisingly even powers down. Defeating Vegeta was enough. He got what he wanted, proved his superiority, and seeing Vegeta groveling on the ground while Raditz was about to kill him, yeah, that was more than enough for Raditz. Piccolo was about to step up and try and do something, thinking it might be best to kill Vegeta. But before he could do anything, Vegeta then teleports out of there, quicker than pretty much anyone could react. Well, looks like Raditz did the same exact thing that Goku did, and Goku walks up to his brother. He better not hear Raditz criticize him for that again, because he just did that exact thing. Goku doesn't know how Raditz is going to react to that, but he just turns to his brother, and then he laughs. Hey, maybe next time Vegeta returns, he'll let his brother defeat Vegeta. Hell, maybe even Gohan could try it next, the whole family. And in a strange moment, for the first time, they share a laugh together. What an odd turn of events. These two brothers not only having defeated Vegeta, but Raditz also just recently defeated Frieza. Raditz reflects on it. His father may have not succeeded in rebelling against Frieza, but in the end, they won. Bardock still kinda got what he wanted. One of his sons was the one to defeat Frieza, and now both of them actually triumphed over Vegeta. But this isn't the end of the story, no. It's only just beginning. We enter a brief little time skip, and it should be pretty clear what arc we're about to go into. But there's gonna be some major changes, and right off the bat that can be seen. Visitors from the future show up. And no, I didn't misspeak. Visitors. Two people show up. And the thing is, these two don't need to hide their identities. They're people that already exist in the past. So right away, they're pretty upfront about who they are, why they're here, and what's going on. The time travelers are Gohan and Piccolo. Future versions of them. Now Piccolo looks relatively the same, but Gohan, yeah, it's definitely very different. He's an adult and it's clear that he's seen his fair share of battles. So, what's going on here? Well, they came to warn everyone about a few things. For one, Goku died to the heart virus. But also another threat appeared right after Goku died, the androids. They explain everything, and actually they recently defeated the androids. Let's cover a bit of what happened in the future timeline. After the androids began attacking, the group did want to go to Namek to get some more Dragon Balls. Why was that? Well, because Piccolo was planning to fuse with Kami. And he knew that once he did that, they would lose the Dragon Balls here on Earth. Of course, with the Dragon Balls they have now, they wouldn't even be able to revive Goku because he died to natural causes. Although, it became a lot worse. Eventually, more of the fighters ended up dying. Raditz was on the front line of defenses, being one of the strongest there. But even his power wasn't enough. Thankfully, Piccolo and Gohan remained, two very strong fighters. Especially with how strong Piccolo is in this scenario. It's too risky to revive everyone right now. Because until they defeat the androids, well, the androids could just kill them again. But there's also the other issue with the fact that they can't really get to Namek. They know Vegeta's still out there in space, and if they go to Namek, who knows if they'll counter him. Given the fact that he has instant transmission, if he senses anything going on Namek, he could easily teleport in and kill them. It's a tough situation. And even though they are going to lose the Dragon Balls, Piccolo decides the best idea is to fuse with Kami right away. This at least will help guarantee the fact that they can defeat the androids. And of course, this actually does happen. With the two fused together, it's more than enough to defeat the androids. Now, they wait a while to do this. They want to make sure it's an absolute last resort. At some point, Gohan even gets Super Saiyan, but that's not even enough to counter the androids. But with Kami fusing into Piccolo, and Gohan having Super Saiyan, the two defeated the androids a few years ago. Bulma still continued working on the time machine. They're still unsure about heading to Namek. And in the meantime, they decided, maybe it would be better to try and reverse everything. Bulma started this project, so it's bad to let it go to waste. And hey, worst case scenario, if this doesn't end up changing their future, well, they could still go to Namek. Still risky, but it's still an option. They wanted to try this first though. It seems safe compared to actually going out into space and probably encountering Vegeta. And this comes as a huge shock to everyone, especially Raditz. He was defeated, even though he's a Super Saiyan? That wasn't enough for this threat somehow. And also the fact that Gohan became a Super Saiyan as well. That opens up a lot of potential. Maybe even Goku become a Super Saiyan. But that's all besides the point. Piccolo, from the present timeline, actually brings up the idea of defeating the androids right away. And yeah, they could do that, but they don't know where the androids are right now. Bulma's about to interject and say they could just use the Dragon Balls. But then Raditz pipes up. Well, you know what? It's probably better to just let the androids come in and fight them. Wait, what? They don't even want to try and attempt to find them? Raditz says this serves as perfect motivation. His future self was probably a weakling. Kind of a weird thing to say because he's talking about himself, but still. Raditz says he probably didn't have the right mindset in the future. He probably let Super Saiyan get to his head. But now with the threat of the androids, this can motivate all of them. I mean, think about it too. Look at Goku and Gohan. Gohan from the future got Super Saiyan. Who's to say Kakarot can't get it as well, and this Gohan too? And as he explains more and more, it does become more enticing for the group. Yeah, the androids could serve as motivation. So for pretty much the same reason in the main story, the androids will remain. Future Gohan and future Piccolo don't really know how to feel about this, but whatever. Worst case scenario, they'll come back here in a few years and they'll be able to defeat the androids. They did it in the future timeline, so it'll be enough here. But this is good. Piccolo doesn't need to fuse with Kami in this timeline. And Goku's warned of the Hyper Virus. As long as he takes his medicine, things will be okay. Alright, well, they'll return back here in a few years then, just to make sure everything's okay. In the meantime, they are still gonna go to Namek. They don't really have much else to do. So, they wish everyone luck, and bid them farewell for the next 3 years, at least in this timeline. Immediately, training begins. And Goku's intrigued with what Raditz said. Now, remember, the two of them aren't necessarily close here. I wouldn't even say they like each other. But Goku does recognize that Raditz is probably one of the best training partners he could have. Obviously, Piccolo's there, a great rival that's been there for a while. But for Raditz, he's incredibly powerful, the rivalry is there too, and there's also the fact that he already has Super Saiyan. Now, Raditz does like the idea of being ahead, but he also has a different mindset here. Okay, yeah, Kakarot getting Super Saiyan would close the gap between them. But when you think about it long term, that works in the Raditz's favor. Right now, the only person he can really train with is Piccolo, and he can't even go all out against him because Super Saiyan is just too strong. But imagine, Kakarot becoming a Super Saiyan, basically being Raditz's punching bag. Goku doesn't like to think about it like that, but whatever, yeah, that's true. Raditz would benefit from helping teach his brother Super Saiyan. And also, Goku's thinking long term as well. He could teach Gohan Super Saiyan in the meantime. And you know, Raditz decides he's gonna go along with it. This will help them against the androids, and it'll just help Raditz in general. From what the time travelers told him, Goku never even got Super Saiyan in that timeline. So this is something they can do different here to counteract the androids. It's like Raditz said before, his future self was probably just doing something bad. And he's gotta do things differently. He can't let the power of Super Saiyan go to his head. That ego can't overtake him. Hearing that story made Raditz realize he's not infallible. He already did kinda know this obviously, it's a fact. But this just goes to show it. A few years pass with training, and Raditz becomes less and less reclusive. He has so many things pushing him forward. The fact that the androids are there, the fact that Vegeta's out there in space somewhere, and the fact that his brother's gonna get Super Saiyan soon enough. Once he defeated Frieza, He finally got the taste of victory for once, and that's gonna push him forward. He had such a defeatist attitude beforehand, but now he wants to keep feeling the sense of victory, the sense of being the top dog, and he can't slack off. Otherwise, he's gonna lose that. He has it in his grasp, and he needs to hold on to it. Eventually, Goku does unlock Super Saiyan, and it does help with Raditz's training, but not as much as he expected. Goku is pretty strong in base, and once he turns Super Saiyan, he's very powerful. Not as strong as Raditz, but he's getting the hang of it pretty quickly, and this lets the two train together a lot more. Goku and Gohan are still wary of him, but they've noticed Raditz changing ever since he defeated Frieza. The fact that he's even working with the group more in general shows this. Maybe he's not as bad as they thought. Although Raditz is still definitely a very cold person and a very selfish person, he is doing this all for selfish gains. But this gives him an opportunity to know his family better. But it's still a weird situation. Goku's really the only one open to getting to know Raditz more. And even then I use that very loosely. I mean, Raditz did cause him to die after all, and he did kidnap his son. Gohan feels the same way, and Chi-Chi is still very against it. Honestly, Raditz is more scared of her than his brother. No wonder those two are together. At some point, future Piccolo and Gohan return. So, what's happened so far? Well, when they get back, they see. There's two androids there, but they're not the androids that they knew of. And things have gone kind of bad. They see that the group lost one of the androids. Okay, so not only are there different androids here, but one of them is on the loose, and he's probably going to activate the others, which would be 17 and 18. And also, Goku forgot to take his medicine. Great, so now he has the heart virus. Okay, well, they asked Gohan and Piccolo, what happened in the future? Did the trip to Namek at least go well? And yeah, that's another piece of bad news, but this time it's bad news for everyone here. They have no clue what happened, but they went to Namek and the planet was gone. Like, just completely gone. It's not like it was barren or anything, it just wasn't there. They have no clue what happened, and that makes it all the more concerning. The fact that it's gone is bad enough, but the fact that they don't know why it's gone, yeah, that's worse. There may be an issue bigger than the androids, but they don't want to touch upon that right now. What matters is making sure this timeline's safe. Clearly, coming back here didn't affect their timeline, but they can at least ensure that this timeline doesn't have to go through the same thing. This could all be fixed. Even though there's two other androids, it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, they just need to defeat 17 and 18 and they'll be good. Not to mention, yeah, Goku did suffer from the heart virus here, but he has the medicine. He will be cured. It's just kind of annoying that he's out of commission right now, but whatever, they helped mitigate that. It seems things are still going better than normal. Everyone here has been training more, Raditz is stronger, and even Goku's stronger, having gotten Super Saiyan and all. So they did help the past still. What matters now is stopping the androids. Maybe they could do that. They haven't been activated by Jiro yet. They just need to find Android 20 in the first place. At some point, they are able to track him down, but it's already too late. He's at the lab, and he activates 17 and 18, who immediately proceed to kill him. But the androids are pretty confused. They see two Piccolos there. Not to mention, they don't recognize future Gohan. He looks like the present Gohan, but they still don't really know who he is. Weird. They don't really care though. They're gonna kill everyone here, and then they're gonna find Goku. Future Gohan, the two Piccolos, and Raditz step up. They're the strongest here, and they're confident in their effort to fight the androids. Although, because the time travelers came back here and had everyone training, that also did affect the androids at this timeline too. With different data to work off of, and the fact that they were studying stronger fighters in general, that means these androids are also stronger than the future ones. Now, they're not insanely stronger. It's not to the point where the group's going to be absolutely decimated by them, but it's at the point where the androids can hold them off. Future Gohan and Piccolo are surprised. In their timeline, with Piccolo's fusion alone, that would have been enough to defeat the androids here, especially with the training he's been doing since. But they come to realize pretty quickly that these androids aren't the same. But it's not that bad. With all these fighters here, they can hold the androids off. The two factors counter each other. The androids are stronger, but so is this group. Not just in collective strength and numbers, but also just raw power in general. It's a hard-fought battle. An all-out war between these two androids and this group. They don't even get the chance to awaken Android 16. 17 and 18 are just as shocked. They didn't expect these fighters to be this strong. And at first, the group wasn't too sure, but now they're much more confident. Especially Raditz. The training really helped pay off. It was a great idea to help Kakarot get Super Saiyan. The androids start losing ground. They're getting more and more injured. And even with infinite energy, that's not going to help them win here. The group's ready to finish this. Right here and now, they could kill these two androids, prevent them from ever doing anything here in this timeline. 17 and 18 are beaten, lying on the ground. They weakly stand up, facing certain doom. But before anyone could do anything, a new power appears out of nowhere. And suddenly, Android 18 disappears. That same power that they sensed. For a brief second, they felt it. It felt ominous, but also familiar. And they have no idea of what it was. All they saw was a flash of green. And just as quickly as it appeared, it disappeared. And now they feel that power again, a little farther away. It teleports back in. And this time, they get a glimpse of it. It's a giant green monster, about to get his hands on Android 17. No one's sure what's going on, but they try and get 17 out of the way. But the monster's too quick. He grabs onto the android, looking at the group and smiling. He thanks them. They made it so easy for him to get his meal. And you know what? This time he won't teleport away. He'll let them watch the show. Android 17 has no idea what to do. He decides to try and activate the bomb inside of him. But it's already too late. By the time he tries to do this, Cell's tail encapsulates him. And the group watches in horror as Cell absorbs Android 17. They have no clue who this guy is or what he's doing. And right after absorbing Android 17, he goes through another transformation. And now he feels that he has the time to greet them. He apologizes for being so rude, not saying who he was or why he's here. He gives them a courteous introduction. His name is Cell. Another android created by Dr. Gero. Another android? But how did he get here? Gohan and Piccolo don't know of Cell in their timeline. And they didn't see Cell inside of that laboratory. Oh yeah, he was hidden away and he's not actually from this timeline. He thanks Gohan and Piccolo for that. In another timeline, he killed them and stole their time machine. And now he's here, finally able to get the androids and become perfect. He was made to kill Goku, but also to be the perfect fighter. Although, he couldn't have expected the perfection to be this powerful. He is elated beyond belief. But his power, they can sense it, and how is he this strong? He explains, he's an amalgamation of everyone here, plus some others. Frieza and King Cold, for example, yeah, he has their DNA too. There's also Vegeta. That new technique he picked up was pretty useful. With instant transmission, he was able to teleport over to the group and swipe up the androids from them. It would have been a lot harder if the androids were on their own, given the fact that he couldn't sense them and all. Not only was the group gracious enough to beat up the androids for him, but they also basically acted as a beacon, so he has them to thank for that. Now he is finally perfect. But with this perfection, how could he have fun with it? He could go and kill Goku right now, but that wouldn't really be as fun as it could be. He tells them he'll consider some other options, but he lets them know their death will be coming soon. He's just gonna try and think of a way to make it fun. Cell places 2 fingers on his forehead, waving goodbye as he smirks. He teleports away, and this is where we'll leave off for now. After Cell teleports away, the group is just stunned. They don't know what to think. It all happened so quickly. All they know is that there's a new threat, and they don't know how strong he is, but they could tell. He's pretty powerful, and there might not be a way to defeat him at the moment. Raditz curses everything. He was so close to winning here. They were all so close to defeating the androids. They've been training for it for so long, and this happens. In his rage, he ends up destroying part of the lab. Inadvertently, this also reveals Cell's location in the other section of the lab, which is actually good. Before he rages out anymore and destroys more of the lab, the group collects as much info as they can, and then they let Raditz do whatever the hell he wants. Alright, so apparently this Cell is not even from their timeline, considering the fact that there's one right here and he isn't even fully developed yet. And Raditz proceeds to destroy him too. But still, what are they supposed to do now? They have some info about Cell, rummaging around the remains of the lab, and they even find out some schematics for the androids, which don't really matter because they're dead in the future, and here they're inside of Cell. But as for Cell, the information on him could be helpful. From what they can gather, he's an artificially engineered project, and he's not like the other androids. Those ones are just cyborgs. He's a bio-android, made from the DNA of all the people here and then some. It seems he's incredibly strong, especially now that he's perfect, having absorbed the other 2 androids. The good thing is he didn't attack them right away. It seemed like he had something in mind and they have no idea what to expect. Piccolo from this timeline considers fusing with Kami like his future self. But it might not be necessary. Against Cell, they don't know how effective it could be. And it might just be a wasted effort. Piccolo acknowledges this but says it's at least worth a try. But at the same time, here's the logic of not doing it. His future self advises against it. They might as well wait to see, just to make sure they know how strong Cell is to begin with. Not too long after, an announcement of the Cell games is made. So they at least do have some time to prepare, but what are they supposed to do to prepare? They only have a few days. Plus, Goku is still unconscious due to the heart virus. Thankfully, not too long after, he does wake up. And he's filled in on everything, and he actually has a pretty good idea. They could utilize the Room of Spirit and Time. Something that future Piccolo and future Gohan are actually somewhat familiar with. They didn't go in there for too long, but they did utilize it just a bit just to get stronger. Piccolo does have all the knowledge of Kami after all too. Although it was very strenuous for them and they didn't really have that many resources in there. So it wasn't something they could do for an extended period of time, but here in this timeline, it should be feasible.
Raditz agrees to go along with it. It sounds like it could be pretty potent. He only has one request though. He's gonna go in with Piccolo first. It's the person he's been training with most, and he feels like he can benefit from it. And the group agrees with it. So, Raditz and Piccolo are the first to head in. And Piccolo could see why his future self used this. For someone as powerful as him, this would be really good training. But he could also see how risky it was. It's a dangerous type of training, and if anything happened to them in here, they barely had any resources on the outside. No senzu beans, not a lot of food to stay in here for a while, stuff like that. Here they have a much better advantage. They can utilize this room however much they want. And Raditz sees some nice gains from it too. Training a lot more with Piccolo, spending an entire year in there. Piccolo grows a lot faster due to having so many Namekian suits within him, plus the potential unlocked from before. He's starting out as a much stronger person, so even though he's not fused with Kami, you gotta consider how powerful he is to begin with. Plus, his training partner really does help him too. Raditz is incredibly strong, especially with Super Saiyan. And Raditz doesn't just stop with Super Saiyan, he continues moving forward with it. And thanks to having Piccolo in there, Piccolo is able to offer some advice in terms of how Raditz is utilizing Super Saiyan. Of course, he doesn't know too much about how it operates, but he can kind of infer, giving Raditz some tips. His expertise and advice actually really helps, and Raditz works to make it amazingly efficient, eventually even perfecting Super Saiyan on accident. He has been training a lot with it already, so combine that with Piccolo's help and a better focus on Super Saiyan, and it wouldn't be weird to say that Raditz could perfect Super Saiyan within his time here. And that's not just good for him too, because once they leave the Rubin Sphere in time, Raditz shows this off to Goku and Gohan, hoping that they could achieve something like this. First, he is kind of flaunting it, but part of him is also showing it to try and help them. Remember, if Kakarot gets strong, he has another strong person to fight, and someone else to motivate him to get stronger. He already knows Kakarot and Gohan are training a lot. And if they get too strong, well, Raditz is just going to need to get stronger just so he can be ahead of them. He likes his position as the strongest here, and he wants to keep that, but he needs more motivation to keep that. So, what better way to do so than getting his brother to get stronger? Goku and Gohan go into the Room of Spirit in time, and it pretty much goes exactly how it did in the normal story. The two practice with Super Saiyan, with Gohan even getting it, and they perfect Super Saiyan, thanks to knowing that Raditz was able to do so, so they at least had a goal to pursue. And once they exit, Raditz does ask them something. He wants to test their power. He wants to see if this will truly be enough to defeat Cell. Of course, they don't really know the extent of Cell's power. They've only barely been able to sense it whenever he's been fighting armies around the world or whatever, while waiting for the Cell games to occur. But they could tell he's definitely pretty strong. I mean, he's the amalgamation of everyone here and then some. Goku knows what Raditz truly wants. He wants to fight. A true battle between the two of them to gauge who's the strongest here. And Raditz chuckles. He should have expected his brother to see right through him. And Goku agrees. The two of them could fight all out here. It would be a great way for them to test off this new power too, just to see where they are in terms of strength. Even if it won't really be gauging their power against Cell, it's still gauging their power. An all-out battle between Raditz and Goku ensues, with the rest of the group watching too. Cell is waiting at his arena, and he can even sense this going on. And sensing this power, he's a bit shocked. On one hand, he's excited. He can tell the two of them are much stronger than before, but on the other hand, how did they get so strong so quickly? He's not really going to question it too much. As long as he has a fun fight, that's really all he cares about. But you know, he's just sensing it. It's not that fun just to sense a battle. He should go and watch it. As long as he keeps his power low, and watches from a distance, maybe he could spectate completely unnoticed. The battle ensues, with no one even realizing that Cell is watching. Of course he's not going to attack here. He is a man of his word and he's going to wait for them to actually come to the arena. He just wanted something to occupy him in the meantime. And as he gets there, he sees Raditz landing the finishing blow. Defeating Goku. Raditz did it. He actually won against his brother. And he acknowledges his unfair advantage. He did have his potential unlocked by the Namekians before, and he did achieve Super Saiyan first, so he had a head start. But he still commends Kakarot on his growth. Which is weird because Kakarot was the one ahead of him before, and Goku acknowledges this too. Raditz got so much stronger than he expected. And honestly, he wasn't sure if Raditz was going to kill him or not in that battle. He could have easily done it, but he didn't. And even though individually they might not be able to fight Cell, the two of them think that together, maybe it could work. But Goku then mentions something too. Raditz won against Goku, but he wonders if he could win against Gohan. Much to everyone's surprise, Goku's saying that Gohan's power is actually greater than his. He just has some trouble using it. And at first this kind of shocks Raditz, but then he realizes too. He is a hybrid Saiyan after all, so maybe his insane potential, which he has seen before, that could really help him get strong. Goku wants Raditz and Gohan to fight. Gohan's on the cusp of unlocking a new power, and maybe this will be able to push him there. And Gohan's not really too keen on this, considering he still does have a weird relationship with Raditz.
As we've discussed so far, Goku's still not too fond of him either, but Gohan even more so, considering the experiences they had when Raditz first came to Earth. They haven't had too many interactions, and here, it's just strange, but if Goku's saying it'll be fine, Gohan's up for it. The two of them get ready for battle, Gohan and Raditz. It's strange for him to be fighting a kid, but this kid's also a Super Saiyan and apparently stronger than him and his brother? He wants to see this for himself. The good thing is for Gohan here, it's actually easier to use his full power in battle. Against Goku or something, he might want to hold back a bit just in case. But with Raditz, he doesn't really care if he hurts Raditz. And Raditz completely welcomes it too. The two of them start clashing. Raditz is much more experienced. But Gohan actually has a slight edge in terms of power, which surprises him. That makes it an even battle. But as the battle continues, Raditz coaxes Gohan into using more power. He knows Gohan has more strength in there. He's seen it, and Goku's saying that he has it too. He wonders if Gohan could truly ascend past Super Saiyan. And then Raditz realizes he's the perfect person to get Gohan angry. If he can get Gohan to feel that anger, maybe it'll help him release that power. And Gohan can definitely feel that anger, but he just won't harness it yet. Raditz is gonna help. He tells Gohan that same rage he felt as a child when he was kidnapped. Harness that anger here. Use it against him. It's the same person after all. And then Raditz starts getting a little bit different. He tells Gohan, this is now a battle to the death. He is partially bluffing, but maybe if he starts acting a lot more harsh, it'll get Gohan's anger to come out. The battle continues, and Raditz keeps pressuring him, to the point of even annoying Gohan. And Raditz starts to get an advantage. Even though Gohan is ahead in terms of power, remember, like I said, Raditz is ahead in terms of experience. And the fight gets tougher the longer it goes on. And then Raditz says something that really gets under Gohan's skin. He hopes that Gohan realizes, after Cell's defeated, Raditz will be the strongest around here. So if Gohan wants to do something about that, he better show off that power. Unless he's fine with everyone being under Raditz's thumb. And Gohan finally snaps. This battle finally pushed him to the limit. Raditz was the perfect opponent for this. Goku wasn't able to unlock that power, but Raditz was due to sheer annoyance. Gohan transforms into Super Saiyan 2, and just as quickly as he transforms, he knocks Raditz unconscious. The rest of the group looks on completely stunned. It actually happened. He had that power within him. And Goku's glad. He didn't think Raditz would actually be able to do that, but he did. And now Gohan has access to this power. Knowing how to channel that rage. He displayed it in the Room of Spirit and Time briefly. But here, he can actually tap into it whenever he wants, which would be great against Cell. Although Cell's getting a bit impatient. Remember, he's been watching this entire thing. And seeing this, yeah, he wants to fight now. They don't need more time to train. He teleports in, shocking the group as they see him. He tells them those fights are pretty impressive, especially Gohan's battle with Raditz. Honestly, he's kind of bored of waiting at the Cell Games arena right now, so why not fight? They clearly are strong enough right now. And also part of him is worried. Seeing Gohan's power did kind of concern him, but it also excited him, and that's why he wants to start battling right now. He's impatient, but also concerned. And the group doesn't really have a choice. Plus, with Cell here already, he is a threat, and they kind of need to get rid of that as quick as possible. Raditz slowly gets up, regaining consciousness, with the first thing he sees being Cell. And Cell laughs. You know what? Since they were going to do a tournament originally, he'll give them a little bit of an advantage here. Since they're doing the fight earlier, he'll let them all fight together. They don't need to fight him individually. That should make it more enticing for them. Goku and Gohan power up to their max. President Piccolo gives Raditz a Senzu Bean, healing him up as he powers up too. And Raditz laughs. Cell already saw their power, didn't he? So he should know by now. He's screwed, especially with Gohan there. And he would love to have a fun battle with Cell, but he doesn't really need to risk that. He has two people here to fight, whenever he wants, Goku and Gohan. Also, there's Piccolo. And in this scenario, I've shown Raditz to be someone who pressures people to finish fights quickly, after his experience with Frieza. And here, everyone knows how big of a risk Cell is. He doesn't want them to waste this opportunity. They need to kill Cell as quickly as they can. Cell powers up, showing his full strength too. He turns to his brother and Gohan, telling him to hold nothing back, as Raditz is the first to rush in, with Goku and Gohan following suit. And Cell is actually able to kind of hold off Goku and Raditz at first. It's tough with two Super Saiyans, especially at their strength, and collectively they might even be above him. But the real issue is Gohan. Once he's able to attack, that pretty much seals Cell's fate. He knew this would happen when he sensed that power. They were getting too strong. He wanted a good fight, but he knew if they trained anymore, they'd get way beyond him. Again, he doesn't know how they got so strong so quickly. So he assumed if they got the full 10 days to wait, well, it wouldn't have even been a fair battle. But this battle isn't fair either. The two brothers and Gohan fight together, having surprisingly good synergy. Well, except for Gohan. He fights faster than everyone there, so it kinda trips them up too with how fast he's moving. And Cell realizes his fate was sealed the second that Gohan unlocked his power. Had he not achieved Super Saiyan 2, well, Cell might have had a chance. But with Gohan having access to that already, Cell was doomed. Whether the fight was right now or later on in the Cell games, Gohan could have won even alone, but here, he even has Raditz and Goku. And thanks to Raditz's advice to finish this as quickly as possible, the fight does end pretty quickly. A father-son Kamehameha from Goku and Gohan, mixed with a Shining Friday from Raditz. The last vision Cell has is the three beams swirling together, hitting him head-on and erasing every little bit of him. They did it. They killed Cell, even though they knew so little about him. The Room of Spirit and Time was really helpful. And even though things started out kind of bad, it turned out pretty good. Future Gohan and Future Piccolo are pretty happy about this. At first it seemed kind of pointless to come back here, then they realized that they could save this timeline, but then it seemed hopeless, and now, everything's good. That really was a roller coaster of emotion for them, but same for everyone here too. Raditz actually accomplished something with his family, which is strange. This is the first time he worked with them instead of against them, and it wasn't an enemy of my enemy situation like Frieza, they actually fought as allies for once. So it's a pretty pivotal moment in that sense too. But even with all that settled, there still is one thing to be concerned about. Future Gohan and Piccolo are still wondering what happened with Namek in the future. And there could be an issue here as well. But what actually happened there, and is it going to happen in this timeline too?
Future Gohan and Future Piccolo return home. They still wonder though, what happened with Namek? Nobody ever really got the answer to that. Not just in the story, but you guys never really got an answer to it either. So, what exactly did happen with it? Well, as they return home wondering this, the group is thinking the same thing, unaware of the events happening out in space. As you'd probably expect though, it's something to do with Vegeta. So by this point Vegeta obviously has instant transmission, and he knows of Namek. While the events of the Cell Saga are unfolding on Earth, he decides he's gonna make a trip there. First he has to actually locate it, which is kinda tough because even with instant transmission, he has to locate some sort of power signature there. But for some reason he can't. But he does remember the general location of it, so he teleports as close to it as possible and is able to lock onto the planet's energy. Which is strange, he doesn't sense the people's energy. He teleports in, and he sees that it's completely empty. Wait, is this the right planet? Yeah, it definitely is. He remembers being here. He looks around, trying to see if he could sense any sort of Namekian villages, and the villages are there, but there's no people in them. And he even checks. They seem dilapidated, as if they've been abandoned. No Dragon Balls either. He curses it all. He realizes what happened. They must use the Dragon Balls to teleport themselves out of here. Which is exactly what happened. They summon Porunga, and in order to keep themselves safe, they wish for the Namekians to be moved to a new planet, a location where they won't be found. It was an amazing idea because clearly Vegeta was planning on showing up again. He's enraged, and out of anger, he blows up the entire planet, launching a beam right to its core and then teleporting off, watching the explosion from a nearby planet. He was so close to getting the Dragon Balls. And now he has no idea of where Namek is. They're probably completely hidden by now. And of course, this did happen in the future timeline too. Pretty much the exact same events because everything that happened on Earth didn't affect Vegeta. The difference here is in the future, Vegeta went to Earth only to see it destroyed by the androids. He didn't care enough to kill the androids there. But it showed him that this planet was also too far gone and there's no Dragon Balls here. So he had to stop caring. He really didn't have another choice. But of course, things went differently in this timeline. He actually went to Earth, just to see if people were still there, and sure enough, there were. So right after the events of the Cell games, he teleports in. He can still sense everyone here, and he realized that it might be kind of tough getting the Dragon Balls at the moment. He needs to wait even longer, which annoys him, but he wants to be sure he can get it. He'll get the Dragon Balls eventually. He just needs to be a little more patient. As for the others on Earth, well, of course they're going to be training after the Cell games. Actually, it's not even fair to call it the Cell games because Cell completely abandoned that idea. But either way, there was an important revelation. Gohan was able to access Super Saiyan 2, so now Raditz and Goku both know of this form. And Raditz is a little bit ahead, so he decides he wants to work towards this. It could be possible. I mean, he was the first one to get Super Saiyan after all. Although it's just surprising that Gohan was the first one to get a form above that. But this is great for Raditz. Knowing about it and being able to question them about it, it helps him actually access it at some point. And surprisingly enough, he actually trained with Gohan and Goku to catch up. It's the only way he could really attain this power. And they are still a little bit reluctant, but Raditz has changed a lot since they first saw him. Granted, they're still not on great terms, but sure, it's mutually beneficial, and they know by now Raditz isn't going to go rogue and blow up everything. He isn't as reclusive anymore. He actually spends a lot of time with others, mainly for training. He still does feel relatively alone, but at the same time, he's gaining a lot more purpose, especially on this planet. It's not just his own existence,
He feels a lot more at home in relation to everyone else here, even if he's not necessarily part of that quote-unquote family. Yeah, he and his brother aren't best friends, but they aren't arch enemies either. It's a huge improvement. And with us entering a 7-year time skip into the Buu Saga, this only develops further and further. Now, Goku and Raditz aren't going to become best friends. Actually, Raditz and Piccolo probably would, becoming great rivals to each other. But it seems that Raditz is actually on much better terms with Goku, and Gohan for that matter. Chi-Chi still doesn't like him too much, but she warms up to it. And thankfully with Goten, he grows up not knowing of the terrible things that Raditz did beforehand. They'll let him know later, but for now, he actually gets kind of a fresh start, which is weird for Raditz. He honestly kind of regrets the actions that led him here. And this is a chance at a fresh start. He could be a better brother, a better uncle. Is he finally turning good? Well, in his own sense of the word, I guess you could say so. He's not some pure-hearted being like Goku, but he's not that selfish anti-hero that he once was. He's actually got that group's best interest in mind, something that he would have never expected to happen. And there's a great way to showcase this coming up, a world tournament. Obviously, everybody is going to join. And Goku invites Raditz to do so too. He tells Raditz, this is the tradition on Earth. And he'd probably love it, it's just a giant battle. Or rather, a series of them. Of course, some of the contestants are Earthlings and they won't be too good for Raditz, but it gives him an opportunity to fight Goku and Gohan as well as Piccolo and the others in different settings. Instead of training, it's an actual competition. Raditz is definitely not going to turn it down. And by this point too, Goku definitely would have achieved Super Saiyan 2 as well. He and his brother are actually neck and neck. Raditz still is ahead because he did get that huge head start, especially going to Namek and all. And Goku does have his family, so he spends some time with them and isn't constantly training. Of course, Raditz isn't constantly training either. He's still out partying and doing the things that he loves. You know, riding his motorcycle, stealing motorcycles maybe. Actually, probably not anymore. He's a good guy now. He put that life behind him. He now legally owns a motorcycle. Great. That's some true character development. In all seriousness though, him keeping up with training more and more actually helps him stay ahead of Goku, just like he was before. And this serves as motivation for Goku too. So this tournament will definitely be a great place to showcase the fruits of their training. The tournament begins relatively normally. Contestants fight just like usual, and nothing really of note happens. But the tournament is then crashed by someone completely unexpected. No, it's not even Spopovich and Yano. Somebody literally just teleports in out of nowhere. And it's somebody the group recognizes all too well. Or rather, someone who they recognize but seems to have changed a bit. A fight's about to ensue between Gohan and Kibito. Kibito's actually concerned because they don't see any of Babidi's henchmen here, up until now. Raditz and crew are completely shocked. It's Vegeta. And he has an M on his forehead for some reason. Of course, Shin and Kibito immediately know what this means, and they try to jump in before it's too late. But Vegeta turns over towards Raditz, who isn't even in the ring at the moment, and he lunges towards him. And the second he lands a punch, Raditz is able to guard it, but then Vegeta places 2 fingers on his forehead, grabbing onto Raditz's arm, teleporting them away. And now Shin has jumped into the ring too, with everyone wondering why he did so. They turn to Goku, Gohan, and Piccolo saying they could explain on the way. This is bad. Things are not going the way they expected. In a wasteland somewhere far from the tournament, Vegeta and Raditz appear. Raditz wonders what the hell's going on, immediately transforming into Super Saiyan 2, ready to face Vegeta once more. And Vegeta just tells him it's time to settle this. He has no time to explain. He just wants to fight Raditz, of course to the death. Naturally, the two immediately start fighting. And it's an explosive battle. Raditz can tell Vegeta's gotten a lot stronger. It seems he might have Super Saiyan 2, but besides that, there's something else different about him. Not just that physical appearance, you know, the M on his forehead, his eyes being different. There's actually a change in his power. Raditz has no clue what happened, but he's definitely going to stop Vegeta. Meanwhile, Shin and Kibito are trying to locate Vegeta. They of course sense this battle going on. Right away, they're heading towards Babidi's ship, assuming they might have went there, but now they realize what's happening. Vegeta secluded Raditz so they could fight alone, gathering energy for Babidi. So now it's time to split up. Shin, Kibito, and Goku are going to go over to the fight to try and stop it, while Gohan says he'll go over to face Dabura, somebody that Shin warns about once they see him at the ship. Gohan's confident. With how strong he is, he'll be able to face Dabura here. And Goku says they'll be right back. Piccolo heads over with Gohan too, just in case he needs any assistance. So Shin teleports over to the fight between Raditz and Vegeta, and Goku yells out for them to stop. He knows why Raditz would want to defend against Vegeta. Raditz didn't do anything wrong. He just doesn't know what's going on here, and doesn't know that he shouldn't fight. Raditz hears the voice, looking over to Goku. Why stop? Vegeta's trying to kill them. Goku tells Raditz he doesn't understand why Vegeta's here, and the things that are different about him. With Raditz distracted, Vegeta lands a punch on his face. A pretty clean blow. And Vegeta tells everybody, even if they know what he's planning, there's no way they could stop it. With how strong he is now, he's going to be the one person above everybody. And even if that doesn't remain true, well, his whole purpose for being here will help him. And he says they're already too late. He could sense another battle going on between Gohan and Dabura. Of course, Gohan was warned to end it as quickly as possible. But Dabura is no weak opponent. Here in this scenario, Gohan is definitely stronger than him, but Dabura knows how to drag out the battle. And since Goku, Shin, and Kibito already know what's going on, Vegeta decides to explain to Raditz. So he's being controlled by some wizard? Well, not exactly. He let that wizard unlock his power. This Majin symbol on his forehead, it's meaningless. He's not being controlled by Babidi, as much as he'd love to think so. This gave him a boost in power that he needed. And once Babidi's able to revive Buu, well, that's really gonna help Vegeta. But how would that help Vegeta? What do they think he's been doing the past 7 years? He's been learning new tactics, new techniques. They'll have to kill him here to stop him, otherwise it's too late for them. They don't know what Vegeta has planned, but they don't really want to test it out either. And it is risky. Of course, it would be ideal to kill Vegeta right here, but they would also be granting energy to Buu. But of course, they just can't let Vegeta sit around because they're still gonna gather energy regardless. And that's what it really hits them. They know what situation they're in. They've already lost. Buu is already bound to be revived. If they kill Vegeta here, they're probably granting them enough energy. If they don't kill Vegeta, that definitely just guarantees it as well. So they're gonna decide to take the better option. Defeat Vegeta here and now. But obviously Vegeta realizes that this is gonna happen. And now with 2 other Saiyans fighting him, he decides he's gonna play defensively. As the brothers try to attack in unison, Vegeta teleports away once more, ending up at the ship where Dabura is. Although he's a little too late because by the time he's there, Dabura is immediately killed by Gohan, with Piccolo yelling out to Gohan saying that Vegeta's here now. Vegeta jumps up in the air, immediately engaging in battle with Gohan. This is bad. Gohan has no idea of what's happening because the Kai separated with him, and Piccolo has no clue either. Of course, they teleported in not too long after. Gohan and Piccolo do know that they need to try and conserve energy, not to give too much to Babidi. But they have no choice here. They can't just sit there and let Vegeta do whatever. They have to fight back or else they're gonna die. Angered, Gohan attempts to finish this as quickly as he can. But with Vegeta's instant transmission, it makes it a lot tougher. And also, Gohan's feeling a little bit weakened. He doesn't know why. Is this because Babidi's taking energy from him? Well, his energy is being taken, but not by Babidi. And Vegeta lets them know. They have no clue how strong Vegeta truly is at the moment. Of course, his physical strength is way more impressive than before. But like he mentioned, he's been learning other techniques. And as he's about to reveal everything, a massive cloud of steam emerges from the bottom of the ship. Perfect, just what he wanted. A hole is open towards the bottom, and Vegeta can see Babidi down there celebrating. Now it's time to get rid of that cockroach. He's served its purpose. He sticks out a hand, telekinetically drawing Babidi towards him. He grabs onto Babidi's head, and they think he's gonna kill Babidi. And he does, but in a different way than they expected. As Buu's egg is hatching in the background, Vegeta starts siphoning off Babidi's energy. Of course, Vegeta doesn't get too strong from this, but what he's really after is Babidi's magic. During the time skip, he's returned to Yardrat in order to learn that technique that he never had time to before, Force Spirit Fission, and this is his own mutated version of it. With the mastery over it, he's learned to actually absorb the energy and use it for himself. And now, he assimilates Babidi's strength and powers within him, the latter being more impressive, of course. Babidi was a means to an end. He helped revive Buu, and now, with his powers, Vegeta's gonna be able to control this monster. The egg explodes, and Buu jumps at it, and Vegeta laughs. It seems his plan was successful. He's stronger, he has new powers. And even if that's not gonna be enough here, he has Buu. They'll wreak havoc across Earth and the universe, but he's not going to destroy everything. He's going to rule over everything. He doesn't need to leave stuff intact after all. Buu is just his super weapon, but it doesn't mean Vegeta's lacking strength either. Unfortunately, even with his increase in strength, he knows that he won't be able to fight those 3 Saiyans and Piccolo alone. But it doesn't really matter. Buu will accomplish that now. He knew that they probably got stronger during that time skip, which is exactly why he planned for this. While Buu faces them, he's gonna go around gathering the Dragon Balls for himself. And he tells them to have fun with the Majin, as he places 2 fingers on his forehead, waving goodbye and teleporting off. Buu looks over towards the group, commanded by Vegeta. He gives off an evil grin, ready to face these foes. Not only are they facing a different Majin Vegeta, but now they have to face Majin Buu too. Things got really bad really quickly. Shin and Kibito didn't expect it to go like this. They have no clue of what to do now, but Raditz steps up. He says they're not backing down yet. With all their powers combined, they should be enough to face this monster. Of course he is strong. Raditz isn't getting too cocky. He's just being logical. Once again he flares up into Super Saiyan 2, with Goku and Gohan following. Piccolo powers up to his max as well. Raditz turns to Shin and Kibito, telling them to go find Kami, and try and get the Dragon Balls before Vegeta can. They might not be able to help here with their physical strength, but they could still help. These 4 will take on Buu alone. Shin is worried, but agrees. This might be a good idea. He and Kibito teleport off, as the four fighters face Boo. Vegeta seeks out the Dragon Balls. And it's not really that easy. Yeah, he does have teleportation, but he could really only teleport to where he could sense energy. And even then, it's not like Namek where you could just teleport to a village and find a Dragon Ball. The Dragon Balls are just scattered about randomly. This search is going to be tougher than he thought. Not to mention, the Kais are trying to race around and stop him. Both have teleportation, but they actually have a better version of it. They could just teleport wherever they want with the Kai. No need to lock onto energy. And they can kind of outpace Vegeta, also trying to distract him too. And not just that either, but if they were able to get the Dragon Radar, they'll be able to teleport directly to the Dragon Balls. Vegeta encounters them at some point, trying to fight them, but they act defensively, teleporting out of the way as quick as possible. A fast-paced chase begins between Vegeta and the Kais. He can kill them and stop them from getting the Dragon Balls, but even with the huge gap in power, it may not be as easy as it seems. They're playing the long game. They're trying to run the clock out for Vegeta. Just let the rest of the group defeat Boo first, and hold off Vegeta until then. Speaking of Boo, he and the group engage in a battle right now. And with the collective efforts of Raditz, Gohan, Piccolo, and Goku, their combined power, especially with how strong some of them are in the scenario, might be enough to hold Boo off. Not enough to defeat him right now, but all of them working together are actually able to do decently well. And as they work together more and more, showing off even more synergy than they had before, slowly Boo starts getting pushed back. They're gaining ground against him. And it's going to be tough to destroy him. They could tell he could regenerate from basically nothing, so they're going to need to destroy every little last bit of him. That part might be tough. They're able to destroy him at some points, but it's not enough to actually just keep him gone completely. They're going to need a really good opening, an opening for a full power combined attack. And even then, they're not sure if that'll work, but that's their best shot. The chance of that happening is pretty slim, but as long as they keep fighting Boo, it should be okay. Although, Boo is getting a little bit angry. His temper is showing. With all the times he's destroyed, yeah, he has fun at first. But he's also getting hungry. He just wants to eat. And these people are kind of annoying him too. It's definitely not helping that Raditz is probably slinging insults at him too. And Boo's rage begins to show. As Vegeta's racing around for the Dragon Balls, he senses something strange. Boo's power is beginning to split. This is an issue. The Dragon Balls could wait. If Boo's defeated, his plan will be shot. So he teleports over to the group just in the nick of time. And he watches as Boo splits between evil and good, with evil Boo turning good Boo into a cookie. Vegeta has no idea what's going on, but he's going to stop it. Just before evil Boo eats good Boo, Vegeta teleports in front of him, grabbing the cookie. Evil Boo tries to fight Vegeta, and Vegeta has no idea of what to do here. He clearly won't be able to control this Boo, but with this cookie right here, he wonders, maybe there's a different way to attain more power. He eats the good Boo cookie. Doing this on a whim, not sure if it'll even work. And something really weird happens with him. He begins powering up. Energy is flowing through him, and not just ki. He could feel the magical properties of Boo. Did he just absorb all of Boo's powers? His ki even changes color. His power soars further. Evil Boo tries to fight him, but Vegeta sticks a finger out, launching a beam at Evil Boo that turns him into candy too. He can't believe it. It actually worked. He picks up the candy Evil Boo, eating him as well. And he turns over towards the group as he begins powering up once more. An ominous pinkish-reddish aura surrounds him. It doesn't matter if he gets the Dragon Balls or not. This is what he needs. All of Boo's power, it's now his. This is much better than having Boo fight for him. He knew that guy was an idiot anyways. This is a much more effective use of that power in his eyes. Vegeta begins morphing. His skin begins turning a pinkish hue, with his eyes changing color as well. He takes on an appearance that kinda looks like the Majin Boos that they just saw. He finishes powering up and then looks at the group. He sees his arms are now pink. He doesn't know how much he's changed in appearance, but he knows he's transformed somehow. This is true Majin Vegeta. Vegeta with the abilities of Boo and all his power too. He decides to test it out. He sticks out a hand at Raditz, and much to everyone's surprise, he's able to extend his arm. The group can't even move out of the way in time. Vegeta stretches his arm out towards Raditz and grabs him, and then launches one of his other arms towards Goku. He lifts them up in the air, drawing them closer and closer to him, and he contemplates what his next move will be. He could kill them. I mean, he literally has them in the palm of his hand right now. Or he could absorb them and use their power. That might be nice, but also, he doesn't want that in him. Who knows, maybe their influence will affect him somehow. Not to mention, their power is nothing in comparison to what he has at the moment. He's getting a little bit ahead of himself. He feels that the power he has right now is more than sufficient. But before he could do anything, both of his arms are sliced off. A Kienzan flies through. Krillin is hiding nearby and jumped out, also with Tenshinhan there. They don't want to get involved because they know if they do, they'll just make things worse. But they have no choice now. With how powerful Vegeta is, they need to help after sensing all of this. Goku and Raditz quickly jump back. That was a really close call. and Vegeta looks around. There's an entire group of people ready to fight him. He will kill Raditz and Goku. Not just them, though. Everyone else here will die. Although, it might be better to kill them first, so Raditz and Kakarot can watch. He vanishes. The group looks up as Vegeta launches a volley of Ki Blast down towards them. They jump out of the way quickly. But it's not quick enough. Vegeta's so fast. He has the power of Super Saiyan 2 and all this Majin power as well. Not just the boost he got from being possessed, but all of Boo's power as well, and then some. And it's definitely a lot of power, but can he maintain this? He came upon it so quickly, and he doesn't know how to fully control it. Something is strange. He fights through it, but he feels like it's unstable somehow. The group has nothing to do against him, and they can't find the Kais anywhere too. Shin and Kibito are still looking for the Dragon Balls. Now their plan has changed. They want to find the Dragon Balls and actually summon Shenron to try and stop Vegeta somehow. But it might not work. Shenron might not be strong enough to use a wish against him. What would they even do here? They want to use the wish to separate the power from Vegeta somehow. Split him back into Majin Buu and normal Vegeta. But that might not work. And if they summon the dragon, well, it'll just draw Vegeta to their location, and then he can get a wish as well. Maybe it's best not to use the Dragon Balls here. At least not just yet. They gather all of them, keeping them in storage just in case something bad happens. They teleport back to the group seeing what's been going on. They can't believe their eyes. But also, Goku notes something strange. Vegeta is not attacking as potently as before. Of course, his attacks are still really strong, but something changed about them. The attacks are a lot more erratic, and they don't seem to have as much power. And his ki, it's decreased a bit, which isn't out of the blue for a battle like this. But it decreased so quickly, especially with him having Buu in him. How is he losing energy that quick? And Vegeta grabs his head. He stops fighting, and it looks like he's in pain, a lot of pain. He screams, and it seems like he's gonna power up once more, but he doesn't. His body couldn't handle all of that power. It was unstable. Not to mention, the two Boos were split. That made it all unstable to begin with. Evil Buu and Good Buu are at war within Vegeta. And they've already seen a lot of weird stuff today, but something even stranger happens. Vegeta splits into two. Not like Vegeta's cut in half, like, literally there are just now two Vegetas. But what's really odd is how both of them look. One of them is a gray Vegeta. He looks like that skinny Majin Buu they saw before, and the other Vegeta, he has pink skin still like Buu. But his eyes, they look normal, they're not black. And that Majin symbol on his forehead is gone. What the hell is this? Shin and Kibito theorize, well, if the two Boos split, it must have happened again. They don't know why Buu split, but from what's happening here, it seems like all the evil in Buu split out of him. One of the Boos was good, one of the Boos was evil, and the same thing happened here. It's just that there's two Vegetas now. It's basically Vegeta being commandeered by the Boos. Although he's also harnessed the Majin's power. The Majins don't have control over him, it's just that he's completely unstable now. Hence, this split happened. The evil Majin Vegeta grins, laughing how they're back to square one. This is perfect. He's still the stronger Vegeta. And this way, he's gotten rid of any impurities. He's pure evil, and he's gonna destroy that good part of him. But also he's gonna kill the group. Wait, there was good in Vegeta? Well, very little of it. Like a very minute amount. Not to mention Good Buu was in there, and that's mostly what caused the split. And the other Vegeta, let's just call him Good Vegeta, he seems completely lost. He has no clue of what happened. It's a strange feeling. But he can't think about that right now because immediately, evil Vegeta attacks him. The two Vegetas begin fighting, and on a whim, the rest of the group joins in. Raditz doubts that there's any good in this Vegeta. But maybe if they work alongside him right now to defeat the other Vegeta, then they can kill him after. It's probably the best option that they have. The two Vegetas are against each other anyways, so they might as well take advantage of it. And Goku has an idea. Even with the two Vegeta split, that evil Vegeta is still way too strong, and they don't trust this other Vegeta on their side. But Goku knows a way that they might be able to defeat this Vegeta. If he is pure evil after all, he has the perfect attack for this. He tells Raditz, it's something he learned after dying against his brother, and Raditz laughs, hoping it'll work better than what they used to try and kill him because that clearly didn't do the job. And Goku says this one will work, but it's going to be tough to charge. He hasn't really had the chance to use it yet. It's called a Spirit Bomb. And Raditz tells Goku that he'll help his brother make it work, with Piccolo, Gohan, and everyone else agreeing as well. And Shin has a perfect idea as well. He grabs onto Goku, teleporting him away. The two Vegetas are completely preoccupied, and evil Vegeta doesn't even chase down Goku. And on a faraway part of the planet, Goku starts charging a Spirit Bomb, getting all the energy from the planet itself, as well as his friends that are currently against Vegeta. A fierce battle rages on, as Goku charges more and more energy. Raditz, Piccolo, and Gohan face Vegeta together. Raditz reflects on everything too. This is such a weird turn of events. Disregarding all the weird Majin Buu stuff, the fact that he's fighting Vegeta now alongside his nephew and then a guy that became his friend. Piccolo just a Namekian that was on this planet. His rival, his nephew. And also his brother is with them, even though he's not physically present at the moment. Raditz takes solace in this. He wasn't corrupted by staying with Vegeta still. He's found a much more fulfilling life here on Earth. For all he knows, he was spared. He could have died against Piccolo. Or if he never came to Earth, he probably would have died at the hands of Frieza. And he tells Vegeta this. The path he went down, it was the wrong one, because it's gonna lead to his defeat. He's already rejected Vegeta long ago. And now, he'll kill the Saiyan. With the help of his brother too. As much as he'd love to take the credit for it, as long as he assists in killing Vegeta, that's good enough. Vegeta calls him a weakling, saying he's always been weak. But Raditz reminds him, who's been ahead this whole time? Vegeta's been trying to play catch-up, and with all his crazy techniques and even stealing power from everyone else, it's so pathetic because he hasn't even surpassed them yet. This makes Vegeta angry. He's above them right now. And Raditz questions that. Shin and Kibito then teleport in, grabbing all the good guys, teleporting them away as something comes in over the horizon. A massive ball of blue energy comes towards Vegeta, tracking down his energy and locating him from far away. Vegeta laughs. This is nothing. He'll absorb this power actually. The Spirit Bomb makes contact, and he tries to push it back. But the power, it's far too much. His arms, they begin disintegrating. And he tries to regenerate them, but he can't. The Spirit Bomb gets closer and closer, completely destroying Vegeta, then careening off into space, exploding. At the grounds of the World Tournament, Shin and Kibito teleport everyone back. All the spectators are watching, seeing a giant blue ball explode in the sky, which is kind of freaky but also kind of cool. Raditz and group watched on as well. They defeated him. They did it. They finally killed Vegeta. And once again, they saved Earth. Although, they didn't completely kill Vegeta. With them is that other Vegeta, that quote-unquote good Vegeta. He seems to still have Majin Buu's powers. He powers down, no longer having the pink skin of Majin Buu. He looks like the normal Vegeta again, and he teleports to where the rest of the group is. Immediately, they're ready to fight him. But something's different about this Vegeta. Who is he, and what happened here?
So this Vegeta, is he really Vegeta? Well, yeah, he is, but not in the same way that they actually knew. He's not the same Vegeta, he's a different one. The evil within him, it was cleansed when that other Buu died. He doesn't know how or why, but this is the good in him. Somehow there was a little bit of that in there. Some part of him that wasn't really completely unclean. And who knows, it might have just been Buu that kept him alive, because we do know there was a good part of Buu. Vegeta doesn't even know himself. He didn't realize that there was any of this within him. And no one could really theorize either. Vegeta always loved to proclaim that he was pure evil, but maybe there was a little bit of good in there. And obviously with good Buu, that also helped. But since most of him was evil, and a lot of his power also came from Buu, who was also a lot of evil, that means a lot of his power is gone as well. He's much weaker than before. A lot of his power, whether that be Buu's or his own, that's all gone now. But he's at peace. Good Buu and Vegeta are one. Neither of them exist separately anymore, they're just one person. Shin and Kibito are kind of amazed to learn this too, but yeah, that kind of makes sense. They watched Buu split up into good and evil. And if that same thing happened again with Vegeta, with that other Buu dying, that explains why the evilness isn't there anymore. And even though a lot of Vegeta's power's gone, he doesn't care too much. Like I said, he's at peace now. This is actually a much better existence for him. All the negative aspects of him, they're gone. For the first time in his life, he feels good. So, what's going to happen with him now? The group is a bit hesitant to keep him around, but Vegeta's actually going to stay on Earth for now. Even if he does cause trouble, which they kind of doubt, he is weaker after all, so they will be able to stop him if needed. But given some time on Earth, the group could see that Vegeta actually is different. This isn't just some sort of act or whatever. Every bit of evil in him is gone. This is the start of something new, not just for Vegeta, but for everybody. And that's not the only peace that they see. There's just a lot of peace in general. After Buu, there's not much going on Earth. No threats coming their way, nothing like that. It gives Raditz a lot of time to return back to his normal activities, because it has been a while. He really misses biking and going to bars and stuff. And you know what? He can give up training for a bit. He's confident in his strength. He's overcome that part of him that always felt so weak. I mean, think about how much his life has turned around. He's stronger, more confident. He's on good terms with his brother and the rest of his family. And even though it wasn't the most ideal way, they got rid of Vegeta. No longer have to deal with that or worry about it. Time goes on as normal. At some point, Beerus will reawaken, and naturally he's going to be led to Earth trying to find the Super Saiyan God. Vegeta is terrified to see him. Even if this is kind of a different Vegeta, he still retains the memories of Vegeta. And not to mention, Vegeta probably did mention Beerus to Raditz at some point. At least back in their normal Saiyan days. So Raditz might have an idea of who this guy is. But no one else does. Goku's excited to fight him, but the other two Pure Saiyans are terrified. But Beerus notes something strange about Vegeta's presence. He can't put his finger on it, but something's off about him.
and Vegeta explains, telling him about everything that happened with Majin Buu. Beerus thinks this sounds absolutely insane, but it also sounds interesting. If Vegeta did retain some of those powers, maybe he could be a good rival, maybe even a Super Saiyan God. And Vegeta doesn't know what to think of this, but Beerus wants to actually try and fight him now. Of course, Vegeta knows he's not going to stand a chance, but he'll at least try. It will be a good way to test his powers out because he can go full power against Beerus and not worry about killing anyone. He has been training in the meantime, trying to get a better grasp on this power because there was a lot that came with Buu's powers. Even though Vegeta lost some of his own strength, he gained new abilities, and he found a new type of strength with magic. He powers up, as if he were to go Super Saiyan, but he doesn't go Super Saiyan. He has that same Majin looking form that he used before. His skin turns pink and his hair turns white. He is essentially like Majin Buu now, which is really unique because now he can actually regenerate, and also stretch parts of his body out like Buu did. Cool. Of course, Beerus has no real frame of reference, but this form is pretty intriguing for a Saiyan form. It doesn't look anything like you'd expect from a Saiyan, but that makes sense given what Vegeta told him. A battle ensues, and Beerus does admit Vegeta is powerful, and his magical abilities, they're impressive. Vegeta says he did inherit them from Majin Buu after all, but now he's able to put his own spin on it, making them more him. The way he fights is completely different from before. Raditz and Goku can clearly see this too. It's especially interesting for Raditz that spent so much time with Vegeta beforehand, kinda knowing his fighting style, but that's completely changed. It really is a different Vegeta in so many more ways than they expected. But even though he could test out his full array of powers against Beerus, as well as his physical strength, it's still not enough. The God of Destruction is kinda pleased. He's a little bit impressed to see a mortal have this strength, but he's not too impressed. And the good thing is, since there's no Majin Buu here, it's just Vegeta, there's not gonna be a Majin Buu to steal his food. So at least he's not gonna be pissed off by some pudding incident or whatever. But he is still unimpressed, and he does want to find a Super Saiyan God. They have no idea of what to do, but they could use the Dragon Balls, summon Shenron, and ask about that. He even tries to fight Goku, Raditz, and Gohan, but nothing they could do can actually make Beerus impressed either. Super Saiyan 2 is cool, but against Beerus, it's kinda useless. So eventually they do resort to summoning Shenron, and he tells them about the ritual to become a Super Saiyan God, which is great because they actually do have enough people. Well, at first they think they don't, but since Vidal's pregnant, that actually works. The ritual has the same group of people, but instead of Trunks, we have Raditz there. But who will the ritual actually be done on? Beerus interjects. He has an idea of who they should try first. Vegeta. He does sense a little bit of godly presence in him. That's why Beerus noted his energy felt strange. It's not just everything else about Vegeta, but there's a little bit of that godly presence. That's thanks to Buu and his relation to the Kais. It's very minute, but Beerus notes it is there, so maybe he's compatible with this. Well, they don't contest it. And it would be interesting to see Vegeta utilize this form, and if the ritual does work, they could try it on everyone else. But Vegeta definitely has a better chance of it working if this even does work. He is pure of heart too. So they all try and channel their energy into Vegeta, and it ends up working. Although the result is different than you'd probably expect. Since this is his first time accessing Super Saiyan God, it's not like it's going to be combined into his Majin form or whatever. It's actually separate. Vegeta turns into a relatively normal looking Super Saiyan God. They have no frame of reference of what a Super Saiyan God looks like, but you guys know what it looks like. But don't worry, Vegeta's going to be able to put his own unique twist on it soon. A battle ensues between him and Beerus, and he learns to control it pretty quickly, which is amazing for him. He didn't recognize that he could do that. His strength, his speed, his senses, and his magical abilities. They were great before, don't get me wrong, but now they're enhanced beyond belief. It makes for an explosive battle between him and the God of Destruction. Beerus has a lot more fun, and eventually would take Vegeta as a student. Well, at least a student for Whis. And it's strange because, given how Vegeta was basically the main villain of this entire scenario so far, now he's getting the best outcome. Raditz and Goku are left behind, which kinda sucks because it's an inverse of what's happened before. They see the end that Vegeta was on, not being able to have the best training methods, and now they're the ones that are missing out. I mean, he went to Yardrat, he has Majin Buu's powers now, he has a Super Saiyan God, it's incredible. It does take a while. They're gonna have to find some way to impress Beerus, and at some point, Beerus probably would end up taking that. Even though Vegeta's great, remember, a lot of Vegeta's original power was gone, so he was starting out from a different level than Raditz and Goku, and Beerus is kinda curious. He wants to see what they would be like as a Super Saiyan God. Of course, Vegeta did regain a lot of power once he got that ritual done, but before that ritual was done, he was weaker than Raditz and Goku. And that's the main reason Beerus is interested. Granted, they don't have the same magical abilities that Vegeta has, and whatever other powers that he got from Buu. They're just normal Saiyans, as normal as Super Saiyans can be. Although Vegeta did get a pretty crucial head start, and he closed that gap between them as well as making a new gap of his own. Because even when they get Super Saiyan God, first of all, they still gotta practice with it, and second of all, Vegeta's version of Super Saiyan God is kinda different from theirs. Especially because now he's trying to learn how to utilize his Majin powers as a Super Saiyan God. He's pretty confident with this upper hand. Of course, with him being purely good now, that confidence isn't gonna go to his head. If this were the Vegeta we knew before, well, everyone would be dead by now. But this Vegeta,
It's just thrilling for him to be strong. He has no desire to use it maliciously. And that was another big thing that kind of concerned Raditz and Goku, but seeing Vegeta now utilizing this power more and more, and after all the years that passed since the Buu Saga, it tells him that Vegeta truly has reformed. At some point, Resurrection F does occur. Although, there is a bit of a different outcome this time. On Earth, one really big thing to note is that Piccolo is stronger than before. Even with the differences between here and the main story, the things that have happened to Piccolo in the scenario so far have made him a lot stronger. Even though Raditz did leave Earth, that rivalry between those two is still continuing, and Piccolo's doing anything in his power to obtain more, power. He leads the charge against Frieza's army, and actually stepping up to the plate ready to fight Frieza himself. Over this time, he had considered what his future self did, fusing with Kami, but again, that's kind of a wasted effort at this point. He doesn't want them to lose the Dragon Balls, and also, he's confident in his own strength, his own potential. All the fusions he already has within him, plus the fact that he has the potential unlocked, he knows that he can get something. He continues training in the Room of Spirit and Time beforehand, and now against Frieza, he could finally show off his full strength. He went to Kami to see if it was possible to unlock his power even further. Kami wasn't able to do it, which is why Piccolo tried to brute force this potential out of him, and something amazing occurred. Against Frieza, he transforms. It's a very slight transformation, and Frieza doesn't even really notice the difference. But everyone else watching, especially Gohan, they're stunned. Piccolo's power was so far beyond where it was before. This is his full potential unlocked. At least, his potential as of now. This is Ultimate Piccolo. From Beerus' planet, Frieza's resurrection is being monitored. I mean, they can sense something going on Earth. And Vegeta's about to teleport everyone there, but it seems like there's no need. While they're watching, they notice Piccolo's new transformation. Raditz is stunned, as is everyone else, but mostly Raditz. He didn't realize how strong Piccolo's gotten so far. They watch. Frieza shows up in a completely new form, but even that's not enough to face Piccolo. Ultimate Piccolo overcomes Frieza, and even though it is a struggle, he wins, killing Frieza. For one, Raditz is glad to see Piccolo got so strong, but also, he's kinda pissed that he missed out on this. Not to mention, he missed out on killing Frieza a second time. That would have been really fun. Especially because he has something new up his sleeve too, someone that he could have tested out against Frieza. But it seems like he's gonna have to save it for another time. Although, it's not like he's gonna have to save it for too long, because soon enough, the Universe 6 tournament comes up. I think it's pretty obvious what the team's gonna be here. Goku, Vegeta, Raditz, Piccolo, and as the fifth member, well, they still do try to get Gohan, but maybe it's Monaka here. Everyone's excited to test out their strength. It seems like each person has something unique. Well, Goku and Raditz kinda have the same thing, but still, unique to them at least. Piccolo has his new ultimate form, and as for Vegeta, he has something kinda strange. First up is Raditz versus Potamo. And his gimmicks are kind of weird at first, but Raditz is able to knock him out pretty easily, just by going Super Saiyan. Next, he's up against Frost, which surprises Raditz because he looks exactly like Frieza, and he wonders if he does have a final form. He's able to coax Frost into transforming, knowing that he has this higher power. He wants to see it used, and he tells Frost too, if he does this, he'll use his full power too. He won't hold anything back. It's a great way for them to test both of their strengths. So, Frost transforms, and then Raditz keeps up his end of the deal, also transforming, showing off a power that's kind of brand new to everybody else. Before the tournament, he, Goku, and Vegeta headed into the Room of Spirit and Time, just to get a little bit more practice with this. Well, at least for him and Goku, that is. Vegeta has something different, but he and Goku, they both have a new form which they just refer to as Super Saiyan Blue. After achieving Super Saiyan God, this is the next level, and he shows it off against Frost. And Frost is just speechless. He can't even sense the power in this, but he can tell it's strong. Which is why he's about to resort to using his Poison Needle. But before he could even do so, Raditz completely outspeeds him. Frost tries to use all of his power, just to lunge towards Raditz and attack him. Hit him with the Poison Needle, that's all he needs. But just as he executes the attack, Raditz is quick enough to parry it with perfection. And in that split second, he's moving so fast that Frost can't even perceive it. But he could perceive something too. He sees the needle sticking out of Frost's arm, which just makes Raditz kinda angry. But it doesn't matter, he completely avoids it, and with one attack, he knocks Frost out. Once Frost regains consciousness, he comments on this too. It's pathetic. He was going to try to cheat to win, but even so, he still ended up losing to Raditz's brute strength. It's sad because he was hoping that Frost was actually a good guy, but clearly he's not. He is just like Frieza. Next, Raditz is against Vegeta, and I mean, look at Raditz here. Look at this whole scenario. Raditz will be able to come up with an insult. I mean, it would be weird if he wasn't able to. The funniest part about that is he probably wouldn't even know that Vegeta has that weakness. He would just insult him by default, and yeah, an easy win with no effort. Strange, he wasn't expecting that. Next, he's against Cabba. He's interested to see another Saiyan, but he doesn't care too much about the Saiyans. It's not like Vegeta in the main story. He gave up that lifestyle a long time ago. Raditz is his own person. He's not too in tune with his Saiyan identity anymore. He doesn't feel the need to teach Cabba anything to go Super Saiyan or whatever. They have a nice fight, but that's really it. Next, he faces Hit. And Hit's able to defeat Raditz pretty easily. Well, not too easily. At first, Raditz does show off his full strength, and it gives Hit a bit of a tough time.
But once he works around Raditz's strength, his time skip along with his great technique allows him to defeat Raditz. And Raditz has no idea how that's even possible. Goku's looking forward to using one of his own things though. He has Blue Kaioken up his sleeve, but he's not going to be the one to face hit. Vegeta's actually the one up next. And he comments on this. Raditz is actually the weakest of the three, which Raditz is kind of pissed about because he was so happy being ahead for so long, but now, he's not number one of the three of them. Although he does tell everyone, technically, in Super Saiyan Blue, he's stronger than Goku. Kakarot's only able to get ahead when he used that Kaio whatever technique, and this kind of pisses Goku off because he spoiled the surprise. Well, Raditz didn't need to defend himself. Vegeta ignores the bickering and immediately gets down to business. He knows he can't play around against Hit. He simply sticks a hand out, and balls of energy appear around Hit's hands and feet. He's lifted into the air, and he can't break free. Vegeta says it doesn't matter if he can time skip or not if he can't move at all. This is taking a lot of power to paralyze him. Hit is strong, it's not an easy task. But Vegeta has an opportunity to strike. He powers up, and instead of that bluish ki that Hit saw with Raditz, it's something different. He has a pinkish aura around him. He would love to utilize his Majin powers, but he didn't figure out how to use it with Super Saiyan God just yet. Although, he did figure out how to use Super Saiyan with Super Saiyan God. But for some reason, his version of it is pink. He doesn't know why, but he has Super Saiyan Rosé. Due to Vegeta's weird nature right now, he technically is an actual deity. Obtaining that power from Buu, and by extension the Grand Supreme Kai and the South Supreme Kai, he has access to Super Saiyan Rosé just like Goku Black did. And he's glad to have this power, but he still needs to go beyond it somehow. Hit eventually is able to break free of Vegeta's magic, but as soon as he does, Vegeta is able to attack with immense speed. Hit time skips just to move out of the way from it, but even with how fast he is, Vegeta predicts where he is next, landing a kick right in Hit's gut. It sends Hit flying up into the sky, and using the Kai Kai, Vegeta teleports upwards. Hit reacts as quickly as possible, trying to hit Vegeta with an attack, but before he can, he's hit with the Big Bang attack, knocking him clean out of the ring. Vegeta takes the win here, powering back down, happy to show off his power, but expecting a little more of a fight. Whatever, he had fun at least. Although everyone had fun watching the tournament, well, there was one person that didn't really like watching it, someone who got infuriated by it. A Kai from Universe 10. He will make these mortals pay. We head back to Earth. Time has passed since the tournament, and something strange happens. A time machine appears in front of Capsule Corp, just like the one that they saw before during the Cell Saga. Two familiar faces jump off. This isn't a good sign. They see future Gohan and future Piccolo once again. Things have gotten bad once more. Really bad. Gohan and Piccolo begin explaining. So apparently Vegeta's attacking their timeline again. Oh, that's actually not too unexpected. I mean, they knew Vegeta was still out there, because from what Gohan and Piccolo said before when they last came to the past, Vegeta was still alive, he just never was dealt with. So maybe he's just gotten incredibly strong at this point. But they mentioned, something's weird about him. They still do think it's future Vegeta, but for some reason he's not wearing that Saiyan armor that he always wears. Granted, I mean, he could have just changed clothes, but he's even acting different too. But also, they didn't really know Vegeta too well, so who knows what could have happened in all those years that passed. They just find it strange that he has this complete change of demeanor and that weird outfit that doesn't really suit him that well. They think it's future Vegeta, but you guys could probably tell that this is actually Vegeta Black, Zamasu in Vegeta's body. Not that anyone knows yet. But when they come into the past, Vegeta Black doesn't actually chase them, because he's a little bit scared of something. Vegeta. He knows Vegeta has magical abilities. I mean, he's in Vegeta's body right now, and he actually knows his powers. He got all that info from Zuno beforehand. Right now, his strength doesn't seem like it'll be enough to actually face Vegeta and the others. So that means the time machine isn't destroyed, and pretty much as soon as Gohan and Piccolo arrive in the past, they're able to go back to the future. They can't take too many people along, even though a lot of people do want to help, especially Gohan and Piccolo in the present timeline. But they'll be catching up with their future selves later on. For now, it seems better to just have Goku, Vegeta, and Raditz go. And it's pretty squished. Thankfully, they only really have to fit 4 people in there because Vegeta's able to use his Majin powers to just morph himself. Gross and weird, but hey, it makes the trip a little bit more comfortable. They arrive in the future and see the immense destruction. Gohan and Piccolo are powerful in this timeline, but still, for some reason they weren't able to ward off Vegeta. They thought they'd be enough against him, but he's so strong for some reason. It's really strange. I mean, of course he's gonna get strong, he's a Saiyan, but this strong and just in base? Something is off. And they also note, the ki that they sense from him. It's not like the Vegeta that they're sensing now. Well, that makes sense because Vegeta, well, he's part Buu. He tells them they're probably just sensing his old ki, before all the weird Buu stuff happened or whatever. But then, Vegeta Black reveals himself, shocking the 3 travelers from the past. Goku and Raditz can definitely tell, that ki is not Vegeta's. And they're not just talking about current Vegeta. They know what Vegeta's ki was like beforehand, they've been around him so much, and Vegeta could see too. Something about this version of Vegeta, it's not him. Did he merge with someone else too? Because it feels strange. It's like that same ki that he has with Buu. How there's 2 people within one essentially. It's a weird explanation of it, but that's kind of the vibe he gets from this. Did I just say vibe? What is happening? Okay, anyways. Vegeta Black is equally shocked. He was growing stronger, but he's still not strong enough to contend with Vegeta, and now he sees him here. He has no clue how to utilize Vegeta's powers, or those Majin powers within him. He can access them, but he just hasn't yet. See, him swapping bodies with Vegeta had a really weird effect. Since Vegeta was technically two people because he's Buu and Vegeta essentially merged together, that kinda kicked Buu out of the body because it's just Zamasu commandeering this body now. It's a strange situation. The body still does retain some of those powers, but at the same time, it lost so much of it and it basically lost all control of them. Zamasu obviously didn't expect this when he went with this wish. And now he's dealing with the consequences, but at least he still has Vegeta's power to work with. And luckily, he does have something. He transforms, showing Super Saiyan Rose. He's not too confident at the moment, but maybe this is enough. Vegeta then transforms too, and that really confuses Vegeta Black. He knows those other two Saiyans have that blue form, and he knew Vegeta had the Rose form, but now it just hits him. This form is one for a real deity. Does that mean Vegeta's an actual deity too? He never really made the connection, but now he can see. With him using this power himself, he realizes it. He's about to fight, but instead he retreats, teleporting away with the Kai Kai, going to wherever Zamasu is. Raditz comments on this. That Vegeta doesn't seem too strong. It's not even the real Vegeta after all. And he actually has a pretty good idea of what to do next. They should go to Namek. But they can't. The whole reason Gohan and Piccolo never went here is because they never knew how to get to Namek. Well, that's not really too much of an issue. They have Vegeta. He can teleport them anywhere he needs. They'll just need to locate the planet, which shouldn't be too hard. At least not for Vegeta. Raditz isn't too concerned about Vegeta Black at the moment. Right now, he wants to go to Namek to get the Dragon Balls before Vegeta Black can get to them, if he even knows they exist. They'll warn all the Namekians of what's going on, gather the Dragon Balls, come back here, kill Vegeta Black, and then go over there to make sure that they can revive everybody. They just want to make sure that there's actually Dragon Balls there first before they do anything here. So they're going to make this brief detour for now. Vegeta teleports everybody to New Namek, which amazes Gohan and Piccolo. If they knew about this, they would have gone to the past so long ago just to get to this planet. And luckily, it's still intact. It seems decimated on the surface, but they could still sense something. The Namekians are still here. Vegeta teleports to where they are, and they're terrified at first, but Vegeta assures them they're not here to harm anybody. He knows especially because it's him that maybe they're probably not having the best opinion of him right now. But all the others come out, including Raditz and Piccolo. The Namekians of course recognize these two. Even though it's not the same Raditz they knew, they still did know a Raditz, and of course Piccolo. They're amazed to see them here after so long, curious as to what's happened and what's going on now. The Namekians are all caught up to speed, and they catch up the group to speed as well. So, Black did come to their planet, trying to decimate the Dragon Balls here, but luckily, the Namekians were able to react in time, being able to evacuate with the Dragon Balls. Vegeta Black eventually came here, scorched it pretty much out of anger, and once they were sure the coast was clear, they came back here. They're living on this planet because Black thinks it's dead. That's basically their cover for now. And they do still have the Dragon Balls. They used a wish to actually get off the planet in the first place. And they'd definitely be glad to help, especially since they've recently upgraded the Dragon Balls, which allows them to revive multiple people at once. A limitation that existed before that the group actually didn't really know about. But this is perfect because it means they could revive everybody on Earth. And they'll even have an extra wish to do whatever with. Then, a familiar power appears. A blast flies towards the group, and Raditz is able to react quickly enough, swinging himself around and throwing the blast back. An explosion occurs, and the person he sees standing there is Vegeta. And once the smoke clears, that other Vegeta sees President Vegeta as well. He sensed some strong powers over here, far away from that other strong power that he's been avoiding. And thankfully it did lead him right to Namek, but he didn't realize. It was Raditz, Kakarot, and himself? He attacks, but Raditz is able to stop him very easily in base. And they all put two and two together, realizing that this is the normal future Vegeta. But that doesn't make sense. Then how'd that other Vegeta get here? What Vegeta did he commandeer? Because that Vegeta seems a lot like their present Vegeta. With three Vegetas, it's kind of confusing, especially with the amount of times I've said Vegeta in the past minute. And of course, future Vegeta is completely out of the loop. He sensed that strong power but didn't know what it was. He just avoided it. He assumed it was Gohan or Piccolo on Earth or something because that's where he sensed the power. And as they're arguing, everybody's distracted by a massive power far away. It's from Earth, and it's Vegeta Black's ki. It's surged. Surges to an unbelievable level. It's way more powerful than before. Damn it, they didn't expect him to grow that strong that quickly. But what the hell happened? It's like he's been healed and just got a huge boost in power, which is exactly what happened. They just didn't know that Zamasu was involved. Alright, well, at least they know the Dragon Balls are here. They're gonna need to get back to Earth quickly though. If Vegeta was able to sense them here, Vegeta Black might be able to find them as well. And they don't want to put Namek at risk. But they're gonna need more strength for this. Will everybody's combined power be enough to fight Vegeta Black? Especially if he's gonna get access to Vegeta's powers. They're not too sure, and they don't want to risk it either. They're gonna wait to wish everybody back until Vegeta Black's actually dead. But for now, Piccolo has another idea for a wish. Or at least the Namekians do. Piccolo asks if they're able to unlock somebody's potential. He remembers that happened with him a while ago, as well as his version of Raditz, and seemingly this Raditz as well. Unfortunately, there's nobody here that's able to do it, but the Namekians say that maybe Porunga will be able to do so. However, with the sheer power of everybody, he might only be able to unlock one person's potential at once, and they're not even sure if it's going to work properly. But the Namekians still do recommend it. They know how dire the situation is, and actually have something better in mind too. If they really need the help, some of the warrior Namekians offer to fuse into Piccolo, and then they'll have Porunga unlock their potential all combined at once. That way he's essentially unlocking the powers of multiple warriors, while still only using one wish. They continue keeping track of Vegeta Black's power, and realize that this might be a good option. One wish was used to relocate the Namekians, and another wish will be used for this, so they'll have to save that last one to revive everybody. It would be great if everyone's potential could be unlocked, but this is still good. It'll ensure they have the power they need, and maybe they can come back and get the same done for Gohan here. Back on Earth, Zamasu has healed Vegeta Black, and Vegeta Black's anger is overflowing, as well as his power. He's growing stronger by the minute, trying to tap into that magical side of Vegeta, accessing whatever powers of Buu are left. Imagine, the power of Akai, the power of Majin Buu, and the power of Vegeta, all in one. He's elated, and he knows he's going to grow exponentially soon, but he wonders where everyone else went. What was their plan? Why'd they teleport away? But soon, they sense 3 powers teleport in. They fly over to see who came here, and they just see 2 people standing there. 2 Vegetas, actually. And the 2 of them are arguing. Future Vegeta wanted to come along, although present Vegeta was just saying to let him do this himself. But Future Vegeta wanted to see this imposter. Whoever stole his body, they will die by his hand. Vegeta tells his future self not to be so stupid. Of course, this Vegeta is still Vegeta. He hasn't developed much, and he recognizes that. He still has a much different mentality, but he still does want to protect his future self because it is him, after all. Although future Vegeta is not really thinking in the best manner right now. He powers up, showing off Super Saiyan, confident in his powers, thinking that this will be enough. He launches in to attack Vegeta Black, and with one hit, he's knocked out. Vegeta teleports over to him, then teleporting him to a safe place. Alright, now that's dealt with. But he has a few questions. He wants to know who Vegeta Black really is, and whoever that person is that's standing next to him. He didn't see that guy before. They end up explaining, ready to face off against Vegeta, but they remember, they sense 3 powers come in. Somebody's hiding. What, was it Raditz, that other person that was with them? Goku? It could have been Gohan or Piccolo, but they don't see anybody. Actually, Goku, Raditz, and Gohan are all on planet Namek, just to make sure everybody's protected in case they are attacked. And really, they're not needed over there. Just Vegeta and one other person. The ground starts rumbling nearby. Vegeta powers up into Super Saiyan Rose. It seems it's finally showtime. Vegeta Black and Zamasu are incredibly confused. Now they sense a bunch of powers at once, but one of them sticks out. Of all those powers that they're sensing, the biggest one, it's Piccolo. That pesky Namekian that was on this planet before, the one who eluded them so much. But who are these other powers alongside him? A shadow is cast over Vegeta Black and Zamasu. Vegeta Black's barely able to get out of the way in time, with Zamasu not being quick enough to react. A powerful, familiar face drops out of the sky, crushing Zamasu underneath his feet. Of course, Zamasu is able to regenerate from this. But Vegeta Black's jaw drops. He looks on in disbelief. It looks like it might be Piccolo, but he's not too sure. He looks different, very different. First of all, he's giant. His face, it looks completely different too, and he's orange. And also that strength of his. How did he get so strong? But before Vegeta Black can react, Piccolo's able to grab him, holding Vegeta Black in one fist. Vegeta Black powers up into Rose, trying to escape as quickly as possible. Vegeta allows Piccolo to handle Vegeta Black. He's gonna deal with Zamasu, and Zamasu laughs. He's immortal, he's not gonna be able to do anything. Well, Vegeta's not planning to use his strength against Zamasu. They really shouldn't have revealed that Zamasu was immortal because now Vegeta knows. There's another way to defeat him. I mean, he is part Buu after all, who is part Grand Supreme Kai, who does have a really handy sealing technique. Vegeta prepares to attack, and Zamasu's expression changes completely. He knows what Vegeta's trying to do, and he's too slow to react. Before he even gets to do anything, he's sealed away by Vegeta, and now Vegeta can help Piccolo. Piccolo's able to contend really well against Vegeta Black, which amazes Vegeta Black. They have no clue how Piccolo got so strong here, but he's not worried. As long as Zamasu can keep Vegeta at bay, they'll be fine. And then he sees Vegeta join in the fight. Piccolo shrinks down to her normal size, and Vegeta Black realizes that Zamasu has been defeated, but it doesn't matter. Even if he's outnumbered, he's not overpowered. He shows off more strength. He was at a better starting point after all. He kinda had Super Saiyan Rose from the get-go, so now he's even better off. But Vegeta and Piccolo are ready to fight. It's a strange team-up, especially because future Piccolo's never fought alongside Vegeta before. An all-out battle ensues, and now without Zamasu as a crutch, Vegeta Black can't be healed, but his power allows him to contend against these two. Piccolo's unsure if this is overkill, but he'll be able to unfuse the Namekians from him if he needs to later on. They're just gonna have to wait a few months. And he mentions this to Vegeta, and Vegeta Black's confused. What did they do? And Piccolo smirks. He tells Vegeta Black he didn't give the Namekians enough credit, and Vegeta Black remembers that planet was empty. They weren't already dead. They just escaped. The Dragon Balls from that planet, they're still out there. And that must be why Piccolo got so strong here. Vegeta Black curses everything, cursing himself for making this mistake, and the anger fuels him, getting him even more power. But as he powers up, he's then restrained. Vegeta's sticking his hands out, utilizing magic to paralyze Vegeta Black, but it's taking all of his power and focus. And then Piccolo begins charging an attack. He gets larger again, beginning to charge a Makanko Sappo. Vegeta Black tries desperately to escape, and Piccolo launches the beam. At the very last moment, Vegeta Black is able to break free, barely getting out of the way of the blast. But then another blast hits him from the side. It doesn't do much damage, but it pushes him just a little bit, and it's enough to knock him right back into Piccolo's blast. As he's killed by this attack, Vegeta and Piccolo are completely confused. Who's here? And then they see, standing on a nearby rooftop is a golden glow. Future Vegeta is standing there with his hand sticking out, and he chuckles. So much for that imposter destroying everything. He makes eye contact with President Vegeta, still smirking, as he then teleports away. His job here is done. Well, at least they don't need to deal with future Vegeta, but they do wonder what he's going to be up to now. Back on Namek, the wish is made to revive everybody, although it's only able to get people in the past year, a limitation similar to Shenron. But that's okay because that gets everybody destroyed by Zamasu and Goku Black. Goku and Raditz wish they were able to get more involved here, but at least everything turned out okay. They didn't want to risk it, and they're amazed to see Piccolo's new power. When they head back to the past, Piccolo and future Gohan are able to catch up with their past selves, and they learn about this new form. Interesting. This really does intrigue Piccolo, and it really intrigues Raditz as well. With Piccolo being one of his main rivals here, he wonders about the possibilities. This Piccolo was already stronger than future Piccolo was when he got this power up, so imagine how strong this Piccolo could become if he gets that form, whatever it is. That's right, he never came up with a name. Future Piccolo just says it's Orange Piccolo. Okay, a little lame, but hey, the form itself is cool, and Piccolo is definitely intrigued. But it's not just Piccolo that's going to be working towards this new power here. Raditz is working towards something for himself too. Of course, he knows his brother's on the path to something different, but as the two have been training on Beerus' planet, Beerus has kind of caught Raditz's eye in terms of the powers that he has. It seems whatever Whis is trying to teach them isn't really working out for Raditz. It is working out for Goku though. And once again, Raditz felt like he was kind of left behind, falling behind his brother even though he had the head start. But he promises Goku he's going to get something far superior to whatever Whis is trying to get them to access. But he doesn't discourage his brother. He actually poses this as kind of a challenge. He knows Goku's about to get this power. They don't know what Ultra Instinct is, but that is what they were working towards. And he tells Goku flat out, he knows his brother will get it. But he's gonna get something different. He hopes to encourage his brother even further. The faster Goku grows, and the faster Piccolo grows, and the faster Vegeta grows, well, the faster Raditz is gonna grow. These three people that he contends with so often, he now has a pretty friendly rivalry with all of them. It's great. But where will it take him? Raditz and Goku are training on Beerus' planet together, each going down a different path now. Vegeta's there as well, going his own way. They don't really know how to train with him because he has a completely unique set of powers that even confuses Whis to some extent. There's Goku following Whis' path, Raditz following Beerus' path, and Vegeta following his own path. So while these three work towards some brand new power, let's go over to Earth. Last time, we did mention that Piccolo learned about the orange form that his future self got. He already has his ultimate form, but this is something completely different. What if he can access that form? He'll need some sort of catalyst for it maybe, a way to grow far beyond where he is now. But to do that, he's gonna need someone to train with. He wishes he were on Beerus' planet, training with Raditz, one of his biggest rivals. But another one of his rivals is still here on Earth, and that's Gohan. Of course, Gohan doesn't have some insane powers like he did normally, but he still is strong, and a great partner for Piccolo as his student and his friend. And of course, Goten's gonna wanna join along too, just because he sees his brother in Piccolo training and he wants to grow stronger as well. The three of them each start working towards something new. As for Gohan, there's probably a way for him to go above Super Saiyan 2. There's gotta be another form beyond it. He could feel it. Goten's wondering the same thing as well. Can he ascend Super Saiyan 2? Well, first he's gonna need to get Super Saiyan 2, which isn't exactly too hard. But as for Gohan, he's aiming for this new power above it. Maybe it'll be worth it, maybe it won't be. The big issue is he doesn't know exactly what he's aiming for. With Piccolo, he knows what he wants. He knows what he's trying to achieve, and he knows that he can achieve it. He's seen it, his future self got it, so he should be able to theoretically. And it's a good thing everyone's working towards something new. Some time passes, and eventually, we get to around the time when the Tournament of Power is about to start. Of course, Vegeta hasn't gone to Earth. He's been here because he has no responsibilities on Earth. Goku and Raditz have stayed here as well, and they've all made some great progress. Beerus has taken a liking to Raditz, working with him while Goku works with something else. He'd love to see the path that each of these three go down. It's a great competition. Each of them is growing strong in their own way, and who knows who's going to come out on top. And Beerus is particularly interested with what Raditz is doing, knowing that it's working pretty well, having seen it firsthand, and being the one who Raditz actually got these ideas from. And a perfect, not so perfect opportunity comes up for them. The Tournament of Power. It's not good because obviously everyone has the threat of being erased, but it's good because it's a great way for everyone to test their power. What better way to do this than having a battle royale where the winner gets to survive and everyone else dies? It's going to definitely push everyone over their limits, and it will allow them to have great fights. So, what's the team going to look like for this tournament? Well, it's actually pretty simple. We got Goku, Vegeta, and Raditz, the three obvious picks. Of course, Gohan and Piccolo are going to be there too, 5 already. Goten would probably join because he's actually training now, 6 characters. And the humans would probably be there as well, Tenshinhan, Roshi, and Krillin. But there needs to be one more, they only have 9 right now. For the 10th member, Goku suggests reviving some sort of enemy, but Vegeta and Raditz say no, especially because what he has in mind is Frieza. So why not just recruit Yamcha? The top 5 of them will be enough, and even if Yamcha can't really pick up the slack, hey, he gets to participate, and Yamcha's really stoked about this. Finally, they selected him. He'll definitely be the most valuable member of the team. Right at the beginning, they can see that the other universes have some pretty strong people, but also, Raditz notices that some of them are pretty weak too. The leader for the team this time is actually Piccolo. He's a great pick just like Gohan because he's very smart and very powerful, especially in this scenario, but his strategy is much different from what Gohan had in mind. He thinks that the weaker fighters should stick together, but as for everyone else who can't handle their own, don't let anyone hold them back. It's a harsh reality, but for some of the humans, it's probably better for them to stick alone than having someone protect them. And having these other fighters be free allows them to have much more, well, freedom. And of course, the Saiyans love this idea. Gohan does actually stick with Goten, just to make sure he's okay. The two are strong now, but these opponents are a lot stronger. Plus, the new power they've achieved should be enough to help them out here. And Goten's still a kid, so he needs to make sure he doesn't mess up anywhere. Raditz immediately rushes in, attacking whoever he could find. He could tell who's weak just by looking at them. And his strategy is to just basically blitz everybody. He essentially disappears, moving so quick that a lot of the weaker fighters can't see him. Goku joins in, liking his brother's strategy. The two of them eliminate a bunch of people together within the first minute, completely shocking the other universes. Vegeta sticks behind too. With his Majin powers, he can work as a great healer, and utilizing magic will definitely help them here. Plus, being able to stretch himself out means he has some pretty unique abilities. Utilizing his Majin powers, he's able to rip off a piece of himself, keeping it hidden in the ring. In case he is knocked out, well, he could essentially transfer all of his power to that other piece of him, making it so he's essentially anchored into the ring. It's very overpowered. Gohan and Goten like the strategy that their father and uncle are using, especially Goten. Gohan's not really sure about it at first just because it could be risky in case they fight the wrong person, but they decide to do so anyway. They eventually go up against the Pride Troopers, and right away, they decide to show off their full strength. They've been working on this form for a bit, and it does have some drawbacks, but they feel like they've worked on enough to make it useful here. A pillar of golden ki surrounds both of them. The brothers look at each other and nod as they begin powering up. Their power ascends far beyond where it was before, and their hair grows considerably. Also, their eyebrows go missing. This is what they call Super Saiyan 3. It even distracts Goku and Raditz for a brief second. Wow, they didn't know that form existed. I mean, obviously their god forms are better, but still. Good for Gohan and Goten. That's pretty cool that they unlock their own new forms. Raditz especially likes it. He thinks the long hair looks good on them. Not the no eyebrows, but the long hair, cool. The brothers blitz the Pride Troopers, as Goku and Raditz blitz some other fighters too. Piccolo tries to employ the same strategy, but then somebody attacks him. It's Hit from Universe 6, a powerful warrior, but Piccolo's not too worried. Hit's time abilities are kinda hard to work around at first, but Piccolo just needs to show off more of his strength, and now he finally has access to what he needs. After this year has passed, he's obtained the power that he's been working towards, and then some. Hit uses time skip, trying to attack Piccolo. He delivers a precise punch, but before it could hit, Piccolo grabs Hit's arm, and it's painful. Piccolo's arm then bulks up considerably, turning orange. Then, the rest of him follows suit, as his aura flares up, and he goes into his orange form. And he doesn't hesitate here. He lifts Hit up into the air, swinging him around with immense speed, flinging him out of the ring, and finishing him off with a mouth beam. The speed at which Universe 7 is fighting kinda shocks the other fighters. They're all terrified by it, and it makes them kinda sloppy too. This is a great strategy on Piccolo's part, especially because it makes some of the other universes hasty. For example, since Universe 6 just lost Hit, Kale and Caulifla decide to fuse right away, with Kefla and Kaba trying to fight Piccolo. But of course, they're no match for him. He one-shots the both of them, knocking them out, and then finishing off the rest of Universe 6. His final fight is against the two Namekians from Universe 6, and they each share a similar understanding of each other, all of them being fusions of other Namekians. This fight's pretty cordial and not as quick as the other ones, just because Piccolo's interested to learn about them, and they're interested to learn about that orange form. They respect Piccolo. What a fine Namekian. Universe 6 is eliminated, And with all the other universes acting hastily, Universe 3 then decides to fuse, creating Aniraza. Vegeta tries to use Force Spirit Fission, but because this is a robot, it actually doesn't end up working. Damn, that would have been the perfect opportunity for it. But it doesn't matter. He'll defeat this monster so no one else has to worry about it. Pink and purple lightning strike around him. The ground below him starts ascending upwards as he lifts himself up. No flying is allowed, but nothing's wrong with using magic to levitate. He starts undergoing a very mysterious transformation. His hair flickers pink. It's just like the rosé form that he's been shown to have before. But he's finally done what he needs to do. He's mastered both the powers of his Majin side and his godly side, combining the two of them together, using them in harmony. Aniraza tries to attack, punching Vegeta head on, landing it directly, but it does absolutely nothing. Vegeta doesn't even flinch. Instead, he shouts, powering up with the fierce aura surrounding him. It's that same aura from his rosé form, but Vegeta now looks very different. He's using that same Majin form he used so long ago, combined with the power of Super Saiyan Rosé. He has no clue what to call this form, but he has one name in mind. It's the culmination of all the divine power within him, from his God Ki, from Majin Buu, from his Super Saiyan Rosé form. He has a simple and elegant name in mind. Kinda taking notes from Vegeta Black. This new form is what he calls Divine Vegeta. With a single attack, Aniraza is eliminated. With everyone being pushed back by Universe 7, Universe 11 is now thinking their strategy through. Most of the team's been eliminated, except for the top 3 Pride Troopers, Toppo, Dispo, and of course, Jiren. Toppo and Dispo are pressuring Jiren to team up with them. These people are far too strong for them to fight alone, but with Jiren's power, they can definitely win here. But Jiren wants to work alone. He's not really too concerned about them. If it comes to it, he'll defeat them easily. And Goku and Raditz really do want to fight Jiren, but they're saving him for last, being able to tell that he's one of the strongest here. So instead, Toppo and Dispo have to pick up the slack, powering up fully, and Toppo holds nothing back, going into his God of Destruction mode, with Dispo going into his light speed mode. Dispo aims for Goku, and Raditz decides he's going to take on Toppo, and Raditz turns to Goku, powering up. This is their opportunity to show up their full strength. And Goku powers up, only going into blue with Kaioken on top of him. An impressive power, but not what Raditz was talking about. He saw Goku use something else before, and he wants him to use that. And he believes in his brother. He knows he's going to pull through with it. Raditz powers up, being surrounded by purple flames. He looks at Toppo head on. He's not the only one with the God of Destruction's power within him. Toppo recognizes what's happening, and as quickly as he can, he tries to lunge towards Raditz with an attack, trying to knock him out before he could transform. He launches a Hakai at the ground below Raditz, but before it hits, Raditz's aura flares up, with enough power in the aura alone to destroy Toppo's attack. The remaining Gods of Destruction look on, with their jaws dropped. A hand cuts through the purple flames as they dissipate, and slowly, Raditz walks up towards Toppo. He smiles. Now it's a much more even playing field. This is Ultra Ego. This absolutely terrifies Toppo and Dispo. Dispo even tries to attack Raditz, but Toppo tries to command him to stop, although it's already too late. Dispo's moves so quickly that he's almost at Raditz, ready to attack, but Raditz moves quicker. He swipes a hand to the side, and with such power, Dispo is sent flying through all the rocks nearby, outside of the ring, and Jiren takes note of this. Vegeta's form, Raditz's form. It might actually be too much, at least for Toppo. But Jiren's gonna end this quickly. It's kinda unfair that they're fighting Toppo all at once. Again, Jiren's not concerned about their power, but he does want to actually intervene here. A fight between Raditz and Toppo commences, and it's a destructive one. I mean, look at the forms they're using. Of course it's gonna be destructive. But Raditz's power far exceeds that of Toppo's, and Toppo's amazed. How is this possible? Raditz has embraced it. The ego that comes with this form, it fits him perfectly. He could tell. Toppo was reluctant. He hesitated to use this. But Raditz? He's already been using this. He's completely honed this power, learning the ins and outs of it, training under Beerus to work on it more. This power suits him, and he suits this power. Toppo winds up for a punch, channeling all his power into his fist, and as he launches it forward, Raditz effortlessly dodges it, countering with his own punch right to Toppo's gut. And once again, just like Dispo, he's knocked clean out of the ring. That was fun for Raditz, but he expected a little bit more with someone else using a God of Destruction's power. And Jiren slowly begins walking up towards them. Raditz, Goku, and Vegeta stand together, with Piccolo joining in too. All are at their max power. Well, except for one of them. Gohan and Goten watch on the side. They don't want to get in the way, but they are here to support if needed. Jiren has no emotion on his face. He just exudes pure confidence. And as he walks closer and closer to them, his aura flares up too. He commends them. Their power is beyond where he thought. Raditz and Vegeta defeated all their opponents with such ease, especially Raditz fighting someone like Toppo, and that's why Jiren's gonna show off his full strength. Jiren powering up actually makes everybody flinch, even Raditz and Vegeta, who are so powerful compared to everyone else right now. But they're still confident. They could do this. Raditz turns to Goku as he's standing next to him. He asks his brother once more, use that same power from before. They'll be sure to win if they do so. But Goku says he can't, and then Raditz grabs onto him, placing both hands on Goku's shoulders. Looking at his brother's face, it's so menacing right now, but Raditz is talking actually very calmly. And despite his appearance right now, Raditz is actually being very helpful. He looks his brother dead in the eye. He tells Goku he definitely can do this. They've done so many impossible things together, and his brother never fails to come through. And remember, the two of them are related after all. If Raditz could pull off something like this, Goku could definitely do what he has in mind. And Goku's shocked expression turns into a smile. To think that this was the same person that actively pushed him away so long ago. Now he's the one actually encouraging Goku, pushing him further. As Jiren walks closer and closer to them, Raditz sticks out a hand. He tells Goku he knows that power is tough to get control of. That's why he stopped pursuing it himself. But for Goku, it's something he can achieve. He has shown it before in their training. Even if he can't activate it willingly yet, he knows that Goku will find a way. With his hand stuck out, Goku then grabs it, shaking his hand. He nods, and his look turns into one of pure determination. The purple flames surrounding Raditz's hand are pushed back. An intense blue aura surrounds Goku's hand, but not the blue aura like they know from the Super Saiyan Blue form. Goku closes his eyes, calming his mind and heart. From far in the stands, everyone watches. Alongside the orange aura of Piccolo and the pink aura of Vegeta, the purple aura of Raditz begins swirling together with the one of Goku, with Raditz's intense aura being overpowered by the blue one from Goku. Raditz laughs, elated. His brother powers up once again, now completely emotionless. He always found it freaky how Goku had no emotions to that form, while Raditz has all emotions in this form. Goku looks at him with a blank face, with Ultra Instinct, while Raditz turns back to Jiren, laughing. He looks over at Vegeta and Piccolo. Vegeta looks relatively calm, and Piccolo's determined. Raditz assumes a battle stance, and he yells out to the four of them, "Let's do this!" His aura grows more intense, with Vegeta and Piccolo's as well, and Jiren is fully powered up. They all launch in together. First, Jiren is restrained by Vegeta's magical abilities, being paralyzed in place, but breaking free pretty easily, and then the ground below him erupts. Vegeta stretches out one of his arms, surrounding Jiren as he's also coated in all the rocks below. Piccolo also grows in size, and Vegeta tosses him up to Piccolo. Jiren tries to launch a blast point blank at Piccolo before he hits him, but Piccolo is able to catch Jiren midair. Jiren struggles to break free of Piccolo's fist, but point blank, Piccolo launches another mouth beam. Piccolo lets go of Jiren as the beam pushes him out of the ring, but Jiren tries to push it back with his own strength, and then he feels something behind him, a powerful kick delivered to his back from Raditz. Jiren then tries to launch a volley of ki blasts at Raditz, but Raditz effortlessly destroys all of them, and Jiren can feel an ominous presence behind him, an intense heat. He turns around, trying to punch at Goku, but Goku vanishes. Maneuvering around Jiren, Jiren tries to attack desperately, but all of his attacks are avoided. Goku simply jumps back, and it doesn't even look like his arms are moving, but he delivers 3 powerful punches right away, hitting Jiren right in the gut. It sends him flying backwards again, right into Vegeta, who kicks him up into the sky towards Piccolo. Piccolo simply slams his fist down, plunging Jiren right into the ring, and a streak of purple flames moves across the arena. Right before Jiren's about to hit the ground, he tries to launch a blast to propel himself upwards, but moving just as quickly as him is Raditz, performing a weakened point-blank Hakai, destroying Jiren's blast, as well as a huge portion of the ring in front of Jiren. Raditz is able to jump back in time, standing next to his brother. Jiren's falling to the void, about to launch a blast to knock himself back up. There still is hope for him, but it seems like it's too late. He looks up, seeing a blue glow from the two brothers. Raditz looks at Goku. Why not use one of his moves? He draws his hands back, cupping them together, as purple and blue energy swirl into it. And in a rare moment while on Ultra Instinct, Goku actually shows some emotion, being shocked by this. Raditz rarely ever uses this technique, but Goku does the same. And together, the two of them launch an ultra-powerful Kamehameha, fueled by the power of Ultra Instinct and the power of Ultra Ego. Jiren stands no chance. He's knocked clear out of the ring, and the tournament ends. Everyone powers down, with Goku falling to the ground, feeling very worn out from using Ultra Instinct. But Raditz once again sticks a hand out at him, and Goku grabs onto it, being pulled up by his brother. And Raditz smiles. He knew he could do it. Since he's still in the ring and is the leader, Piccolo was selected as the MVP. What could he use the Super Dragon Balls for? Well, he could make a really cool wish to make himself even stronger than he is now, but he's not going to be selfish about it. He kind of has an idea of what Zeno wants, wishing for all the other universes back. And even with this pivotal turning point, there's still more to go.
A breakout occurs at the Galactic Patrol prison. A strong prisoner who's been there for so long finally gets out. It's the magical planet eater Moro. However, there's 2 Galactic Patrol agents that have an idea of what to do. While there is no Boo on Earth, there are some other strong fighters that they know of, and they may be able to help here, especially with their godly powers. And it's weird because one of the Galactic Patrol agents actually knows this, Maris. The rest of the agents don't really question it and just go along with it. Godly powers? Not like they'd be able to tell. So, the Galactic Patrol goes to Earth. Thankfully, at the time that they get there, Raditz and Goku are on the planet,
and they're willing to go. Whoever this guy is, it'll be a perfect test of the new powers. Apparently he's pretty strong. Well, he's stronger than they might expect, in different ways than just pure strength. They warn Goku and Raditz. This guy has magical abilities that will allow him to steal people's energy. Whatever they do, they have to be careful. Them being strong is great, because that means they can defeat him easily, but it's a double-edged sword, because if they don't work quickly, or if Moro escapes somehow, it's going to work in his favor then. As they go further and further out into space, they could sense Moro's energy. It's terrifying. Unfortunately, without Goku being able to teleport, Moro is able to get to Namek first, and he makes haste, getting Dragon Balls as quickly as he can. Amidst his Dragon Ball hunt, eventually the Galactic Patrol arrives on the planet with Goku and Raditz. Things aren't looking good because Moro already does have some Dragon Balls, but also at the same time, he doesn't have all of them, so at least that's good. They could stop him before it's too late. Goku and Raditz immediately rush in. Moro is currently terrorizing a village, and suddenly senses two strong powers behind him. The Saiyan brothers lunge in towards Moro, and he blocks their attacks. Grabbing both their fists, starting to steal their energy. They're able to free themselves though. Damn, no key attacks and they can't let him touch them either. It's gonna be tough, but they could work around this energy absorption. And the two could transform to make this quick, but they don't want to give off more energy just in case. Instead of taking turns, the two fight together, aiming to kill Moro as quick as they can. But there is an issue that they're unaware of. While Moro fights Goku and Raditz, Cranberry is still out there, trying to gather some more Dragon Balls for Moro. It's a bit tough for him because there are some strong Namekians that he encounters, but by remaining covert, he's able to get the last two that they need, with Moro in possession of the other 5. And Moro can sense this. The Dragon Balls near him start levitating, and then a plume of lava comes out, as Moro makes his escape, going over where Cranberry is. Goku and Raditz waste no time. This might be an opportunity to try and kill him, but he's completely vanished. They don't know where he went and how he got away so quick. The sky turns black far away. Cranberry has summoned the dragon. Moro communicates his wish to Cranberry, and as the two brothers try to rush over, something attacks them. It's Moro, now with his youth restored. He tells them if they arrived a bit earlier, maybe they would have stopped him. But thanks to his loyal henchmen, his youth is now restored, and they're not going to be able to face him. And now they don't have a choice. They can't hold back. They have to at least use some of their full power. Both of them turn blue. This will at least allow them to maintain their ki, but also have powerful attacks. And it's tricky. They want to avoid getting their energy absorbed, but they also need to use energy to give powerful attacks to Moro. This guy won't just be testing their strength, but their technique too. Goku then goes into Ultra Instinct Omen. Raditz wonders why he's not using the white-haired form, but Goku says at least he's not using his full power right here. But this still might help him, and if it does end up working, he'll go to the white-haired form. And Raditz sees this might actually be a great idea, and tells Goku to act as a distraction. He goes into Ultra Ego. If Ultra Instinct allows him to face Moro and not be attacked, then Raditz can jump in, using Hakai on Moro. There's no way he could absorb that, right? And this starts to push Moro back. None of his attacks land on Goku, and he can't absorb his energy for some reason. And as for Raditz, he can, but he doesn't want to even try. The energy that Raditz is giving off is much different than before, and he's terrified of trying to absorb it. It might actually kill him if he tries, he doesn't know. Raditz tries launching a Hakai, and using telekinesis, Moro flings a rock in front of him, barely being able to protect him from the blast. More plumes of lava shoot up. He tries to escape once more, and Goku and Raditz see. They've cornered him. There's no way he could win now. But Moro escapes out into space, and they see his spaceship coming nearby. What, is he leaving already? But no, the spaceship then lands nearby, and they can still sense Moro's energy, but something's changed about it. The Galactic Patrol prisoners step out of the ship. Not too concerning to them, but then they're empowered by Moro. Okay, a little bit concerning, but not too bad. But then Moro steps off the ship, and he looks completely different. What the hell is this? He commends them for their efforts. They made him use his trump cards so early on. He absorbed 7-3, now having those powers assimilated within him. Of course, they don't know what 7-3's powers even are. This made Moro a lot stronger, but now he can also try and steal abilities from them. And his first task is stealing it from Goku. He doesn't want to try and get too close to Raditz because that could be risky still. Goku's body reacts on its own, but surprisingly it's not quick enough to react to this. Moro's hand briefly grazes Goku's neck. He's able to jump back, but it's already too late. He now has access to Goku's powers, including the complete Ultra Instinct if he needs to use it. But before he channels this power, someone else then teleports in. All the prisoners suddenly ascend up into the sky, each trapped in some sort of weird bubble, and they start disappearing one by one. Quickly, someone's teleporting around, grabbing them and bringing them back to prison. Moro tries to attack whoever this is, but he can't. And then the fighter reveals himself. It's Vegeta. He sensed this all going on and teleported in. He was off Earth training, and he's pissed. He could have been involved with this and stopped this before it even happened. But it doesn't matter now. Mayris watches on, and then he realizes who that is. That's Vegeta. He has the powers of Majin Buu. They wanted to find him, but couldn't. And obviously Buu was nowhere to be seen. They didn't know what happened there. They just knew Vegeta had his powers somehow. But Mayris actually knows the extent of it. He actually has Buu within him. And maybe this could turn the tide of the battle. Moro activates Ultra Instinct Omen. He wants to test out this power first before going to full power. Vegeta goes into attack, but Moro dodges. His first target is Goku. But not just to attack him. he goes in to actually eat Goku. Maybe it'll work the same way that it did with 7-3, increasing his power and allow him to use Ultra Instinct to its fullest. But someone then knocks Goku out of the way. It's Raditz. He sticks a hand out, launching a Hakai, and Moro's just barely able to dodge it. It grazes him, erasing some of his skin, but he's still able to maneuver around it, then grabbing Raditz by the neck, taking his powers and his energy, and he feels something strange within him. This strength. That Ultra Instinct thing was amazing, but this? He likes this even more. These destructive powers. Raditz turns around, quickly launching another Hakai, but it's countered by a Hakai. The two attacks connect with a massive explosion that flings Raditz back. Vegeta catches him, trying to heal Raditz a bit too. He restores both Raditz and Goku to full strength, and they watch. Raditz's eyes widen. No, he got that power too. Blue and purple flames surround Moro. Ultra Instinct, Ultra Ego. He should have absorbed 7-3 sooner. Too bad he had to break him out of prison first. But Moro can tell. This power is too much to use all at once, but he has both. He can switch between them because using both at once may be risky, although it could lead to a high reward. One of his fists is surrounded by an aura like Ultra Instinct, and one is surrounded by an aura like Ultra Ego. And he starts switching between the two. Vegeta goes into attack, not affected by Moro's energy absorption, but that doesn't even matter anyways. Moro already has enough energy in this fight. He'll just eat them later on when he kills them. Although that puts him in kind of a predicament. He doesn't really want to use the full powers of Ultra Ego because if he destroys these people, he can't eat them. But still, these attacks might be useful. He tries to grab Vegeta's neck as well, but Vegeta's able to avoid this. He can't let Moro get his powers too. Fine, if Vegeta's gonna be annoying, he'll just erase Vegeta. He sticks out a hand, charging a Hakai. But Raditz jumps in once more, countering with his own, and Moro grins. The perfect distraction. He wasn't actually gonna erase Vegeta, he just wanted to coax Raditz into attacking him. And Raditz successfully counters the attack. But then, Goku and Vegeta watch in horror as a hand erupts out of Raditz's back. He powers down into base, with Moro then drawing his hand backwards, and Raditz drops to the ground. Goku's aura flares up. Angered, he transforms into Ultra Instinct, powering up to his maximum, but having a hard time maintaining the form due to the anger clouding him. And he rushes in to try and save Raditz, with Moro grinning as he prepares to attack Goku. Goku's able to dodge it, and he tries to grab Raditz, but then Moro grabs him, and Raditz weakly says to Goku, "Go, leave him here." Vegeta tries to jump in too, but Raditz tells him, "Don't get too close. He can't let Moro get Vegeta's powers as well." But Goku tells Raditz he needs Vegeta's help. Vegeta needs to heal him. And Moro holds Raditz up. How clever of them. They saw through his trick. So what's it gonna be? Will Vegeta try to grab Raditz and heal him? Or are they just gonna leave him in Moro's hands to die? Raditz starts charging an attack in his hands, trying to use what little power he has left for a Hakai. Weakly he throws his arm in Moro's face, and the attack just dissipates. All his energy begins getting drained. Moro absorbs all of Raditz's power, and a purple glow flares up around him. What a great meal. Raditz looks over to Goku and Vegeta once more. They're helpless to do anything. His last word to them is just to go. As the purple aura grows larger and larger, Goku tries to rush in, but can't. Vegeta grabs him, teleporting up to where Mayris is, and then teleporting everyone there back to Earth. All of Namek is erased. Anyone that was on the planet at the time dies, including the Namekians there, most of Moro's crew, and of course, Raditz. Moro needs no help now anyways. This is all he needs. This strength, these abilities. No one can stop him. On Earth, Goku powers back down into base, slamming a fist into the ground. Vegeta apologizes. He was too late, and Goku sees that they teleported away. He's angered at first, angry that he couldn't do anything, but Vegeta reminds him they wouldn't have been able to save Raditz anyways. Goku tries to sense his energy, but he can't sense anything out there. And for what Vegeta could tell, the planet's gone too. There's no energy out there, none of Raditz's either, and Goku can't believe it. He's dead. But Vegeta tells Goku, it's fine. He says Raditz was very strategic about this. Doesn't Goku remember? Raditz never died before. And then it hits Goku. That's right, he can be brought back by the Dragon Balls. It completely slips his mind. All the emotions around Raditz's death made him completely forget. Not that he's not angry at Moro anymore. No, he's pissed beyond belief. Watching his brother die in an effort to save him, whether or not Raditz can be brought back, that sticks with Goku, and that's not going to go away. But hearing this at least comforts him a little, and he starts thinking clearly again. He thanks Vegeta. Had Vegeta not grabbed Goku, Goku would have done something stupid acting on emotion only, and he probably would have died as well. That was good and quick thinking on Vegeta's part. Vegeta heals Goku up too. Although, they can't use the Dragon Balls just yet, because then Vegeta senses something. Moro is heading right towards Earth. They don't want him to know that there's Dragon Balls here. Well, he might already know that actually. But in case he doesn't know, they don't want to reveal that to them. They don't want to collect the Dragon Balls and then have Moro show up, killing them and then taking another wish. But at least here, they can gather some allies. Moro launches towards Earth, as Goku and Vegeta try to get help from everyone that they could find. Moro is flying through space at a rapid pace. While on Earth, a team is made to defend against Moro. Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo will be on the front lines. They're amazed to hear about Raditz's death, but it should be fine. As long as the Dragon Balls stay safe, they can bring Raditz back, as well as pretty much everyone else that was just killed by Moro. They also get some of the humans to help, as well as Gohan and Goten, but Mayris then warns them. Moro's getting close. He's gonna be here any minute now. So the group all stands together, ready to fight. Moro's flying through space at immense speeds, dragging his crew's spaceship behind him, flinging it forward, launching it right towards Earth. The remaining living crew members are able to jump off just in time, starting to attack everyone as the ship hurtles towards the planet. Piccolo opens his mouth wide, launching a mouth beam at the ship, destroying it before it makes contact with the planet. With all the soldiers launching in as Gohan, Goten, and the humans go to fight them, a purple streak of light lands nearby. It's Moro, surrounded by those same flames of Ultra Ego, with his fur now being purple too. That Ultra Instinct power is nice, but he thinks he's going to rely on this, especially now with all the energy he's absorbed from Raditz. Goku, Vegeta, and Piccolo stand together, and Goku knows what he needs to do. He needs to control his anger here, or else he won't be able to use Ultra Instinct at its full power. He did it before. Raditz was the one that pushed him to do so, and he could do it again. He just needs to keep his emotions in check here. It's not that he can't do it, it's just, with the circumstances right now, it's tough for him to maintain it. Moro first starts off by trying to lend some energy to his fighters, but before he can, Vegeta uses Force Spirit Fission, taking that energy back. He wanted to do this before with Moro, but he couldn't. He didn't want to get too close and have Moro steal his energy just in case, but now that they've gauged Moro's power, Goku can act as a distraction. Piccolo will help too, and Vegeta will find ways to avoid this. Piccolo starts the battle with a powerful Ki Blast at Moro. He tries to absorb it, but Vegeta is able to negate the magic. The blast hits Moro head on, and he takes the whole brunt of it. It actually does damage him, but he laughs. With Ultra Ego, he actually shouldn't be absorbing attacks. He should just take them, take the full force of them. And this lets him realize it. He pounds his chest, welcoming the three to attack him. Goku then goes into Ultra Instinct, trying to maintain the white-haired version, but flickering in and out of it, mostly fighting an Omen. Vegeta just needs to get in close, steal some of Moro's energy. He can't separate 7-3 from it, but he can at least try that. He's honed all of his spirit control and magic by this point. He's the perfect match for Moro, as long as they can keep him distracted. But Goku needs to get control of his emotions, and he realizes that. Moro is powerful now, but not too strong where they can't fight him. You also gotta remember too, he immediately went to Earth. He didn't have 2 extra months of absorbing other planets or whatever. He has 7-3 absorbed with the powers of Goku and Raditz, as well as the energy from Namek and all the people around there. Definitely a formidable opponent, but not nearly as formidable as he could be. Although, Ultra Ego's a problem. He grows stronger the more attacks he takes. And also, the Hakkais are an issue. Piccolo actually can't attack as much. With Goku, he could at least dodge the attacks, with Ultra Instinct allowing him to act on his own. Goku acts more defensive, while Piccolo's more offensive, and Vegeta's somewhere in between. But as the battle continues, Vegeta looks over at Goku. He closes his eyes. He tries to maintain that control. The anger he feels towards Moro is intense, but he can control his emotions. This is for Raditz after all. They need to bring him back as well as Namek, and he can't do that if he can't keep his emotions in check. They continue brawling. Moro grows stronger and stronger, launching Hakkais left and right that are hard to avoid. But Goku's finally able to do it. With a powerful burst of energy, he goes into Ultra Instinct, completely emotionless and calm. And Moro chuckles. He's finally using his full power. What? He's not pissed off at Moro anymore for killing his brother? And Goku just looks at Moro. He is. He's angered beyond belief, which is why he needed to control himself. That way, he'll be able to defeat Moro. And Moro does something surprising. His fur then goes from purple to white. Fine. Looks like it's time to use this other power too, utilizing Ultra Instinct as well. He and Goku begin battling, and this actually helps. Without him using Hakkais, Piccolo and Vegeta can get in closer, and they act as support throughout the battle. Moro sticks a hand out at Goku, charging a blast, but Vegeta then paralyzes the hand, and Goku sees the gem right in the middle, lunging his hand forward right at it and breaking the gem. Vegeta then paralyzes Moro's other hand, lifting it up in the air, and Moro's about to break free of Vegeta's grasp, but Goku grabs his other hand, crushing it. Both of the gems are now destroyed, and Vegeta can go in now without having fear of his power being taken, with Piccolo lunging in too. The three start overwhelming Moro. It's pushing him into a corner once again. Ultra Instinct won't work. Ultra Ego won't work. Why not the two together? His fur then flickers again. One side's purple, one side's white. One of his eyes is silver, one of his eyes is a reddish magenta color. His aura is an ominous mix of Ultra Instinct and Ultra Egos. This is Ultra Moro. The power of both of them combined. It's overwhelming. They can't do anything against it. Although, something strange begins happening. The power. Moro can't contain it. There's so much. He's been fighting at full power with both of them for so long, and now utilizing both of them together, it's damaging his body. He begins warping, and his body begins breaking apart. He could merge with Earth. That will help. But he doesn't even have the chance to do so. As his body contorts, Vegeta holds Moro in place, and Goku begins charging an attack. An attack for Namek, an attack for everyone Moro's terrorized, an attack for Raditz. He launches a Shining Friday at Moro, blasting him off into space as he explodes far away from the planet. They all power down, descending towards the ground below. They did it. Or so it seems. As Vegeta goes around healing everyone, they sense something very weird. That explosion out in space. It wasn't Moro exploding. It was just the beam exploding. They look up in space, and they see from the sky above, a figure descends down below, and behind him, they see the moon. But they're terrified as they realize what they're looking at. The moon, it has Moro's face on it, and Ultra Moro descends down to Earth. He tells them that was a close call. Thankfully, he was able to contain that power by merging the rest of him with the moon, and then splitting out this piece of him. Time for round 2. And worst case, now with his main body being the moon itself, if he loses here, he'll destroy the planet another way. Let's rewind a few hours. Raditz opens his eyes, and he sees, well, he doesn't know where the hell he is. There's yellow clouds everywhere, a giant pink demon-looking guy, and some path in the shape of a snake. The man introduces himself as King Yemma, telling Raditz he's in Otherworld and was allowed to keep his body. They're not sure how long he's going to be here or if it's going to be permanent, but in the meantime, he can head over to one of Goku's old friends. And just like that, Raditz disappears. King Yemma doesn't even realize. He moved that quickly? He arrives on King Kai's world with a shockwave. King Kai and his pals are blown back, being flung around the planet, and Raditz catches him, apologizing, not realizing that he'd land on such a small place. King Kai asks Raditz how he feels, and it's surprising. Raditz felt a lot of pain before, but now he feels perfectly fine. He thought he'd go to hell, but apparently he's been redeemed. Who would have thought? But King Kai tells him to consider what he's gone through. It's definitely been long enough and he's become a much better person. So, what are they supposed to do now? Well, Raditz can just wait. King Kai says they're probably going to try to revive him with the Dragon Balls, but in the meantime, Raditz has a couple ideas of what they should do. He asks King Kai if he has any good alcohol around. Really? At a time like this? Fast forward an hour and King Kai is no longer terrified of Raditz. The intimidation he felt is gone because now, the two of them are drunk together. Raditz is mostly surprised to find out that dead people can get drunk too. But amidst their drinking, Raditz realizes, oh crap, he could use this time to learn some new techniques maybe. Well, King Kai says there's not really anything to teach him right now. There is Kaioken, but that might take a while to teach and he doesn't know if Raditz will actually have any use of it. Also, King Kai's not really in a proper state to teach right now. Thankfully, Raditz is actually okay, with a much higher tolerance. But King Kai says he knows exactly where to send Raditz. There's something he can learn from a few other people in Otherworld. As he sends Raditz off, King Kai gets in his car. Raditz tells him to watch out with that, and King Kai says he's fine to drive. As Raditz leaves, King Kai drives a little bit around his planet and then crashes into a tree, with Raditz watching from far away. How did he manage to do that? Now we go back right to where we left off. Of course, Goku and Vegeta immediately jump back in the fight with Moro. Most of Moro's power is stored within the moon because that's the only way he can contain it. But even so, there's no way for Goku to finish Moro off. At one point he is able to destroy one of Moro's bodies, but another one comes out of nowhere. Vegeta tries to help as well, and he realizes that he's probably going to have to go to the moon itself if he wants to solve this. But at the same time that's kind of tough because Moon Moro is launching a bunch of beams right down at Earth. Everyone's trying to defend against it, and his sights are set on Vegeta because he knows Vegeta's probably going to try to come up there. And since that's where most of his power is stored, the attacks coming from the moon are incredibly powerful. Ultra Moro is just too much for them to handle. But if they had a little more power, a little more time on their side too, maybe they could figure out a way to rectify this. Vegeta splits a piece of himself off, which morphs into a clone of him, then teleporting to the moon. One of the good things is the moon probably won't be able to absorb his power because it has no arms, and Moro's gems aren't working anymore. He's going to attempt to do Force Spirit Fission on the moon, but it might not be a quick process, especially since he's dividing his power up. Some of him still needs to remain here so Piccolo and Goku have some help defending Earth. If they had Raditz here, that would be great. Once again, a massive attack is launched from the moon. The mouth on the moon opens, launching a giant beam, with Piccolo, Goku, and the main Vegeta defending against it. Piccolo even cracks a joke mid-battle, saying that once again him and Goku are combining their power against the power of Raditz. Kind of, in a weird way. As they counter this beam, another copy of Moro flies down, trying to interrupt him. But that copy of Moro disappears, vanishing into dust. They sense a familiar key and see a purple flash of light on the battlefield. A pillar of purple fire erupts, launching a fiery red beam out of it, which then helps destroy the beam that Goku, Piccolo, and Vegeta are trying to defend against. A menacing silhouette walks through the flames. Glowing eyes can be seen through the fire. Also, they smell tobacco and alcohol for some reason, but they can immediately tell who it is. Thankfully, Shenron has grown better over the years and has kind of improved. And while these three were fending off against Moro, a couple other fighters spearheaded by Gohan were able to gather the Dragon Balls. The big issue is the fact that Namek was erased. But as they make the wishes, they figure out it was only Namek that was erased. All the other planets, they're still there. And the people on Namek, they weren't Hokkaido, they just died from the explosion and being in space. They were concerned about this because if everyone was erased, they couldn't be revived. But as they make their wishes, they come to realize they actually weren't erased. So they're gonna have to make a really specific wish here. 1. Restore the planets that have been destroyed. Of course, this doesn't include Namek. 2. Bring all the good souls from Namek here. Once they solve this issue, they'll find them another planet. And 3. Revive all the good people killed by Moro. They didn't even notice the sky turned dark because they were so distracted by the moon and the fact that the sky was already filled with smoke over here. Those purple flames dissipate as Raditz steps through them, lighting another cigar with his aura alone. He takes a puff of it, thanking King Kai. They really do have great cigars and alcohol in Otherworld. Goku's elated, as is everyone else. Raditz is finally back, and Moro laughs. Great, He can kill Raditz twice. Better yet, absorb his power too. 2 snacks for the price of 1. Raditz points at Moro, or I guess the moon. He doesn't know where to look. He's not gonna have such an easy time here. And this is Vegeta's cue. It's a perfect distraction. He splits off another piece of himself, which teleports up to the moon too, merging with that other Vegeta out in space. Slowly starting to use Force Spirit Fission on the moon. They can finally start taking his power. But they are still gonna need to buy some time. It's like Vegeta told them, it's not gonna be a quick process. Especially if he gets noticed up there, which Moro might actually notice him soon. And he already knows Vegeta is a threat. He just hasn't seen him go up to the moon yet. Raditz joins in on the fight, fending off against more Moro clones. Goku asks where Raditz ended up. Surprisingly, another world. And Raditz says he didn't see their parents, which he's not really surprised about considering they were genocidal warriors after all, and didn't have as much time to redeem themselves like Raditz or Vegeta. And yeah, Goku never really thought about that, but isn't too surprised. But he's glad to see Raditz met King Kai. So, did he learn any cool techniques from him? And Raditz says he didn't learn something from King Kai, but he mentioned something he saw in the Tournament of Power that could have been useful. He wanted to see if he can get some of those Potara earrings, you know, the ones that those Saiyans from Universe 6 used. Vegeta's also mentioned before that his Force Spirit Fission can undo fusion, so maybe they could try fusing, but he wasn't able to get any Potara earrings. Instead, King Kai had another idea, a technique for Raditz to learn that could do kind of a similar thing, without the need for Potara earrings. And Goku's amazed, not realizing that was possible. He should have learned that when he was with King Kai decades ago. Raditz learned it so quickly too, and he says it's because it's a dance. A dance? But he warns Goku, if they screw it up, well, they're pretty much screwed. They have to get this right in one try. But if it works, it'll be amazing. Moro's using the power of Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego together, so maybe they can too. Well, maybe it'll work. He's not entirely sure. But first, they need to match each other's powers. They need to buy some time too, and Piccolo says he'll do that. If they only need a few moments, he'll try and distract Moro, with the copy of Vegeta that's on Earth. Raditz and Goku power down into Super Saiyan Blue. This way they can match each other's strength. Piccolo and Vegeta charge into the front lines, trying to distract Moro, and Moro doesn't know what they're trying to do. Why'd they power down? Are they already tapping out? That's what he assumes. Piccolo and Vegeta are just trying to defend them, because Raditz and Goku are too weakened, which is kind of funny. Raditz just got here and he's already tired out. And Moro hasn't even tried to drain their energy yet. At least, not to its full extent. But the distraction works. And thankfully, Goku's able to get it down on the first try. The fusion dance is a success. A blue pillar of light pops up, distracting Moro. The moon opens its mouth once again, launching another massive beam, concentrated on where that pillar of ki is. The beam makes contact with something, and then just dissipates. It was stopped, and not by an attack, but by the aura of whatever this fighter is. The aura slowly dissipates. Moro looks on shocked. The aura alone was enough to defend against that? And there stands a fighter, one that looks kind of like Goku and kind of like Raditz, with blue hair. The fusion jokes too. He needs a name. Maybe they should combine their two names together too, just like a fusion would. The man introduces himself as a Raditz, telling Moro that he's about to face defeat at the hands of the two brothers. He tries to transform, utilizing both Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego at once, but he's only able to go into Ultra Instinct, which is still great, but why didn't it work? Why can't he use both at once? At least with Ultra Instinct, he's able to dodge all of Moro's attacks while he tries to think through everything. But it hits him. The two forms, they inherently conflict, and using both great powers together might actually run down the fusion even further. But that makes sense. It explains why Moro was so unstable, trying to use both powers at the same time. But even if they can't use the powers at the same time, they can still use both of the powers, just separately. Raditz tries this out, switching into Ultra Ego, easily Hakkaiing one of Moro's clones. It worked, and actually, this is perfect. With the power of Ultra Instinct, his body's reacting on its own too. So when he attacks, he automatically switches into Ultra Ego and immediately back into Ultra Instinct. The way he maneuvers himself, all his movements, they're done by Ultra Instinct, but all the attacks, they're performed by Ultra Ego. Also, he is incredibly fast, but with so much going on at once, he does take one occasional attack, and his body's smart enough to react on its own, turning to Ultra Ego when taking those attacks, growing stronger as he does so. He's the ultimate warrior. Nothing can stop him now. He rapidly starts jumping around, with more Moro clones coming down to the surface of Earth. Thankfully, Vegeta's still draining energy from Moro, but since it isn't working fast enough, Raditz' plan is to just destroy the moon. Not really ideal, but hey, it wouldn't be the first time they lost the moon. And Moro sees what they're trying to do. Raditz flies up farther and farther, getting close to the atmosphere. One hand is behind him, charging Hakkai. The other hand is used to attack the Moro clones, destroying them with ease, even using them as footing to jump off of to propel himself up even further. Thanks to the guidance of Ultra Instinct, the moon's expression changes. Looking angry, frustrated, the moon is surrounded by a brilliant glow. A purple light. Fine. If they want to play like that, he'll do the same. He wanted to enjoy them as snacks. But there's no point if he's gonna die here. He'd rather preserve himself. The Moon Moro is empowered by Ultra Ego. No more clones appear. 2 giant arms grow out of the moon, and the moon starts barreling towards Earth. And it's only just now that Moro notices. He feels weaker. As he tries to summon all the power, some of it's missing. Vegeta's been attacking him this entire time he didn't even realize. He creates one Moro clone to try and attack Vegeta in space, but Vegeta's already gone, with that clone of him returning back to Earth, assimilating into the main Vegeta. Now it can use Spirit Fission remotely, draining energy from the moon as it draws closer and closer to Earth. But as Vegeta uses Force Spirit Fission, he realizes a lot of the energy he's stealing from the moon, some of it is Raditz's. Actually, a good chunk of it. He tried returning most of it to Namek where it originally was from, but there's a lot left over, some from Goku and most from Raditz. He separates it out, then flinging an orb of energy up at Raditz, empowering the fusion even further. One of the moon's arms barrels towards Earth, trying to punch Raditz, but he lifts an arm up, defending against it, as the arm then gets eradicated by a Hakai. The other arm punches him, but instead of blocking it, Raditz punches right through it, quickly shifting to Ultra Ego, penetrating right through the moon, leaving a hole right in the middle of it glowing purple, and Moro can't regenerate from it. He turns around. The moon in the sky looks massive. It's much closer to Earth than it should be, and once more, it unhinges its jaw, launching a massive mouth beam right out in space. But Raditz is still charging that attack. With one hand drawn behind him, he then puts the other hand backwards, cupping the two together. The beam gets closer and closer, and he waits for the right time, also maneuvering himself so Earth doesn't get caught in the blast. He'll call this a destructive shining Kamehameha, launching it at Moro's beam. An army of Moro clones launches out of the moon as the moon grows smaller and smaller, trying to launch their own attacks in unison with the moon. But nothing works. The attack hits Moro's attack directly, penetrating right through it, erasing it as well as erasing all of the other Moro clones. This isn't just a normal beam attack, it's imbued with the energy of a destroyer. It's essentially a long-range Hakai, and it hits the moon head-on, first launching it far away into space, then exploding with a brilliant light, turning into dust in the middle of nowhere. Raditz flickers back into Ultra Instinct, with his body launching himself back down to Earth, not even realizing how close he was to exiting the atmosphere. That would have been disastrous, and immediately after, he defuses, with the two brothers descending downwards onto the planet. Raditz jokes with Goku. Well, at least he didn't merge with Earth. The moon, that's replaceable. The two laugh as everyone else rushes up towards them. They can't believe it. They actually did it. Moro has been defeated, and everything is restored back to normal. Well, besides the moon. But in the grand scheme of things, that is not a major loss at all. So what happens following this? Well, the events of the Granola arc might still be set into motion, with a piece of 7-3 being found on Earth, and the arc starts much like normal. Granola makes a wish to become the strongest in the universe, because even without Frieza out there, he still gets word from the Heaters that Saiyans are out there. Not to mention, the Heaters are out there too. He wants to become strong enough to destroy them as well. The Heaters say that the Saiyans that are out there are apparently very strong, which encourages Granola to do this. All he needs to do is destroy them, and then he'll be safe. There's no Frieza to get rid of because there's no Frieza. The Heaters go to Earth, getting Raditz involved in their scheme too, not just Goku and Vegeta. Vegeta can tell something is very off though, and due to his suspicion, he tries to read the minds of everybody on the ship. An ability from his Majin side that should be very useful here, because he figures out the true motives of the Heaters. Goku and Raditz are chilling on the ship, and suddenly they hear a bunch of explosions. The ship begins shaking a bunch, and Raditz is pissed. He was just enjoying the minibar here, and Goku was enjoying the amenities too. Vegeta then teleports over to them, saying he'll explain on the way. He teleports the two of them out of there as the ship explodes. They arrive on a strange planet. This is Planet Cereal, and Vegeta explains everything to them. Apparently, the Heaters were just tricking them, and he knew their motives, so he just killed them on the spot. Without Frieza around, it left a power vacuum, and it only was natural for the Heaters to try to take advantage of that. They would have become the next Frieza Force, so now they're gone. But what about that guy that they were supposed to fight? Well, their question is answered immediately, because right when they arrive on the planet, a bunch of Ki Blasts fly out from a forest nearby. Vegeta jumps in front of Goku and Raditz, taking the brunt of them. They all do a lot of damage, but Vegeta just simply regenerates from it. Not a big deal. Granola steps out confused, and Vegeta tells Granola not to attack. He could explain everything. He understands why Granola might be concerned right now, especially with a bunch of Saiyans here, but Vegeta could tell him everything about who they are, why they're here, and what actually happened. Granola doesn't really want to hear it, and he attacks Vegeta again, but they do nothing to Vegeta. Yeah, the Vital Point attacks are very good, but against someone that can infinitely regenerate, it's not really going to do much. He's able to stretch one of his arms out, wrapping it around Granola, holding him so he can't escape. He just wants to explain. Actually, he could do something even better. He places a hand on Granola's forehead, essentially transferring the information right into Granola's mind. There, that was quick. He lets Granola go, and Granola tries to process all the information. First of all, how the hell did Vegeta do that? But that was also explained. He's not really Vegeta. He's something else too. But that's besides the point. Everything was explained to Granola. The Saiyans aren't threats. The Heaters were, and they're dead now. They just avoided a very big misunderstanding. And this is all very weird for Granola. Vegeta says they don't need to bother him any longer. He does seem pretty strong though, so maybe they'll get to see him again one day. Vegeta apologizes for the inconvenience, turning back to the two brothers. who just look on completely speechless. Damn, what a waste of a trip. Well, at least Raditz got to raid the Heater's minibar. They had some pretty good space alcohol there, and he asked Vegeta, can he make a shot glass out of thin air or something? Vegeta looks at Raditz and it looks like he's disappointed at first, but then he bursts out into laughter. He creates 4 shot glasses, and Raditz chuckles. He beckons Granola over there. At least let him buy Granola a shot for his troubles. Granola has no idea what to do, so he walks over awkwardly, and the 4 of them all take a shot together. Here, he leaves Granola with a bottle too. Consider that a gift for his troubles. Vegeta then teleports the other 2 away, with Granola not knowing what to think at all. That shot was good though, although probably not a good idea. His lifespan is already short to begin with, so maybe the alcohol wasn't the smartest option. Yes, the Red Ribbon Army still wants their revenge. They think they could actually win this time. They have the perfect plan too, another cell. But there's some conflict amongst the Red Pharmaceuticals crew because Dr. Hato wants to create some Gammas, some more heroic androids in his mind. So we're going to be heading right into Superhero, but the events here pan out way differently thanks to the way it begins. Gamma 1 and 2 are created, but there's a pretty big issue. They can't attack Piccolo just yet. Despite their great strength, well, Piccolo is even stronger. And that's just Piccolo too. There's other people that are too strong for them to face. So the attack doesn't commence right away. Rather, Red Pharmaceuticals is left unchecked. More Gammas are actually built. Gamma 1 and 2 are the originals still. But the other ones, well, it's exactly what Dr. Hato wanted. A whole army of Gammas, led by Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Magenta and Carmine still do want Cell Max made, but Dr. Hato's convinced this will work. They won't need to resort to that monster. And hey, worst case, the Gamma army will buy them some time. If they're somehow defeated, which they won't be, well, by then, Cell Max's brainwashing will be complete. And he'll be complete, actually. There's no plot from Piccolo to try to get Gohan to train again, because he's actually already pretty fine with that. And the Red Ribbon Army doesn't even attack just yet, so there's no reason for Piccolo to start that plan anyways. But one day near his house, an android shows up. One of the Gammas. He starts a fight with Piccolo, and pretty easily, Piccolo's able to defeat this Gamma. Noticing a badge on his jacket, the Red Ribbon Army, another Gamma appears, and then a few more. Piccolo's able to fend all of them off, having to resort to using his ultimate form, but still, it's pretty effortless once he transforms. Then a huge wave of Gammas come his way. What the hell's going on? It seems endless, and from up above, he can see 2 of them standing over. They have numbers on them. The rest of them, they're not actually numbered at all. 1 and 2 watch on. They'll get involved if needed. Not that they're too much stronger than any of the other Gammas, but they're mainly serving as the commander of the Gammas. Piccolo goes up to attack them, wanting to get some answers, but more Gammas start attacking him, preventing him from reaching 1 and 2. Gohan senses this as well, flying over in Super Saiyan 2, and he knows that these guys are actually pretty strong. But even though he's just using Super Saiyan 2 here, he's fine. Plus there's Piccolo there to help him. But it's endless. The Gammas keep coming. Before there was only a few of them fighting Piccolo and Gohan at once, but now there's a whole army. They're swarming everywhere like bugs. Piccolo has to power up into his orange form. They can't believe it. This many androids at once? How are they supposed to win here? Gamma 1 and 2 watch on. Happy. This will be good. The Gammas will wipe out Gohan and Piccolo, and then they can move on to their next targets. Piccolo's overcome by most of the Gammas, showcasing more strength than Gohan and trying to protect Gohan too. But Gohan tells Piccolo to focus on protecting himself here. Don't worry about him. But Piccolo can't help it. The 2 are overrun by this army, with the area completely filled with Gammas. Gamma 2 tries to scan the area. He can't even see Gohan or Piccolo, as a tsunami of Gammas flies in. But as he's scanning, he notes something strange. Gamma 1 detects it as well. It's back at Red Pharmaceuticals. Cell Max. He's been awakened. But at the same time, Gamma 2 then notices another power. He scans the area, as a huge explosion occurs, knocking all the other Gammas back. All he sees there is Piccolo laying on the ground, still in his orange form, barely being conscious. But then a massive laser sweeps across the area, instantly eliminating all the Gammas. They look at the source of the laser, and they see, floating above Piccolo, there's Gohan, pushed to the limit, and furious. He's awakened a new power that's been dormant within him. Piccolo looks up not even knowing what this is. Gamma 1 and 2 look on with concern, as Gohan glares at them. He lifts a hand up, charging a quick blast, about to eliminate them as well. But then he senses the same thing that the 2 Gammas detected. It's a fearsome energy, and he asks the 2 of them. They must know what that is. What is it? Start talking. Gamma 2 tells him it's no use anyways. These 2 villains right here, they'll be defeated by Dr. Hato's newest weapon, Cell Max. A massive gust of wind echoes through the area, and Gohan looks on in pure disbelief. It's Cell. He looks different, but he looks like that Cell that he fought before. What the hell is a Cell Max? And Cell smirks. Why is Gohan so surprised? Oh, he could see why. He probably thinks it's the same Cell from before. But Cell says no, that's not the case. He's a completely new Cell. He's perfect. A new definition of perfect, actually. The other Cell may have been perfect in his own way, but he was outdated. This Cell, he's so much better. And he won't fail here. He clashes with Gohan. And even with this new power Gohan just awakened, he's surprised. He's struggling with Cell. Weakly, Piccolo gets back up, joining in on the fight too. trying to help to the best of his abilities. And Cell Max says he's amazed. He didn't even recognize his own power. This'll be a great test for it. The two Gammas watch on, wondering how this is gonna go. They didn't expect Gohan to get some new power here, but Cell Max should still be fine. And then they hear a weird sound behind them as Vegeta teleports Goku and Raditz in. They sensed everything that was going on, and Goku looks on excited. Awesome! Gohan has a new form. Is that Ultra Instinct? He can't actually tell, but he has white hair. Raditz tells his brother to stop being a goof. Just try and sense that energy. It's not godly at all. And it feels completely different from Ultra Instinct. But more importantly, Raditz is interested in who Gohan's fighting. And he asks these two other people here. Who are they? Do they have any idea of what's going on? And Gamma 1 and 2 just look on in shock. They knew they were going to encounter these three eventually, but not so soon. Goku notices the red ribbon logo on their jackets. Oh great, more androids. That explains the Cell-looking dude. But Vegeta could sense Cell Max's energy. It's not the same Cell as before. Raditz and Goku note this too. And Raditz turns over to the Gammas, smiling menacingly. How about this? Give him some info and he won't instantly eliminate the Gammas. He'd be perfectly justified in doing so. I mean, they are red ribbon androids. He's not going to deal with that nonsense again. You know what? Raditz has a perfect way to settle this. He powers up into Ultra Ego, jumping in to help Gohan and Piccolo. Telling Gohan his new form looks pretty cool, and he's started to barge in on Gohan's fight. But they really should end this now. But Gohan says that's what he's trying to do. Wait, what? Raditz thought this was taking so long because he was trying to test his power or something, but no, Gohan's actually struggling here. Cell Max is holding back actually, and his strength, it's unfathomable. Quickly, Raditz tries to Hakai him, but then Cell looks over, smirking as he does his own Hakai, with the two Hakais colliding, generating a massive explosion that completely levels the area. Piccolo's pretty pissed by this. Why does this have to be at his house, or what's left of it now because it's completely erased? Raditz sighs. Great, another Hakai user just like Moro. The complete Cell Max is way too strong. And Raditz looks over to Gohan. He did this before. He could defeat Cell again. He knows it, especially with that great power his nephew has. And you know this is kind of giving him deja vu. Gohan getting a new spiky-haired form that makes his hair a lot bigger as well, against Cell of all people? Yeah, this is probably gonna go the same way, but Gohan isn't so sure. This seems different. This Cell. He has no idea of what to do against him. Not to mention, he has all the powers of everybody here that they've gained since then. They just watched Cell use the Hakai. Who knows what else he could have? Cell sarcastically claps, commending Gohan for this observation. That is right, he has everybody's abilities. Goku flies over too. Well, they defeated Moro last time who had everyone's abilities, so who's to say they can't do the same here? Raditz tells Goku, they should fuse again. Raditz will definitely be able to win here. And Goku tells Raditz that's a good call. But Cell laughs at this. Do they forget? He has everyone's abilities. That includes Vegeta's. Damn it, that flew over Vegeta's head too. That means Cell has 4 Spirit Fission. Any fusion that they do, it can just be completely undone by Cell. Cell says it's a nice try though. The group fights Cell Max together, with Gamma 1 and 2 watching on. Cell Max definitely is interesting. But something is strange here. These guys are apparently villains, but they're not really acting like it. If anything, Cell is more so acting like a villain. But it doesn't matter. They believe in what they were told, so they continue observing, hoping that Cell Max will win here. Vegeta's trying to think over a strategy in his head. Fusion could really help here, but they can't fuse against Cell, he'll just undo it. Unless... wait, he has the perfect plan. Telepathically, he communicates with everyone. He's about to do something strange, but just trust him on this. Raditz doesn't really like the sound of that, and Piccolo's not sure what he has in mind either. But Goku and Gohan, well, maybe it's okay. It's not like this is the same Vegeta before, so whatever he got planned here, it's definitely gonna help. They could trust him. And then they see there's some goo wrapping around all their legs, just like what Majin Buu did. And they see exactly what's going on here. Vegeta's absorbing all of them. Alright, never mind, Goku and Gohan don't like this. But Vegeta says it's fine. This is only temporary. He'll let them out after doing so. And obviously Cell could see this all happening. He's intrigued. He'll just unfuse them. But Vegeta says Cell's miscalculating here. Vegeta knows the ins and outs of 4 Spirit Fission. If Cell tries to use it against him, Vegeta knows how to defend against it, how to prevent it from even happening. And this way, a fusion can work. His own abilities with Spirit Control will actually defend against Cell's Spirit Control abilities. Great. Raditz didn't see his day going like this, being absorbed by Vegeta. And while Goku's kind of freaked out by this, you know what? He trusts that Vegeta will let them out afterwards. He is a pure-hearted being now, after all. If this were the Vegeta they knew before, then it would be an issue. They all assimilate into Vegeta as Vegeta tries to hold off Cell on his own, with Vegeta seeing an exponential increase in power, and Cell Max chuckles. What an interesting fusion. Vegeta tries to charge up energy, and as he taps into his reserves of ki, he notices he has much more than he ever could have expected. He powers up into his divine form, but this isn't any normal divine form. This is Ultra Divine Vegeta. At least, that's what he calls it. The name seems fitting. He taunts Cell too. If he's so perfect, he should be able to win here. And Cell starts attacking Vegeta, but nothing can be done against him. They were able to hold Cell Max off before, but now, Vegeta is completely overpowering him. He simply glares at Cell Max, and just the movement of his eyes alone are enough to fling Cell back. And Vegeta's gonna try to finish this as quickly as possible. Cell's enraged now. He grows in size, declaring that he won't lose here. He's surrounded by a furious purple aura, utilizing the power of Ultra Ego. And Vegeta laughs. He could do that too. He activates Raditz's powers. If needed, he could use Goku's as well, utilizing Ultra Instinct. The rage of Gohan burns within him as well, fueling him as he fights. His potential and power soar far beyond where they were before. The two of them clash in a battle of raw strength. Vegeta starts doing something strange too. He rips pieces of himself off, throwing them around the area. Cell constantly tries launching Hakais at Vegeta, but they do nothing against him. He could defend against that too. At points in the battle, he taps into Ultra Instinct as well, effortlessly dodging any attack that Cell throws at him. He keeps ripping pieces of himself off, constantly regenerating and throwing more around the area. Cell dodges all of them, thinking that Vegeta's trying to absorb him. That's not gonna work. But Vegeta says that's not happening here. He doesn't need Cell's power, nor does he want Cell as part of it. All the pieces of Vegeta start floating around Cell, then each generating into a clone of Vegeta. His power is limitless. Cell tells Vegeta it's stupid to split himself up, splitting his strength amongst all these clones like that. And Vegeta says he doesn't care if he's splitting himself up. Even if he's only at a fraction of his power, he's still far beyond wherever Cell could hope to be. Each clone sticks out a hand, charging a Big Bang attack. An Ultra Big Bang attack, actually. No, Vegeta needs a better name for this. This is him cloning himself, doing Big Bang attacks as if they were Hellzone grenades. But he needs a name that fits with that. Big Bang. How about something in that same vein? The Big Crunch. This is Vegeta's Big Crunch attack. With all the clones launching Big Bang attacks at Cell, with all of the attacks converging into one single point. Cell tries to power up, growing even more in size, but he's pushed back by all these attacks. He can't defend against all of them at once. He screams, this isn't supposed to happen. He's better than the last Cell. He can't die here. And as he tries to fend off against all the individual attacks, all of Vegeta's merge back into one. With Vegeta then lunging through all the ki blasts, with a hand stretched out in front of him. Quickly, he launches a Hakai. Cell is completely erased. With all the ki blasts finally colliding, exploding. In unison with the Hakai, Vegeta jumps back as the two Gammas are flung away. And he looks up at them, floating upwards. He can tell something's weird about them. They're different. He then separates everyone out of him, thanking them for their help. And he asks, should he just eliminate these two androids right here? The Gamma say they were simply trying to protect Earth, but Vegeta says that's what they were doing. That's what that monster was, Cell Max. They saw what he was doing. The Gammas watched the entire fight. And as much as they hate to admit it, they clearly see. They were in the wrong. These people aren't villains. They're heroes. Cell is a villain, and that means with them protecting Cell, they're being the villains here. But they were made to be superheroes. And Piccolo could tell this too. With all the other Gammas that he was fighting, well, they seem to all be mindless clones. These two actually have some sort of sense of individuality. All the other Gammas were also spouting nonsense about being heroes, and how they were serving justice here. It seems like they were misled. This group of fighters isn't full of villains. Well, maybe in a former life, yeah. Piccolo, Vegeta, Raditz, but not anymore. The two Gammas don't know what to think, and they simply fly off. Raditz chuckles, thanking Vegeta for not leaving them in there because he definitely could have just gotten away with that. And Vegeta says the old him may have done so, but he reminds Raditz, he's not the same Vegeta. Nor is Raditz the same Raditz. It's just like Piccolo was saying. Maybe in a former life, yeah, they were different people. At least Goku and Gohan here, they've always been good. But these three, they've each gone through their own weird development, with none of them expecting their lives to ever turn out like this. And Raditz laughs. Unlike Vegeta, he unfortunately still is the same person. Vegeta is literally a different person now. But Goku tells Raditz, Vegeta's right though. Yeah, Vegeta went through a massive physical and mental change, but that doesn't mean Raditz's change is any less noticeable either. And hey, look at Piccolo too. He's not a different person. He still is the normal Piccolo. Piccolo interjects, technically he's the reincarnation of the Demon King Piccolo. But Gohan nudges Piccolo. Let Goku hype his brother up. No need for technicalities. And Raditz has a weird look on his face, but then laughs it all off. He hates to get sentimental and corny, but they are right. He grabs Vegeta and Goku with each arm, and tells them that's enough of the Disney Channel stuff. They need to celebrate like true Saiyan warriors. He points to Gohan and Piccolo too. That includes them as well. And he knows exactly where to go. He lets everyone out on a little secret. Otherworld has some pretty great stuff. Especially King Kai. He's got a great stash of alcohol. And you know what? While they're at it, get everyone there. They don't spend enough time together. They need to change that. Let them get involved in Raditz's parties. Bring Goten along too. In Otherworld, there's no drinking age because everybody's dead anyways. Goku says he's fine with Goten coming, but okay, that's a little far. King Kai's surprised to see everyone show up on his planet. But he is kind of bored. He doesn't mind Raditz throwing a party here, and he's glad to host. There aren't too many people there because not everyone can handle the gravity, so that's also a plus. And King Kai gets to see his former student Goku. And actually, he has a surprise. He's been meaning to show Raditz this. Raditz put him onto motorcycles, and look what he's got here. Besides just his nice old classic car, he got a new motorcycle now. And Raditz's jaw drops. It's beautiful. And he asks King Kai, can Can he ride that motorcycle? As everyone else feasts and drinks on King Kai's planet, they watch as Raditz flies the motorcycle over to Snake Way. And he gets on the motorcycle with King Kai in the sidecar. King Kai still doesn't actually know how to drive it, so Raditz will be the one to pilot it. They drive it down Snake Way, as everyone else continues celebrating. To think, all of this because Piccolo slightly misplaced one of his attacks a while back. And look at this, everyone's living such a better life for it, especially Goku and Raditz. They started out with some animosity between them, but now they formed a strong sibling bond. Raditz spent so much time pushing Goku away, but just like with everybody else, Goku's influence rubbed off on him. And even with the terrible things he did, Goku still had some sort of hope that Raditz could become a better person, which he did. He's a proud and powerful Saiyan warrior. He's a student of a god of destruction. He's cool Uncle Raditz. He's a rival and best friend of Piccolo. He's reconciled with Vegeta. And most importantly, he and Goku, they're also best friends. They're brothers, with great power and an even greater bond. And it's funny, the first time Goku was on this planet, Raditz was partially responsible for sending him here. And once again, Raditz brought him right back, but in a much better set of circumstances. And this is where the series ends off. That was a pretty long one, actually one of my longest scenarios yet, and honestly, one of my favorites too. I hope you guys all enjoyed this because it was a lot of fun to make, and like I said, personally it's one of my favorites too. But let me know what you guys thought below, and be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, I want to thank all of you for watching, thanks for supporting this very long scenario to the end, and I'll see you all in my next video.